The story kicks off in a loud PC bang where the chat is blowing up because Kang Chi-woo just crushed the leaderboard on the new map drop. The update had barely gone live, and this guy Chi-woo already secured the #1 spot in Dungeon Craft. It's that sandbox game where you build your own nightmare levels. The lobby is buzzing, wondering how this dude is cracked at every single release. Every time a new map spawns, he dominates. One hater claims he's got to be running scripts or using bots to play for him. Who knows? Chi-woo's buddy sitting right next to him overhears the slander and asks the man himself, "Yo, you botting?" Then he asks, "Why do you always eat at this dump if you're loaded?" Chi-woo just shrugs, saying the grub here hits the spot. What else is there to do? Chi-woo mentions he grabbed the top rank again, so he needs to stay sharp. The random gamer nearby mutters that Chi-woo talks like winning is a walk in the park, definitely convinced he's an NPC or a cheater. Chi-woo thinks technically they aren't wrong. His only dopamine hit comes from grinding that game and clearing maps. Later, waving goodbye to his friend, he wonders what he'd say if asked why he's so obsessed with this virtual world. It's simple. He has zero control over his boring reality, but in the game, it's a breeze. It's a world where he can pull off the impossible. Out here, he can't even move these inefficient utility poles. If this were the server, he could delete them with a single mouse click. Suddenly, a truck comes barreling toward him. He thinks, man, this server sucks. You can't just despawn a massive object like a truck when it inconveniences you. Tires screech, the truck slams on the brakes just in time. Chi-woo jokes to himself that he almost got the main character treatment into an isekai. The driver screams, asking if he has a death wish. Chi-woo just points at the traffic light. Green means, go buddy. The trucker is left speechless. Chi-woo walks off wondering when his character build changed so much. He thinks about how frustrating this reality is. If he had admin privileges like in the game, life would be way more convenient. He could design the world exactly how he wants. Suddenly, a steel beam snaps loose from a construction site, plummeting toward a little girl. She's just playing there, he thinks. What a noob spawn point. Who lets a kid play in a construction zone? But in that split second, he realizes he can control one thing. He lunges forward to save the kid, thinking, I can at least control my own hitbox. Of course, he takes the critical hit from the beam. He thinks this is why real life is trashed here. Then fade to black. He wakes up in a weird dimension, floating in what feels like a cosmic void. Chi-woo thinks he's stuck in a black hole. He's not dead yet. A booming voice speaks, and a massive three-eyed celestial entity spawns in front of him, asking Chi-woo, how was the hell of oblivion? The entity says it's time to face reality. Chi-woo is confused. Who is this dev, and what is oblivion? The entity explains that eliminating his character was just a mechanism for respawning. He's granting a second playthrough so Chi-woo can restore his corrupted memory files. Chi-woo asks, what are you even saying? Speak plain English. The celestial being commands the oblivion inside him to open its eyes. Suddenly, information downloads into Chi-woo's brain and he snaps awake in a totally different body, panic rising. He's in a solitary room that looks like a gothic castle suite. He checks the mirror and sees a demon staring back. That's his skin now. He wonders, am I dead? Is this actually an isekai? Like in those anime shows. You kidding me? It feels way too high res. The haptics are real. This isn't a dream. First mission, figure out the map. He looks around the ancient medieval-style fortress. Suddenly, a voice asks how long he plans to stand there, mumbling to himself. Then bam, he gets run through by a sword. Right in the chest. He can barely react before coughing up blood. A maniacal woman is standing there, laughing in his face. She asks how that felt, wondering if his HP is hitting 0. Kella thinks, that hurts like hell. She pierced my sternum. He gasps. Why? The girl is like, what do you mean, why? She hates his guts, so she's trying to delete his save file. Simple as that. She winds up for the finisher but suddenly gets disarmed by a dude with long hair and a whip. She snaps, asking why Tarm is interfering again. Tarm tells Caldera to chill out. He's your brother, for crying out loud. Chi-woo wonders, who is this NPC now? Tarm walks up, calling him Kella. He says, poor thing, Caldera is griefing you again, and hands him a vial to drink. Chi-woo assumes it's a health potion to patch him up right. Tarm asks, how's the brew today? Taste good. But the second he sips it, he spews it out. His throat is on fire. That wasn't a buff, it was straight poison. Caldera asks hopefully if he's finally going to croak. Tarm observes him and says he looks like he's in pain. But sadly, he's not dying. What a shame this recipe needs a patch. Kella is left wondering what kind of toxic server he just joined. Why is this happening? Why the torture? Then boom, the massive doors creak open. The Demon King has arrived. Real Cauldron, fresh from hunting heroes. The twins chirp up looking for attention. Is Daddy finally home? Kayla freezes. Wait, Dad, his brain short circuits. The Demon King, Real Cauldron, is my father. The king's voice booms, demanding to know why there's so much racket. Kayla stares, wondering if this monster is actually his flesh and blood. Sudera tries to play the victim, blaming Kayla, but the king snatches them both by the throat. He calls them a disgrace. Screams and whimpers bounce off the castle walls. They beg for mercy, terrified. Keela connects the dots. These psychos are his siblings. Does that make him royalty in this hellhole? The Demon King leans in. He only wants to hear two things in this castle: a powerful demon rising, or a warrior dying with honor. Crunch. He stomps Keela's head into the floor, leaving them all half dead. Keela realizes the grim truth: he got Isekai'd into another world as the son of the devil himself. Talk about a bad role. Of all the people in the universe, why did he have to be this guy? A memory hits him. A flashback of him sobbing to his mom because Sudera literally jammed a fork into his eye. His mom's reaction cold. Must hurt, huh? Keela whimpers that Tarmi poisoned his food too. She doesn't comfort him. She says, so clap back, return the favor. That's what demons do. Keela cries, but I'll die if I fight. Her logic is twisted. Then kill them first before you die. She drops some lore. Dad slaughtered his own brothers at 12 to take the throne. The rule is simple. Kill or be killed. She grabs a dagger. Like this. Shink. She stabs her own son right in the gut. That's the demon way. Got it. She lectures him, while he bleeds out crying from his own mother's betrayal. Keela snaps awake in bed. His subordinate is hovering over him. You good boss. He realizes this body has the original Keela's memories downloaded. And that stab wound? Gone. 0 scars. Apparently this guy has Wolverine-level healing factors. The servant yawns. You've been out cold. Dinner time. This is Rin, his personal maid. The original Keela was a total wimp compared to his siblings, the outcast of the family. His mom, the queen, used to micromanage his outfits for parties to humiliate him. But Rin, she wouldn't even do her job. Keela mumbles, my brother's maid dresses him. Rin's reply, cool, why don't you dress me instead? And he just took it. No, it's fine, I'll do it, he'd say. She even dumped her chores on him. Once she literally slept in his bed while he cleaned. Another time she left a decoy doll so she could skip work. Keela's blood boils. How did the original Keela let a lowly NPC walk all over him? No more. New management is in town. He was kicked around like a stray dog his whole life. His past life wasn't much better. Survival of the fittest. He heads to the family dinner. His dad glares. You're late. The pressure is suffocating. The Demon King isn't just a title. The guy radiates pure terror. Keela apologizes and sits. Sudera's warm welcome. She yeets a knife straight into his leg. It burns like hell. Even Sudera's maid is giggling. Sudera smirks. You look tired. Eat up. Keela grits his teeth. He can't blow his cover yet. If they find out, the soul switched, who knows what happens. He stays quiet. He takes a bite. Bitter. Poison. Again. Tarmi grins. Made a special soup just for you. Tasty, right? Delicious. Keela lies. He realizes these aren't family members. They're enemies in the same house. He can't keep taking this abuse. He needs a win. Just one accomplishment. In his past life, he was a genius map designer for games. But in reality, he was a loser who got bullied and did nothing. He died a nobody. Not this time. Something snaps. He grabs the toxic soup. You should try some too, lady. Splash. He throws it right in her face. But he's not done. He owes Tarmi a gift. He rips the knife from his leg and hurls it into Tarmi's shoulder. He looks his dad dead in the eye. Happy family meal, huh? Crash. He flips the entire table. From now on we eat alone. Mic drop. The entire room was absolutely shook. Keela just grinned, thinking, let's see what you got now, you demonic scumbags. Cut to later, he was riding a total high. Well, technically that high came right after his dad stomped him within an inch of his life. But the guy bounced back in record time, feeling a surge of raw power coursing through his veins. No doubt about it, he really is the Demon King's flesh and blood. Now he is itching to test the limits of this new strength. Suddenly, Rin pipes up, reminding him it is almost time for his demonic power 101 class. He needs to hustle. Keela snaps back, telling her to zip it. He is already on top of it. Rin is left wondering when exactly he started acting like this. Meanwhile, Keela is musing. A class on demonic power, huh? Sifting through the original Keela's memories felt like a total nightmare. Still no reason to skip class. So, he heads in. The instructor announces that Lady Seodera and Lord Tarman are skipping today, so it is just the B team left. Keela scans the room. He recognizes these faces from the old memories, the pure terror the original Keela felt when these guys bullied him. Naturally, they fed on that fear, beating him down just for kicks. He realizes these guys are the literal definition of demonic trash. Preying on the weak is their whole vibe. He recalls Seodera watching him get tortured and claiming they were actually going too easy on him. She basically gave them a free pass to do whatever they wanted. Since she called the shots, the lackeys obeyed, ramping up the beating. The old Keela just wanted peace, but the new guy is thinking, man, this body was pathetic. Total pushover. He realizes the original owner had a bleeding heart, but the game has changed now. He is about to show them how to use real power. The instructor interrupts his train of thought, asking who was up for the duel in the last session. One of the bullies pipes up, smirking, saying it was him and Keela. Or should he say, Sir Keela? Keela is already getting annoyed with this clown. The instructor nods, setting up a rematch. The guy turns to Kayla, asking if he is ready for another round. The peanut gallery starts whispering, betting Kayla is about to get pulverized again today. Someone jokes, "Don't make the young master cry." Kayla wonders what is worse, the buzzing flies in the audience, or the idiot standing right in front of him. Kang-shi realizes he and the original Kayla actually have a lot in common. In his past life, he was broke, weak, and constantly looked down on. But that history is ancient history. He flares his energy, and suddenly the room freezes. Everyone is terrified, wondering where the hell all this mana came from. The bully is practically paralyzed by the pressure. Keela smirks, telling him he will go easy on him today. Just one punch. Bam. He connects, shattering the demon's face and burying him into the floor like a sack of garbage. The crowd gasps. Rudy didn't even twitch. The sheer power leaves everyone, including the instructor, completely dumbfounded. Poor Rudy is a mess, teeth gone, eyes swollen shut, unable to form words. Kella leans in, asking him to repeat what he said earlier. Does he really have the guts to talk smack to the Demon King's son now? Rudy stammers out a broken apology to Sir Kayla. Kayla drops the hammer. Screw up in front of me again, and you are dead. The room is petrified, everyone wondering what kind of monster Kayla has turned into. Whoa, pump the brakes for a second, fam. Did you smash that like button yet? Are you subscribed? If you are a member, you are chilling with this video ad-free. And if you are a member, but not in the Discord, bro, get in there. The server is popping with benefits, link in the description. Want to support the channel but don't know how? Check the super thanks or hype feature on the screen. Hype the video, it helps a ton. Alright, let's get back to the action. He turns to the instructor, who practically jumps out of his skin, and asks if they are going to continue the class. The teacher stammers a, "Yes, absolutely." Rin is certain something is off with Keela. Meanwhile, unknown to them, the Demon King himself is watching the whole spectacle. Later, back at the Demon Castle, Ciodera is fuming, in a recovery bath. She screams, "How dare that little rat throw a poison potion?" Right in my face, Tarman tells her to chill out and focus on healing. He reminds her she doesn't possess Keela's insane regeneration factor. Ciodera snaps back that is weird too. Why is Keela the only one with high-tier healing? Tarman muses that Keela seems to have undergone a complete transformation. It is like he is a different person. Tarman realized in that moment that even their father was actually pleased with what Keela did. It was the first time he had ever seen the old man smile. Ciodera rolls her eyes, doubting that he was smiling at Keela. Tarman insists that is exactly why the situation is so messed up. Ciodera asks what he is getting at. He admits she might hate the idea, maybe even prefer death over teaming up with him. But he suggests a temporary truce to deal with the Keela problem together. Ciodera pauses, realizing it is actually a solid plan. He needs to die first before he grabs any more of their father's attention. Meanwhile, Kayla is sitting in class. The instructor brings up a magical hologram of the previous Demon King Turk Kaudan. The guy looks like a total unhinged psychopath. Kayla thinks, now, that is what a demon should look like. The instructor explains that Turk was the strongest of his era. He only died. It was a total setup. A backstabbing move by the Celestial Guild and those other vultures to carve up the kingdom. Kayla has those memories locked in high definition. The demon realm is under total siege. The old man is fuming, because he is practically a prisoner in his own crib thanks to those guilds. He swore he was going to be stuck in that cursed castle forever. The instructor dropped the bomb. The Celestial Guild is mobilizing for the biggest raid since day one. If they want to help the Demon King survive these scumbags, they need to grind hard in combat class. Everyone shouted, "For the honor of the demons." Later on, Keela was scanning the horizon, plotting. He needs an exit strategy fast. Staying here is a one-way ticket to the grave. He turned to Rin. "Pops is out of town for 3 days, right?" "Yup," she nodded. Kayla pressed on. "You know this fortress has a blind spot, don't you? Any blueprints we can use to flip the terrain advantage. Those guild losers are exploiting the neglected zones to pinch them, but he is about to flip the script. During the next run, he is going to chart the whole sector, so his dad can wipe them off the face of the earth. That is his play." Keela was gearing up to build a dungeon. This isn't real life. It is a sandbox, meaning he can craft whatever map he wants. He ordered Rin set up a secret base in the basement. Now. Rin blinked. "Say what?" "An office." Keela snapped back. "I need a workspace off the old man's radar." Meanwhile, chilling in his recovery pool, the Demon King mused that Keela could not ghost him before it was too late. He needed to check something. Later, Keela stared at the result. "Is this it? Is this the office? This piece of junk?" Rin stammered. "It had to be covert. It is the best I could do," Keela scoffed. "Do better next time." He realized treating her cold was actually working. Rin shivered. He was terrifying, nothing like the old Kella. But damn, that dominant vibe was making her catch feelings. He finally acted like a real man. "Why are you still standing there?" Keela barked. "Go fetch me a coffee." She scurried off, all shy and flustered. Keela sighed. Finally, she is gone. Now he could focus on the map. The Demon King's castle is in a trash location. Strategic suicide. He needs to redesign the grid. Meanwhile, Rin was running down the hall chanting "coffee, coffee" before pausing. Wait, what is coffee? Suddenly a shadow loomed. The Demon King cornered her. What are you doing in the basement without Kayla? Where is he? Rin was sweating bullets. Well, about that. The king's aura flared, demanding an answer. Rin panicked, Kayla said. Zip it. Downstairs, Kayla was in the zone, loving the map-making process. He thought this world is basically a modded version of Dungeon Craft. Crafting maps is his favorite hobby across 2 lifetimes. Suddenly, boom, the door exploded inward. The Demon King stomped in. I can't believe my own son built a hideout behind my back. Keela barely had time to think. How did he find me before a fist punched straight through his gut? If you are plotting to kill me, the king growled, do it to my face. Kayla couldn't speak. He just coughed up a bucket of blood. The pain was on a whole other level compared to his siblings. I am actually dead this time, he thought. Desperate, he shoved the map at his dad. The Demon King paused. What is this? Keela wheezed. The castle perimeter. I am marking every tactical weakness. I am remapping the terrain to rig the battlefield against the guilds. The king pulled his fist out, letting the kid breathe. So, why the secrecy? Keela gasped. If I just said I wanted to help you, would have shut me down. I wanted to present a finished weapon. I am your son. I want to wipe that celestial guild off the map. The air crackled with tension as they locked eyes. Rin watched, terrified. Did he really just talk back to the king? Then the king asked, how long will this take? Keela froze. How many days to finish? The king demanded. He actually saw the value in it. Keela held up 5 fingers. 5. The king scoffed. The celestial guild strikes in 3 days. Your map is trash. Keela smirked through the pain. Not 5 days. 5 hours. The king's eyes widened. Keela corrected him. I will have it ready. 5 days. Nah, 5 hours. The Demon King was intrigued, but Kayla had wagered he'd wrap this up in just 3. Kale dropped the mic, finished the build, and put him in the driver's seat. He's calling the shots on this operation. The Demon King looked at Kale like he was seeing a ghost. Fine, he scoffed. Run the play. But the warning in his eyes was lethal. If Kale was just chasing clout with empty promises, the king wouldn't just tear up the map, he'd tear Kale limb from limb. Kale didn't blink. Heard you loud and clear. Pops thought his son finally grew a spine, until bam, Kale hacks up a fountain of blood. Kale's internal monologue went wild. Was his old man trying to unalive him? Meanwhile, Erin was staring totally shook that Kale actually finessed the king. She was catching major feels for this new attitude. Then Kale snapped. Yo, what are you staring at? Get me to the infirmary, stupid. Total mood kill. Later barely patched up and running on fumes. Kale speed ran that map in 5 hours flat. The Demon Castle forces got straight to work grinding out the construction. Mages cast a massive illusion barrier to cloak the zone. They were terraforming the landscape, glitching reality, so the enemy wouldn't see a thing. Kale grinned. This wasn't just paper. He was modding the world like a video game level. Everything was lining up perfectly. Cut to the Celestial Guild camp. Guildmaster Hermeson looked at the intel and absolutely lost it. They're shifting the actual ground, he roared. His lackey nodded, sweating bullets. Yes, sir. They detected the illusion magic, but Hermeson was clueless about the demon's endgame. Pure confusion. The messenger suggested a rush attack to stop the ritual. Hermeson shut that down instantly. No, cheap parlor tricks won't save them, he sneered. In 3 days, our ultimate weapon arrives. The Talcon squad is coming online. Talcon had been curating this dream team for 12 years. And now, the elite squad was fully maxed out and ready to rumble. Hermeson smirked. This squad takes no L's. The Demon King is finished. 2 days left until Talcon knocks on the castle door. These knights were riding for Talcon, ready to wipe the Demon King's entire bloodline and burn his castle to ash. Zero chill. One of the squad members smirked, checking out General Kilmano, looking sharp, boss. That redhead commander Sirius. A knight asked, we bagging the win this time, Sirius laughed. Is that even a question? Talcon isn't your average guild. We're here to delete the Demon King. Meanwhile, back on the throne, the king realized Kale wasn't capping. The map wasn't flawless, but seeing his son push his body to the breaking point earned his respect. He couldn't be reckless. Tomorrow was the finale. He was going to end this beef with the Celestials once and for all. Mages, monsters, demons, everyone was grinding. Kale watched the progress bar fill up, just as planned. This hit different than a keyboard and mouse. He was literally editing the battlefield in real time. All that was left was the main event. The sun rose on D-Day. At the Celestial camp, Talcon was locked and loaded. Talcon's commander stepped up to Hermeson, radiating pure, menacing energy. We're here to put the Demon King in the ground. Hermeson nodded. Green light. Go wipe them out. Talcon was hyped, adrenaline spiking. But then pause. Something fell from the sky, right in their grill. A tiny speck of concentrated magic. The commander's eyes went wide. Ambush. Too late. Boom. The blast hit point blank. Both sides threw up shields, tanking the damage just in time. But that wasn't a normal nuke. That was Hell Cauldron, the Demon King himself. Rewind a bit to Kale's briefing. Kale had explained the play, I hacked the tracking barrier. It's gone. Now you can teleport without pinging their radar. The king grinned. So I can drop directly into their spawn point. Silidera panicked. That's suicide, teleporting into the enemy base. Are you insane? Tarm agreed. It's too risky. The king glared. Are you doubting my power? They instantly folded. No, sire, never. It's just, your HP isn't full yet. Silence, the king made the call. Back to the present. He was standing in their base, ready to solo the entire guild. He flared his mana so hard everyone buckled under the pressure. But Talcon wasn't scared. They were elite. They charged straight at the boss monster. Mistake. The Demon King's power was god tier. The battlefield instantly turned into a slaughterhouse. Meanwhile, Kale stood atop the castle spire, rallying the entire demon army. Prep phase is over. Push the lane attack. The army surged toward the Celestial Guild. Their job, support the king, who was tanking the middle. Monsters burst from the ground, swarming the enemy. Kale watched the chaos. Perfect. Everything is going according to the script. It was going too well. Suddenly, Silidera and Tarm crept up behind him. Silidera's voice was ice cold. I don't know what kind of cheat code you used, but this little game of yours ends now. Tarm stepped up, shaking his head. Tough break, Keela. You wouldn't be in this mess if you hadn't crossed the line. Keela looked totally blindsided, like he never saw it coming. Tarm sneered. There's no seat at the table for you here. Bam! He drove his weapon straight into Keela's gut. Tarm grinned. Now's your cue, Silidera. Make it count. She didn't hesitate. She lunged and ripped his head clean off his shoulders. The two of them cackled like maniacs, mocking him, saying his healing factor couldn't fix that. Keela's severed head spun through the air, his mind racing. So this is how I die. His body plummeted into the abyss, head tumbling right after it. But crazy enough, the lights were still on upstairs. He was still conscious. Finally got rid of that pest, Silidera spat. Tarm nodded, wiping his blade. Time to go back up, Daddy. But hold up, plot twist. Silidera spun around and jammed a dagger right into Tarm's back. Did you really think I was loyal? Tarm didn't drop though. Arthur realized what was happening. That's Mother's blade. You know, using that thing is strictly forbidden. Silidera scoffed. I'm a demon genius. I break rules for breakfast. Weapons exist to be used, don't be naive. Arthur couldn't believe his ears. Are you for real right now? Silidera smirked. If I kill him here, I'm the last one standing. The throne is mine. That flipped a switch in Arthur. He was absolutely livid, and he charged at her full force. I'll end you in a heartbeat, she shrieked, and the two clashed in a blur of violence. Meanwhile, Keela was still kicking, well, sort of. He wondered, how can my own kin be this twisted? He never expected to go out like this. Suddenly, the floor beneath him shattered. Rin swooped in, catching his head midair, and slammed it back onto his neck. She was trembling like a leaf. Back above ground, the battlefield was chaos. Demon portals were tearing open everywhere. It was like the enemy had the cheat codes. They knew every move the humans were about to make. The human forces were crumbling. They had zero answers for this onslaught of monsters. Then boom, the Talcan dragon roared onto the scene, incinerating everything in its path and blasting fire straight at the Demon King. The king didn't flinch. He launched himself at the beast, grabbed it by the throat, and ripped its head off with his bare hands. The Talcan commander realized they were screwed. Open fire, target the king, give him everything we've got. The demon army marched forward while the king stood there unbothered. Did we hit him, Plotter? The commander stammered. Not even close. The king was morphing, evolving into his ultimate form right before their eyes. He's transforming, just like the ancient texts predicted, the commander whispered. Sirius grimaced. That's his final form. We're in trouble. The Talcan troops were petrified, glued to the spot. Sirius screamed, Focus, do not let the fear own you. Easier said than done. Even the high-ranking officers were shaking. The commander could barely move under the crushing weight of the king's aura. The Demon King surveyed the battlefield. He analyzed Keela's strategy. Smart move, bringing my forces to the center, he thought. But there's one flaw. You left us no exit strategy. But that won't stop me. I am the Demon King. Dead ends don't apply to a god. Little did he know, Keela had calculated that arrogance too. None of that mattered to the king now. His only goal, slaughter every human in sight. Mana surged around his body, crackling with intensity. The Talcan commander yelled, He's going all out. We have to hold him back. Lay down your lives if you have to, or the guild is history. When the king unleashed his power, it was blinding. The shockwave was visible from the horizon, miles outside the castle walls. Deep underground, Rin was frantically stitching Keela back together. Please work, she begged. She flashed back to that time his arm got lopped off. She was grossed out, but Keela just ordered, put it back. So she did. And miraculously, it bonded instantly. His arm was good as new. Keela looked cold. Next phase. We test this theory with my head. I need to know I'm immortal. Are you insane? Rin had screamed. That's way too risky, Keela insisted. Just be careful. She didn't want to do it, but she had no choice. Moments later, the experiment was a success. It was all a setup. Keela had instructed Rin to find Ciodera's servant and feed her specific lies. So later, she cornered the servant. She planted the seed. Rin told her Kayla is planning to assassinate Ciodera while the Demon King is distracted. While everyone was distracted by the combat aftermath, Ciodera's servant grilled the guy on his actual game plan. Rin called it a golden opportunity, letting his head get chopped off. Yeah, that should definitely kill him. No head means zero regeneration. Rin is paralyzed with fear. Silence. It went exactly as she planned, but he's not breathing yet. Rin's panic sets in, she said. This gamble was too dangerous that he'd die. Suddenly, his eyes snap open. Who exactly are you calling an idiot? Rin flinches, totally stunned. She really thought that this time, he was gone for good. Looks like mana-infused blades seriously nerf his healing factor. Doesn't matter now. He survived. Everything is falling perfectly into place. Rin loses it. Overwhelmed, she tackles Kale into a crushing hug, sobbing. She genuinely believed he was dead. Kale turns beet red. Why are you doing this? He shyly peels her off, muttering that they need to stick to the plan, especially since he's still alive. Right then, he severs the magical tether, binding them. Contract dissolved. Freedom guaranteed. Rin stares at him, jaw on the floor. Kale tells her, the deal is off. She can live however she wants. He turns to leave, and a memory hits Rin hard. Childhood Kale saying, not a servant, be my friend. Tears well up. Wait, I'm coming with you. He stops. Why? Go anywhere else. Stop tailing me. Meanwhile, the battlefield is absolute chaos. The stalker commander is battered. He stares at Kale's father, a total monster, even standing with one arm, and covered in gashes, the Demon King is terrifying. The commander swallows hard. Can he actually win here? No matter the power, no human can stop this living natural disaster. The Demon King scans the field. His army gone, wiped out. He's the last line of defense. His thoughts drift to his children. Maybe they won't make it in time. Doesn't matter. No regrets. This fight was always his burden. He prepares to burn every last drop of mana, until the bitter end. Cut to Kale sprinting toward the battlefield. Finally, the exit is in sight. He thinks he can escape the castle, finally taste freedom. Suddenly, Rin skids to a halt, blocking a spell. She deflected the attack just in time. I knew I smelled blood. Camouflaged mages peel off the walls. We knew the rats would try to evacuate through the secret tunnel. They were waiting in ambush. Kale grits his teeth. How did they find this route? We've had the blueprints from the start. The order is clear. No Demon King spawn leaves alive. They launch a magic barrage. Rin plants her feet. I'll hold the line here. Run, Kale. Kale scoffs. You can't handle this alone. Rin doesn't budge. Serving you is my priority. Protecting you is everything Kale remembers. Her magic is trashed here. Basic defense, zero offense. She's throwing her life away just to buy him seconds. What do you think you're doing? Kale doesn't run. Stop acting tough. He grabs her and hurls her out of the kill zone. If you're gonna follow me, don't die in front of me. That really pisses me off. The mages laugh. Idiot, now you're cornered. They know a mid-tier spell is overkill for Kale, the weakest of the demon realm. Kale thinks, this body was always shy. Never used its power, never showed its fangs. Time for a reality check. He swats the spell aside with raw mana, like it's nothing. Rin gasps. Since when does he have that kind of juice? The mages freeze in shock. Kale blurs forward, slamming the first guy's face into the floor. Thought I was weak, crunch. Check your sources in the afterlife. The mage gasps for air before his head pops from the mana pressure. Total knockout. Rin watches, stunned. He's dropping Celestial Guild elites with just his aura. Impossible, the mages scream. He's supposed to be a non-combatant. Kale dusts his hands. Wrong info, genius. Panic sets in. No choice. Use high-tier magic, the Light Lance. It's a massive gamble, drains all their mana at once. If they miss, they're dead. But they fire the spears of light. Rin screams. He can't tank that Kale gets pierced by 2 lances. And Rin dives to shield him from another. She freezes. I can't move. He's being impaled. Rin apologizes to her master, terrified she failed him at the end. The mages grin. Perfect hit. It looked like game over. The enemy mage smirked, asking his buddy if they really needed a cash reward, or if they should just have some fun with the pretty little thing right there. Rin wasn't having it. She hissed at the piece of trash to back off, knowing exactly what horrors humans inflicted on demons. But the guy just told her to shut her trap. He'd get to her soon enough. Keela realized that even here humans treated everyone like mere objects. But the mage had business to finish first. Execute the Demon King's spawn. Kayla stared death in the face, unable to believe this was how his story ended. The blade was inches away, but right as the darkness closed in, Rin screamed his name, and suddenly Keela felt a shift. A strange, heavy sensation. Something surged within him, a presence drawing near. Then he saw him, standing right there in his mind's eye. Hell, his father. Was the war over? Did his plan fail? Before he could panic, his father's voice echoed. I have fought countless battles. and considered every single outcome. Keela demanded to know what he was talking about. Hell continued, cold and logical. Seodera cares nothing for her kin. She is unfit to rule as Demon Queen. And Tarmay, he lacks the spine, the ambition to claim the throne. I don't give a damn about them, Keela snapped. Why are you in my head right now? Hell ignored the outburst. The Demon King possesses a unique gift, the power to transfer his mana to his bloodline at the moment of death. Keela froze. Wait, you're dying. Hell's voice softened. Even in this short time, I have observed you, my son. You, Kayla, are the only worthy successor. Kayla shook his head. No, you've got it all wrong. It was too late. Hell caught on. The Demon King began pouring every last drop of his devastating mana into his son. Keela caught on. What are you doing? Stop, Kayla screamed. But Hell's final thought was clear. Do not mourn me, boy. Act like a true demon. And just like that on the battlefield, the Demon King's body was gone. Only his severed head remained. The king was dead. General Kuman had already sacrificed himself in the slaughter. Only Commander Sirius and a handful of human soldiers were left standing among the corpses. But when they saw the king's head, a cheer erupted. Victory belonged to humanity, or so they thought. Back in the dungeon, Keela's body surged with inherited power. The spears of light pinning him and Rin down shattered instantly. What is this? Rin gasped. The mages panicked, sensing the sudden massive spike in energy. Keela realized the truth. His father was gone. His plan had actually worked. The mages, drained and terrified, realized they were running on empty. They tried to bail, but Keela's voice stopped them cold. Get out of my way. He could feel it, pure, unadulterated darkness coursing through his veins. It was consuming him. This was his inheritance. The mages scrambled back, screaming at the demon to stay back. Demon Keela chuckled darkly. Funny. What was that you said to Rin earlier? He launched forward, fist cocked. You're the real monsters here. Boom. He dropped both mages in a single fluid motion. Instant death. So this is the power of a king, Keela thought, but his body screamed in protest it wasn't ready. He couldn't hold this much energy. Rin, he gritted out. Can you walk? Yes, young master, she replied, shaking. Then, let's blow this joint. Thanks to Hell, he was finally breaking out of this cursed castle. Suddenly, the dungeon walls vanished. He stood in lush green plains. Freedom. Finally. He could go anywhere, do anything, live on his own terms. But then a strange magic enveloped him. It's a teleportation spell, Rin cried. Grab my hand, Keela shouted. She latched onto him just as the world twisted. Warp speed to a kingdom far, far away. They materialized in a stunning landscape, crashing down from the sky. Like a falling comet, they hit the ground. Thud. Where the hell are we? Keela groaned. Rin looked around, wide-eyed. I didn't know. That you could cast teleportation magic, Master Keela shook his head. I can't. That wasn't me. It was a failsafe. An emergency protocol, embedded by their father into each of his children. Triggered by his death, Rin suddenly gasped. Her wounds were gone. Completely healed. Master, we must have been in the void for 3 days. It was a final gift, a spell designed to keep them alive. Teleportation and healing. Rin marveled. Keela looked at his hands. His father really did this. He actually cared about his kids. So, the Demon King is dead, Rin asked softly. Yeah, Keela nodded. Just as I planned, he thought. But then Rin dropped a bomb. You must take the throne. You are the next Demon King. Why would I do that? Keela frowned. Because Rin insisted. You've changed. I see it now. You are the only true heir. She bowed low. From this moment forth, I pledge my life to serve you until you claim your crown. Keela stared at her, thinking, she's got the wrong idea. But before he could correct her, his power flickered and died. Rin's eyes widened in terror. He was completely drained. She froze. This wasn't just any land. It was Arsol, the magic capital where the deadliest demon hunters are forged. A massive banner screamed the headline, The Demon King is dead. The whole city was throwing a wild victory party for Talua. Kale's mind raced. Of all the places to end up, why the hell were they in the enemy's backyard? One wrong look, and they're toast. But Rin was already on it, weaving a transformation spell to mask their true forms. Nice move, Kale admitted. At least she was useful for something. Now spill the tea. What do you know about this place? Rin didn't hesitate. Arsol. Tiny island nation way out east of Talua. They're blessed by the Watergore, a massive sea cryptid. Its energy basically supercharges the magic here. That's why this place pumps out the most overpowered mages on the continent. They've been slaughtering demons for centuries. Technically, they're under Talua's thumb, but don't let that fool you. Kale clenched his fist. Why would his father toss him into a death trap like this? We need to bounce. Now Rin hissed. But Kale shook his head. We can't just run blind. We need a plan. He had a vision. To survive and thrive in this world, he needed raw magical power. And Arsol was dripping with it. Magic wasn't just a weapon here. It was the foundation. Even the bricks and mortar pulsed with energy. Floating structures, gravity-defying tech. If he could master this sorcery, he could build dungeons that would make the game look like child's play. Just as he was plotting his empire, a loud rumble broke the silence. Rin clutched her stomach. Okay, master plan later. Snacks first. Cut to Rin absolutely inhaling the local cuisine. Oh my god, she mumbled through a mouthful. This magic grub is a total game changer. She slammed the bowl down. Another one. Seriously, this stuff slaps. Kale rolled his eyes. For someone running for her life, she was enjoying this vacation way too much. Hey, she grinned. Let's hit that bar. The tavern was rowdy, packed with people toasting the Demon King's demise. And sitting right there, commanding the room, Sirius, the commander of Stalker. The crowd was wasted, cheering like maniacs. And guess who decided to join the party? Kale and Rin clinking glasses and faking cheers just to fit in. Kale took a sip. Maybe a little break wasn't the worst idea. But nothing goes unnoticed by Sirius. Her sharp eyes drifted over the crowd and landed on the odd duo. Interesting. Fast forward to the alleyway. Kale is heaving his guts out. Wow, Rin scoffed. Look at you, Mr. Party Animal. Can't even handle your liquor, and to think we were toasting to your dad's death. You started it, Kale snapped back. Suddenly the street erupted. People were sprinting, screaming about a new Rank S mission. The crowd froze. Impossible. The Demon King was dead. Since the dawn of time, he was the only Rank S threat. So what the hell was this? Rin grabbed Kale and dragged him into the chaos. They shoved through the crowd to see the notice board. And there it was, plastered in bold ink, a face that made Kale's blood run cold. It was him, Kale. Target the Demon King's son. Eliminate immediately. Why me? Kale blurted out. Rin slapped a hand over his mouth instantly. Ignore him, he's wasted, she shouted to the onlookers. The crowd murmured. Isn't that kid the runt of the litter? Probably weak as hell. Easy money. Yeah, feels more like a rank B job, someone laughed. Kale panicked internally. His cover was blown if he wasn't careful. He signaled Rin to bail. She almost slipped up and used his real name. What do I call you out here? She whispered. Kale thought for a second. Shiyu. Shiyu, seriously, just shut up and stick to the script, he hissed. But Rin was shaking. This is bad. Like really bad. How do they already know you survived? Grab the gear. We leave tonight. They turned the corner and walked straight into a nightmare. Sirius was blocking their path. So, Sirius drawled. Is the rumor true? Another rank S, Kale nodded stiffly. Yeah, just checking the board, Rin added, voice trembling. Kale's mind flashed back to the bar. The crowd called her Arsal's Hope. This wasn't just a soldier. She was a monster. I'm dealing with a heavyweight here, he realized. Sirius narrowed her eyes. You think the brat is really out there? Damn roaches, she spat. They just don't know how to stay dead. Kale forced a casual shrug. I bet the kid is a pushover anyway. Totally, Rin chimed in. Easy paycheck for someone. Then, in a blink, Sirius lunged forward, wrapping her arms around both of their shoulders in a vice grip. Even if he's weak, hunting him won't be a walk in the park, right? She leaned in close, sniffing the air. I saw you two earlier. You've got a distinct scent. Her voice dropped an octave. You wouldn't happen to be. Busted. Kale's heart stopped. It's over. Then Sirius laughed. Travelers who haven't showered in a month. Damn, take a bath, you guys stink. She hit them with the, why do you guys smell look? They froze, totally busted, stammering like, yeah, bathing, we totally do that. Big fans of soap. Keela figured they were in the clear. Cut to my guy living his absolute best life, soaking in a hot tub with a whole platter of treats floating next to him. He's wondering if the snacks are enchanted, but honestly, who cares? He's wanted this video game lifestyle forever, and baby the dream is finally real. This whole Isekai'd gig. Pretty sweet. Meanwhile, Rin is spiraling, sweating bullets, terrified she's about to get exposed and executed. Why? Because she's stuck in a bath with Sirius, who's casually asking best soak ever, right? Totally, Rin squeaked, forcing a smile that screamed panic. Sirius didn't buy it. You're shaking. What's wrong? You look like a demon caught in the headlights. Rin tried to joke. Imagine that. Bad move. Sirius decided to help her. Chill out with a high-level holy element spell. Rin's internal monologue screamed. This is literally kryptonite for demons. One whiff of that holy aura and her human disguise melts away. She desperately prayed for her master to save her tail. But Master Keela, he's vibing, sipping tea in the jacuzzi unbothered. Sirius, on the other hand, was feeling chatty. Now that the Demon King is toast, she sighed, I feel complete. Like my entire existence finally means something. Rin's brain was melting. Shut up, stop talking, I need to escape before I sizzle. Sirius started her I was born a mage monologue, but Rin cut her off. Great story, tell me later, bathroom emergency. She bolted. Sirius shrugged, figuring the guest just wasn't a fan of the holy aromatherapy package. Regrouping later, Rin was traumatized. That was a nightmare, Keela, not so much. Man, I feel rejuvenated. I'm a new man, he grinned. Rin snapped. Not the time for a spa review, you idiot. My cover almost blew, Keela blinked. How Rin hissed, she used holy aroma right next to me. That stuff drains demon mana instantly. It's high-tier human sorcery, okay. We were seconds away from game over. Yikes, that could have gone south, Keela admitted. So, one more dip before we bounce, Rin glared. No, we run. Now. Suddenly, Sirius appeared. Leaving so soon, Rin tried to salvage it. I promised a round 2, but we really got a jet, Rin insisted. Sirius blocked the path. Are you sure? Don't you want to taste the kingdom's magical cuisine? It's to die for, she promised. Keela's resolve crumbled. Sirius scooped him up in celebration while Rin fumed. As Rin raged silently, a squad of elite mages surrounded the perimeter. They tracked the energy signatures demons inside. And not just grunt-level trash. One of them was the Demon King's heir. This was the jackpot. A once-in-a-lifetime bounty. We bagged that monster tonight, the leader growled. Inside, Keela was oblivious, stuffing his face. Enjoying the drink, Sirius beamed. It's brewed with pure holy water. Keela smiled, but inside his guts were literally on fire. He was so hyped for the snacks, he forgot the holy part destroys him. Sirius took the silence as a cue to get deep again. Like I told your friend, she said, eyes distant. My entire life had one purpose, putting the Demon King in a grave. I joined the Tycoon Death Squad, trained until I bled. See this scar? Got it during the entrance exam. Rin squinted. Barely noticed it, she lied, trying to keep things light. Oh, that's nothing, Sirius whispered. She swept her bangs aside. This is the real trophy. A jagged scar crossed her empty right eye socket. The eye was gone. Keela and Rin went stiff. I mask it with illusion magic, Sirius explained. Every time I look in the mirror, I feel the agony of those days. The price I paid just to be worthy of the squad. We had to be monsters to kill monsters. Only the broken survive. Pain is just weakness leaving the body, she murmured. It was the only way to reach him. I gave up my humanity to end his Sirius, declared intensely. She leaned in close to Keela. What about you? A warrior must have battle scars, right? Before he could react, she yanked up his shirt. Nothing. Strange, she hummed. Your skin is flawless, like a newborn's. Rin's heart stopped. Physical contact like that, it disrupts the camouflage spell. The illusion flickered. Sirius narrowed her remaining eye. You're a demon, aren't you? Keela froze. Did she know the whole time? Suddenly, chaos. The floorboards erupted as a swarm of rats morphed into battle-ready mages. Even Sirius looked blindsided. Keela and Rin exchanged glances. Was this a setup? Well, this is rude. Sirius drew her weapon. But the lead mage pointed his staff at her. The guild's intel was solid. Drop the act, Sirius. We know what you are. A demon spy planted in the heart of our soul. Keela and Rin's jaws hit the floor. Wait, she's on our team. Didn't see that coming. Keela's mind raced. Were these guys gunning for him? Or was Suriel the actual target? Suriel didn't hesitate. Oh, they're definitely here for me, she confirmed with a smirk. No point in lurking in the shadows now. Truth is, she was the one who spilled the tea, leaking her own identity as a demon to the world. The mages, realizing they had a confession on a silver platter, went straight for the kill. But Suriel scoffed. Please, I'm an elite mage of the Talon Squad. A half-dozen wannabe wizards from Arsol won't even scratch me. Rin grabbed Keela's arm, panic flashing in her eyes. We need to bail. Now. This is bad, Keela thought, just as a massive explosion ripped through the area. Rin's jaw dropped. She couldn't believe the sheer amount of raw magical power Suriel possessed. Did she just shield them from that blast? Suriel turned her gaze, piercing right through their disguises. She knew they were demons. Hiding was impossible. Standing before them was the daughter of the Demon King Hell Cauldron himself. Her true name was Suriel Cauldron. Keela and Rin were stunned into silence. No time for a history lesson, Suriel snapped. I'll just show you. She activated memory transfer magic, dragging them into her past. She started as a lab rat, a twisted experiment. But unlike the failures, she was the one who survived. A demon capable of completely masking her horns and dark energy. That was Suriel. In the memory, she stood trembling before her king. Hell Cauldron looked down at her. My blood runs through your veins, he rumbled. That makes you my daughter. Daughter. She could barely process the word. Since birth, she'd been treated like disposable trash in a laboratory. Every single day was a living nightmare. She endured torture that would break a grown man surviving the most agonizing experiments imaginable. Everyone else perished. She thought she was next on the chopping block, but now she realized her true lineage. She was royalty. It is an honor, my lord, she bowed. Hell smiled. I christen you Suriel Cauldron. Her mission was clear, became the ultimate sleeper agent. Infiltrate the human kingdom and feed intel directly back to the throne. Suriel felt invincible. If her father was the Demon King, she could conquer the world. Years later, she put the plan into motion. She staged a scene looking like a helpless victim escaping demons. The humans took the bait, saving the poor girl and welcoming a viper into their nest. As the king's shadow, she mastered Arsol's magic, her power growing terrifyingly fast. She gritted her teeth through every hardship, climbing the ranks until finally, she became the ace of the Talon Squad, Arsol's elite spec ops unit. 15 long years had passed. The reunion was heartbreaking. She wanted to hug him to flee this war, but she had to play her part. The endgame was approaching. She had to wait for the hero Kuman to fall. Her job, sabotage the human forces from within using secret arts. Assist her father in executing Kuman, wipe the battlefield clean, and then go home to the castle together. She dreamed of a normal life by her father's side as the real surreal cauldron. But destiny had other plans. Kuman smirked, admitting the Demon King was tougher than expected. By far the strongest monster I've ever fought. Hell scoffed at the compliment. I don't need validation from a pathetic insect like you. Arrogance will be your grave, Kuman retorted, charging up his ultimate move. The spear of the heavens clashed against the flames of hell. Suriel stood frozen, helpless to intervene. Then boom, a cataclysmic explosion. In that blinding white light, her father's voice echoed in her mind. Suriel, my daughter, listen closely. You must guide the next Demon King. Serve him, as faithfully as you served me. Protect him until the very end. The light faded. The battle was over. The Demon King was gone. Suriel's world shattered as she watched her father's life force fade away. But the nightmare wasn't over. She had to return to Talon and celebrate her own father's murder with the very humans who killed him. Broken, she retired from active duty and retreated to Arsal, the place where her double life began. She tried to settle back in, but only one thing fueled her now vengeance. She looked at Kila with cold eyes. I'm going to burn Arsal to the ground. Rin blinked, still processing. Wait, so you're legit the Demon King's kid? Kila internally screamed. Oh, hell no. He thought he was done with sibling drama. Sure, no blood relation, but still. He didn't sign up for another sister. Suriel interrupted his thoughts. Relax. I won't force you to join my crusade. But get this through your head. Arsal is the #1 threat to our kind. It's the capital of magic. The longer you loiter here, the closer our race gets to extinction. Stay here, and you're dead meat. Simple as that. Kila knew she was right. Even in the game, mages were the heavy hitters, and right now he was a walking bullseye. Suddenly, voices echoed. The mages had heard the blast. There was no way they were walking out of this unnoticed. Pour every ounce of mana into this attack. Wipe them out, the mages screamed. Kila grit his teeth. These scumbags. They think I'm human, yet they didn't hesitate to fire. Enough, playing nice. Kila began to shift his true form, tearing through the disguise. Demonic. Rin was totally shook. Kale called it self-defense, but Suriel, she was absolutely frozen. She saw that dark aura pouring off him, no mistaking it. That was the raw power of her father, the Demon King. That night turned into an endless brawl. Through Rin's eyes, the whole scene looked like a straight-up massacre. But for Suriel, this wasn't chaos. Arsal was like a second home to her. She knew every alley like the back of her hand. Bad news for the humans, they leveled the main structures. Government buildings, the Magic Academy, all smoke and rubble. Kale didn't hold back either. He tapped into the Demon King's mana to crush the weak, drunken festival goers before they could even react. With that kind of twisted teamwork, Arsal, the land of magic, didn't stand a chance. It was completely annihilated. 0 survivors. 0 mercy. By the end, it looked like the heavens themselves were catching fire. One mage tried to talk tough, swearing Arsal would never forgive the damned demons. Suriel incinerated him mid-sentence. That's my line, she scoffed. She's the one who can't forgive the humans, and destroying Arsal was just the appetizer. Next up, she's taking down Talcan, then the entire Talua Empire. She's going to wipe them all off the map. Rin thought that sounded impossible. Kale figured they'd helped enough and it was time to split up. But Suriel stopped him cold. You really think I wouldn't recognize that mana? You're Kale Kaldan, the Demon King's second son. Kale figured there was no point hiding it anymore. He admitted it. Suriel blinked, surprised. Kale realized she was just guessing, and he'd just played himself by confirming it. She only had suspicions. But then she dropped a bombshell. Technically, she isn't the Demon King's natural-born daughter. She's a mutant created from his blood aura. That's how she can sniff out anyone who shares his DNA. Since she was made after he was born, that makes Kale her big brother. And she assumes he wants revenge for Dad, right? So obviously they should stick together instead of going solo. Kale was thinking, revenge? Yeah, right, I just want to bail. But Suriel gave him a look. You're not running, are you? He's the last of the Demon King's bloodline. The last legacy. Rin realized they had 0 choice here. If they didn't tag along, Suriel looked ready to end them right there. So Kale put on a face. Of course I want revenge. He had no other option but to play along for now. Suriel lit up, literally. Great. Let's go burn everything in our path. Kale had his own reasons though. He desperately needed to master the magic of Arsal. Right now, Suriel is the only one who can teach him. He'll use the revenge plot as a cover to stay close and learn from her. As they walked away, one mage was barely breathing in the rubble. He knew he had to warn Talua. Later in the capital of Talua, an emergency report crashed the party going straight to the king. The king, enjoying his banquet, demanded to know what the fuss was. The messenger spilled it. Suriel is a demon and Arsal tried to take her out. But then Kale Kaldan, the Demon King's last son, showed up and helped her burn the city to the ground. The king nearly choked. The Demon King's son, in Arsal. The messenger confirmed they're likely working together. The king lost it. This was completely unacceptable. Not only a traitor, but the demon prince. They were mocking the crown. Kill them, the king roared. Immediately, he ordered wanted posters everywhere, and the bounty, whoever kills Suriel takes her rank. Raiden the messenger swore on his life to get it done. He walked over to where the demon king's severed head was displayed like a museum piece. He glared at the trophy. Your wretched bloodline is still breathing. He vowed right then and there to incinerate the last son of the demon king. Later on, the king's advisor pulled the messenger aside. General Killian had been notified and was rushing back. They needed the heavy hitters. Killian was inbound. Raiden smirked. Killian, the strongest knight, even deadlier than his brother Kilman. They needed a monster to kill monsters. Meanwhile, Killian was getting the bad news. His brother Kilman was gone. They told him his brother went down sacrificing himself to take out the Demon King. Killian was cold. If the Demon King is dead, why call me? The messenger explained. We need you to hunt the sun. Kael Kaldan. Killian didn't give a damn about Talua's politics or the king's orders. Demons killed my brother, then I kill demons. He gripped his weapon. And I'm starting with Kael Kaldan. Meanwhile, Kael stared at his bowl. In total horror, he couldn't believe he was expected to swallow this absolute slop. Soris waved it off, claiming she couldn't eat on a full stomach anyway, though that portion wouldn't even count as a snack for her. Rin immediately asked for the secret sauce. How does she stay so snatched? Soris dropped some wild logic if it goes in fast and comes out fast. The fat doesn't stick. Rin's mind was blown. She thought that was a total big brain moment. It honestly felt good to have a sister who wasn't actively trying to murder him, which was a luxury compared to her situation, or Tarmi's. But Kael was sweating bullets, worried Soris might be the jealous type deep down. He decided to rip the band-aid off and asked if she held a grudge against him, especially since he's the biological son of the Demon King. Soris didn't sugarcoat it. Yeah, I totally want to kill you. But since they shared the same father, a man she worshipped and respected, she couldn't bring herself to hate him for it. Plus, his royal blood meant she was obligated to protect him. Kael was stunned. Unlike his other siblings, she actually had his back. Soris looked him dead in the eye and vowed to put her life on the line to keep the last son of the Demon King breathing. Kael actually turned beet red and mumbled a thanks. Rin squinted at them, thinking, the hell, why is he blushing like a schoolgirl? Rin tried to slide in, offering her own turkey leg to get some attention, but got totally ignored. Soris doubled down, swearing to guard him with her life, until her dying breath. Kael gave a nod, signaling he got the message. But then Soris got serious warning that, if word got out about Arcel's situation, demon hunters would swarm this place like locusts. She suggested they needed a new hideout, but Kael smirked. Nah, he said. This isn't just a campsite, it's perfect. He claimed with a little magic, he'd turn this spot into an impenetrable fortress. First step, terraforming the landscape, twisting it into a hidden forest maze. While recovering, he analyzed the combat data he'd mentally downloaded. Dude needed a serious recharge after burning that much mana, just like his old man used to. Soris, who was running on empty, passed out. For hours. Safe inside their new secret base, the squad finally caught a break to heal up. Meanwhile, back in the kingdom of Taloa, the heavy hitters finally touched down. Killian had arrived with the White Talcan, the lethal second squad. The king got the memo, they were here, and honestly, just looking at these kids gave him full-body chills. He welcomed the White Talcan back, but the vibe was tense. One member hyped up Captain Killian, noting his power spike was off the charts. If General Kilman could see this, he'd be proud. Another member told Didi to shut his trap, but Didi just teased Audrey for never changing. Then the real question dropped. Cap, should we answer the king's summons? Or do we just kill Kael to blow off some steam? Killian brushed them off, apologizing to Cordelia he had business to attend to. Later, deep inside the castle, they stood before the severed head of the Demon King. Killian glared at the trophy, naming it the killer of his brother Helcadon. Didi gagged, calling it nasty, but Killian asked Cordelia if the tracking spell worked on just a severed head. Absolutely, she confirmed. It's possible. The residual blood was enough to trace the entire lineage. She cast the spell, the magic flaring up. Killian whispered to Helcadon's spirit to keep watch. They were about to hunt down every last trace of the enemy. Back at camp, Soris woke up feeling dangerous. Now that she was recharged, she was ready to slaughter those creeps. She warned that the second squad, the White Talcan, would be coming soon. Rin was confused. Second squad. Soris dropped the lore the kingdom never trusted the first squad to kill the Demon King. They were basically just lab rats for an experiment. The real weapon the kingdom poured their resources into was the second squad, the White Talcan. Kael had never heard of them. Soris explained this was Kilman's younger brother's crew, Killian, an elite unit of combat prodigies. Kael asked if the guy who killed the Demon King Kilman was weaker than them. Soris didn't hesitate. Oh, way weaker. These guys are monsters, completely different level. She couldn't even put a number on their power. Rin asked how they breezed into Taloa then. Soris, explained the White Talcan had split up for solo training, so regrouping would take time. That was their window to strike. Taloa. But Kale crunched the numbers. Taloa was huge compared to Arsol. Luck wasn't a strategy here. He laid out a new plan to Saurus. Everyone is hunting the Demon King's son, right? He bet the White Talcan had already linked up. It made zero sense for them to attack Taloa solo. Just the three of them against the world. They needed an army. They needed a base. And they needed to start building it now. Locked in on his every word. Kale laid it out cold with the demon army backing them. Taking an L against the White Talcans is mathematically impossible. They're about to wipe the floor with them. Won't Talcan's forces wreck the base if they invade? Not if they build the most OP dungeon in history. Susan was hyped, but Rin, she was trembling. She warned them, we can't gamble on battles unless we're 100% sure of the W. Otherwise, I'll end up dead like your dad. The play is simple. Build the ultimate fortress, then launch a total war on Talcan. Rin's vibe switched to excitement, and Sirius nodded. The guy was spitting facts. She expected nothing less from the Demon King's heir. Keel smirked internally, glad the squad was down with his master plan. Sirius dropped the next move, assemble an army. And she knows exactly which mercenary to recruit. The girls were thirsty for battle. Keel realized they were actually into it, which was perfect for his agenda. Finally, he can architect his own world, bringing a map from his fantasy into reality. He's locking in to craft his utopia, fully determined. Keel turned to Sirius. You got connections with trustworthy demons, right? First mission, master the geography. And the terrain out here. Susan called it a 200 IQ move and claimed she knew a guy. Later down the road, he started grinding Arsol magic levels. But Rin, she was salty seeing him get so cozy with his own sister. That girl's got issues. Keel figured this magic was S-tier difficulty, no way he'd master it quick. But thanks to that OP Demon King DNA, he mastered it instantly. He stared at his hands, channeling real magic. He was inching closer to the end game. Then 4 days later, Sirius announced they were close. Rin looked around. Demons live in this ghost town. Sirius shook her head. It wasn't always a wasteland, until Talcan's ambush wiped them out. Suddenly, Sirius ordered freeze. A demon lunged from the shadows, mistaking them for Talcan's kill squad. He speared Sirius's shoulder, but she tanked it without flinching. I knew it, she whispered. She realized the demons had anticipated them. Rin panicked. Why take the hit? Just tell them the truth. But Keel silenced her. He trusted Sirius's play. The demon kept raging and attacking. Sirius. She didn't fight back, she just apologized, tanking every hit and absorbing their fury. Until their rage burned out. The demons paused. They recognized her stance. A secret symbol only they knew. Sirius spoke. As a fellow demon, I atone for my sins. They hesitated. Wait, you are one of us. But last time you ran with Talcan, Keel stepped up. It's true. And I am the last survivor of the Demon King's bloodline. I vouch for her loyalty. The demons sensed the overwhelming aura of the Demon King and instantly believed. They dropped to their knees before young Master Keel. We are the Earth Demons, and we pledge our lives. His Majesty Kayla and Azrael claimed they had the inside scoop on some reliable recruits. One look through the illusion, and Kayla finds himself staring at a massive demon metropolis. He figures, building an army, this is going to be a cakewalk. The Earth Demons roll out the red carpet, greeting him with nothing but warmth and love. They're prepping a whole feast, a grand entrance ceremony. But Keela's vibing with the architecture, it's totally different. From the Demon Castle or Arsol. They built this concrete jungle without a drop of magic. The materials are top-shelf quality. This city is just next level. He never imagined a subterranean hub this huge, packed with so many demons. Keela admits Azrael was spot on. They desperately need the Earth Demon's engineering genius. Azrael smirks, telling him he hasn't seen anything yet. There's a warrior here, who's the perfect draft pick. Now Keela's hooked. Azrael explains that Talca discovered this city while they were sailing to the Demon King's castle. Naturally, they wrecked the place, invaded, and started a slaughter. The Earth Demons were dying in droves on General Kilman's orders. He even torched the forest, pushing the entire race to the brink of extinction. But then, one warrior stepped up to shield his people. He protected the survivors and cut a deal with Kilman. Even the general was shook, demanding to know the fighter's name. He introduced himself as Douglas, son of the Earth Demons. And Kilman immediately took a shine to the kid. But he mused that if Douglas had been born human, this whole mess would be resolved. He ordered everyone to cease fire. Kilman declared they'd spare this place and march on to the Demon King's castle. Douglas stood there, completely shell-shocked. Azrael narrates that Douglas's guts just saved his entire clan. The guy could barely believe it, freezing in total silence. Azrael notes that in the present, Douglas didn't run. He stayed to save every last child of the Earth people. Rin is impressed. This guy sounds like the real deal. She figures a tanky warrior from the Earth Demons would be a massive asset for their squad. Kayla decides he needs a face-to-face with Douglas. The guide suggests they look for someone else, but Keela shuts that down. He demands to be taken to Douglas immediately. He asks for the location. Later, tracking him down to a smithy, Keela asks if he dares to defy him. Douglas doesn't flinch. You may be the Demon King's son, but I don't answer to you. Keela challenges. You gonna make me use force? I'll die fighting. Douglas shoots back. Keela asks why he's so obsessed with staying in this hole. Douglas says he was born and raised here. He has a duty to protect his turf. That's why he can never leave. Keela sighs, admitting the guy is as stubborn as the rumors say. Douglas just offers a quiet apology. Keela thinks back, even in his past life, he tried hard to recruit Douglas and failed every time. He realizes he probably won't snag him in this timeline either. But looking around and analyzing the details, he sees the architecture here is brutally efficient. He really wants one of these demons, with that knowledge on his payroll. Suddenly the mood shifts. Azrael and Rin are already wasted raving about the earth demon liquor. Damn lushes, Keela thinks. I'm out here grinding and they're getting hammered. But cut to later, Keela is also throwing them back. Whoa, this stuff hits way harder than beer. The host appears, noting they're all sloppy drunk. He orders the demons to prep rooms for them to crash in. Later, Keela is tucked in, looking so out of it he doesn't notice the shadows creeping up on him. The earth demons are there to assassinate Kayla, right here, right now. One swings an axe straight for Kayla's neck. Swish. The next second the attacker is stunned. Keela dodged it effortlessly. Keela smirks. That confirms it. How they gasp. Wasn't he passed out? That sneaky bastard Kayla played us. They rush him again to finish the job. Keela thinks back. He was skeptical from the jump. He kept asking himself, why was Douglas forging stuff in the smithy that wasn't weaponry? Those shackles were too small for orcs, so they had to be custom made for him or his girls. He also felt eyes on him constantly. Someone was tailing him the whole time. That's when he really started scanning his surroundings. He spotted a magical barrier over the city. It was so subtle he would have missed it if he didn't have the Demon King's mana running through his veins. But the biggest red flag, Azrael said Douglas, was protecting the Earth people and the Dark Elves. Yet Kayla hasn't seen a single Dark Elf in the village. The pieces clicked. Keela blitzes the demons standing in his way. He calls out to Douglas, you told Killman. You wouldn't let the Dark Elves die, but you couldn't exactly hand them over, could you? Which means Douglas didn't. He didn't give a damn about saving the elves or playing hero. It was pure possessiveness. Nobody touches his property. Douglas, panic rising, stammered, How? How did you figure it out? Keela shot back a cold glare. Time to shatter that seal, don't you think? Later, the tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. He had Douglas in a chokehold, banking on the enemy hesitating. He thought, they'll freeze if I have their leader. But nope, wishful thinking. The old geezer scoffed, asking if Douglas actually botched the job. Douglas tried to beg for forgiveness, but Keela barked. Nobody takes a single step closer. Suddenly, Douglas breaks free and bolts like a coward. The elder just shakes his head at the pathetic display. Later, by the shimmering barrier, Keela orders it opened. Now, he jams the crystal key into the slot. The magical wall dissolves, unveiling a sight that would make a grown man sick. The Dark Elves weren't just prisoners, they were livestock. It was a breeding farm. Keela felt his stomach turn. This was way more twisted than his darkest theories. Suriel and Rin flash onto the scene, shouting that Keela was right all along. Then they freeze. The sheer horror of the dungeon hits them like a truck. Keela's voice is ice cold. Suriel, get the Dark Elves out, now. And then, show me everything. Use your memory transfer. I need to see the truth. Suriel hesitates. I can do it, but reading their trauma won't be as high def as transferring my own thoughts. It's going to be jagged. Just do it, Keela demands. Suriel nods, places a hand on a trembling elf, and bridges the psychic link, beaming the nightmare directly into Keela's brain. It was hell on earth. The mother was forced to bear children against her will, trapped in a cycle where every newborn faced the same cursed fate. The pretty ones, the young kids that caught a noble's eye, were plucked from the herd and dragged away screaming, sold to the highest bidder. These earth demons were making bank trading lives for stacks of cash. Occasionally, captured adults would whisper stories of the outside world. They spoke of a blue sky and an endless ocean, a fantasy land where you could go anywhere, things these caged souls could only dream of. If every dark elf here had one dying wish, it wasn't for themselves. It was just a prayer that maybe, just maybe, their kids would get to see the sun. Keela snaps back to reality, trembling with pure rage. These pathetic scumbags. I'm slaughtering every single earth demon. He spins on Douglas and unloads a punch. So devastating, it basically shatters the guy's entire body structure. Suriel gasps. How could you monsters do this to children? Douglas, coughing up blood, smirks. Dark elves are ultra-rare loot. Humans have a twisted lust for them. Nature made them to be loved and used. They're the perfect livestock race, Douglas wheezes. The girls scream at him, asking how he could betray his own kind like this. The Demon King is dead, Douglas yells back. We had to survive somehow. It's eat or be eaten. Keela starts channeling his mana, dark energy swirling. He thinks back to his past life. He was miserable, too crushed by his parents' expectations. But that was nothing compared to this. These kids are living in a meat grinder. He clenches his fist. He's done watching from the sidelines. Not on his watch. Not anymore. He locks eyes with Suriel and Rin. We're ending this operation. Right now. We finish what Kyuma was too weak to handle. Suriel nods, her eyes burning. Agreed. I'm going to exterminate every traitor who sold out our race. Rin draws her weapon. Zero forgiveness. Keela grins savagely. Let's wipe this place clean. But Douglas isn't done. He screeches for backup. Suddenly, the room is swarming with earth demons. It's 3 versus an army. Okay, slight problem, Rin mutters. Suriel steps up, radiating aura. You dare rebel against the king's son. The squad holds the line. They aren't backing down an inch, mowing down the initial wave of grunts with ease. He's fighting like a true king, Rin notes. Kella casually catches Douglas's attack with one hand. This isn't a game, Kella thinks. This is my new life. He channels his fury into a brutal kick, smashing his boot right into Douglas's face. No more holding back. I'm rewriting the script. Meanwhile, the Dark Elves huddle in the corner watching the carnage. They're fighting for us, one whispers. Should we help? Another shakes her head terrified. No, it's suicide. If they lose, the torture starts all over again. The trauma runs deep. The poor guy is shaking, paralyzed by fear. Kayla clocks their fear. He turns to Douglas. You hear that? You see what you broke. The screams. The pain. You think you're walking away from this, but Douglas pulls out a trump card. He pops a glowing, jagged pill into his mouth. The other demons follow suit. It's an all-or-nothing gamble. If they lose, they die anyway. They're swallowing earth ore. Rin's eyes widen. I thought that stuff was a myth. Earth ore isn't just a rock. It's a steroid on steroids. A massive power multiplier. It cranks their physical stats by dozens of times. Instantly, Douglas and his crew start mutating. Bulking up into massive, brutal, orc-like monsters, Keela grits his teeth. Just raw demon energy won't cut it against these hulks. He's in a bind. He can't unleash his full kit, yet he still hasn't mastered the Demon King's mana flow. But there's no time to strategize. Monstrous Douglas roars and charges. It's go time. Keela sensed the danger, instantly too risky. Bam roots erupted from the ground, locking Douglas and that elf down tight. Woody stood his ground. I'm done being your punching bag, the Dark Elves gasped. Did he just clap back? Douglas snarled. You dare block my path. I'll torture you until you beg for death. But then a chill ran down his spine. He could feel Keela closing in. Keela's voice was ice cold. Don't touch him. Never again. Next second, Keela's fist was already buried deep in Douglas's gut. Ignoring the blood, Keela turned to the elf. Woody, right. I like your vibe. You're welcome on my squad anytime. Douglas spat blood furious. He only breathes because I let him. The audacity. Playtime is over. I'm ending you right here. With a roar, Douglas shattered the roots. Keela's eyes narrowed. Something was wrong. He was hulking out way bigger than before. One massive hit sent Keela flying all the way across the cavern. Crash. Damn, that earth magic is no joke, Keela thought. Meanwhile, Douglas lunged, snatching Woody up by the throat. I'll rip your head off, Woody gasped. Air supply cut off. Keela watched, thinking, this guy has officially lost it. He ignored the fight just to kill a hostage. Woody was seconds away from death. Keela needed a ranged attack fast. Gotta use that power. Suddenly, reality shifted. Keela was floating in a spirit realm, staring down his father's energy. You absolute moron, the energy scoffed. You drained yourself so dry you're hallucinating a chat with your own conscience. You need to move. Now the entity warned. Kayla gritted his teeth. Tell me something I don't know. I have to save Woody. How do I fix this? The energy sneered. You aren't ready for the Demon King's full power. Your body and mind need to be in perfect sync to handle that kind of juice. Master that, and Keela snapped. Cut the lecture. Just tell me how to use it, the energy sighed. Fine. I've got just the toy for you. Catch you later, the voice faded. Kayla blinked, confused. Wait. How did that thing know my true name? Snap back to reality. Kayla was holding the legendary Hellfire demonic bow. This changes everything. He aimed. Woody, get down. Douglas froze, blindsided. Woody saw the opening and flared his own magic for a shield. Your reign of terror ends now, Douglas. Keela released the string. The Hellfire arrow screamed through the air. Bullseye. It slammed into Douglas's face. Instantly, blue flames engulfed him, cooking him alive. Zero chance of survival. Douglas crumbled into a pile of ash under the azure fire. Keela lowered the bow, mind racing. Who was that voice? No time to think the other earth demons were still up. Suriel panicked. Don't go full power. You'll wipe out the elves too. Keela smirked. Chill. I got this. Cleaning up aisle 4. He unleashed a barrage of flaming arrows, dropping the earth demons instantly. Suriel's jaw dropped. Hellfire arrows. Did his mana just get a massive buff? Keela looked at his hands. Finally, ranged attacks. This is going to be a game changer. Later, with the area cleared, the dust settled. Suriel examined the rocks. These earth minerals. Way more potent than I thought. Rin nodded grimly. Yeah, I didn't know they burned through the user's lifespan like fuel. Keela frowned. Definitely need to look into that weird tech later. He turned to the crowd of dark elves. Listen up. From this second on, you're free. No more chains. No more cages. Go live your lives. The elves looked around, whispering. Is this real? Are we actually free? Yes, Keela insisted. Take your kids and get out of this hellhole. The crowd bowed in unison, praising Prince Keela. Suriel sighed. Well, at least this trip wasn't a total bust. Even if those earth demons played us. Rin shrugged. Bummer, but what can you do? Kayla walked up to Woody. You weren't born here, were you? You were snatched. No family left waiting for you. Woody looked down. No, just me. Perfect, Kayla grinned. Join us. We need a local guide who knows this terrain. Woody hesitated. I'm not really an earth demon. My navigation skills are trash. I'd just slow you down. Details, Keela waved it off. Nature loves elves, right. Besides, you stood up to Douglas. That took guts. You can handle danger. That's an asset I want. He held out a hand. So you in? Woody stared at Lord Keela starstruck. He couldn't even remember his parents' faces, just being left behind. But now, he finally had a place. The guy was convinced he'd be stuck rotting in that hellhole for the rest of his miserable life. He honestly thought that dungeon was his grave. Damn it. Tears streaming down his face, he begged Kayla, asking if escape was actually real, if he could tag along. Kayla shut that down immediately, telling him, You're not following me, you're walking right beside me. He hauled the guy up and told him to move it. Later, outside the Earth Demon village, the newly freed Dark Elves were saying their goodbyes. Kayla felt a little knot of worry, since most of them had never even seen the sky before. But nature loves these guys. They'll adapt. Literally anywhere is an upgrade compared to the nightmare they just left. Woody also had to say goodbye to his crew. Later, Rin was already on his case, scolding him like, You better listen to orders, got it. Woody just shrugged, Cool, whatever you say. Suri cut in, announcing that priority number 1 was finding a riverbank. Woody sniffed the air and pointed, I smell fresh water that way. Rin gave him a backhanded compliment. Not bad, I'll give you that one. Woody thanked her anyway. Keela turned to Suri, asking why they were so obsessed with finding a river. Suri explained that walking the whole way was a no-go. They couldn't hoof it forever. They needed to find something that could carry them. A river meant a better chance of finding transport. Rin piped up, I want to catch a dragon. Suri rolled her eyes, telling her to get real. What's next? A unicorn. Keela decided to ignore the bickering and just head in the direction Woody pointed out. And wouldn't you know it, plot twist, there was a river and 2 actual unicorns were drinking from it, and right behind them, a massive dragon gliding over the water. Suri stood there, shocked. She was 100% sure neither dragons nor unicorns existed in these parts. Meanwhile, back at the Earth Demon village, the last surviving demon was begging for his life. Cadence stated cold facts. This guy was the last one standing. She had been watching him earlier. She was arguing with the White Stalken group. Did asked if the tracking spell was broken. Cadence shook her head. She didn't know why, but she was picking up multiple signals in every direction. Kalka said that was impossible. There's no way the Demon King left that many offspring behind. He asked if there was really no way to pinpoint Keela's specific signature. Cadence admitted defeat on that front. Audrey asked for the plan then. They couldn't just waste time wandering around. The leader decided they had no choice but to go scorched earth, hunt them all. Every single lost demon on the continent. He asked Cadence where to start. Cadence offered a solo strategy. She could teleport ahead to scout a specific range. Recon would be faster that way. Did love the idea. The team could rack up kills while she tracked. Cadence stood up, agreed to the plan, triggered her teleport spell, and just blinked out of existence. Did asked. Just like that, she's gone. But Killian grinned, announcing it was time to slaughter some demons. Back in the present, Cadence sensed the energy of Colden's children, lingering in the area. She grabbed the Earth Demon survivor, asking if Kayla had passed through. The demon confirmed it, trembling. Yes, he's the one who wiped everyone out. Cadence demanded his current location. The demon had no clue, but begged to be saved. Cold as ice, Cadence executed him right there. She muttered that he was useless. If he didn't have the intel, she had no choice but to physically follow the faint energy trail, to hunt down this Kalden character. Meanwhile, the squad finally reached that damn river. Kayla noted it took days to get here, but was impressed. Woody tracked it from such a crazy distance. As expected of the elves, Woody thanked him for the recognition. Rin immediately got salty, telling him, Don't get a big head, okay? You're still a rookie. Woody apologized like a puppy. Keela groaned, I'm starving, since they hadn't had a real meal in days. Rin puffed out her chest, I'll catch something. I'm a pro at fishing. But before she could move, fish were literally jumping out of the river, answering Woody's call, landing right in his hands. Woody explained he was controlling the water flow using nature magic. Suri admitted that was pretty impressive. Rin, realizing she was becoming irrelevant, offered to at least start the fire. But Suri shut her down, no need. Rin looked absolutely crushed. She was feeling totally useless. Later, as they were chowing down, everyone praised Woody's work. Kayla noticed. Rin wasn't eating. She looked depressed. Suri threatened to steal her fish, but Keela realized what was actually wrong. Keela declared, "Fish isn't enough. Who can get me some fruit?" Rin shot up, eager to find some. Woody stood up too, saying, "I can find fruit way faster." Keela cut him off. "No, Rin is doing this one." He looked at her. "You got this right," Rin beamed. "Absolutely, leave it to me. I'll bring the most delicious fruit for my master Suri," chuckled, noting that Rin is such a simple girl to figure out. She whispered that Keela is surprisingly thoughtful. He only did that to boost Rin's morale, didn't he? She cuts straight to the chase. Forget the fruit. She asks Woody, the real question. "Any unicorns in this neck of the woods?" Woody nods. Yeah, he sensed one, but it was just a baby. She hits him with another question immediately. So if unicorns are real, she figures Rin's dragon theory might be legit too. Sirius shuts it down instantly. No dragons here. Meanwhile, Rin is zooming through the forest, hype levels maxed out, hunting for snacks. Bingo. She finally spots some fruit. She climbs up something weird to reach the berries. Suddenly, her stepping stool shifts beneath her feet. It's breathing. She looks down. She's standing on a freaking dragon's head. Panic mode engaged. She nearly flatlines right there, back at camp. She's grilling Woody again. "Can you actually sense the Earth's energy naturally? Like passive radar?" It's hard to explain, Woody admits, struggling for words. "But yeah, I can feel the pulse of nature. Only within a certain radius, though." She's thinking it's basically a mini-map from an RPG. Sirius nods. "That's a top-tier skill. Perfect for sniffing out dungeons." But Woody kills the vibe. "My range is trash, so it's not that useful." She's not giving up. "Can't you level that skill up, buff the range somehow through training?" Woody hesitates. "I heard rumors. There is one way to boost the signal range, but I'd need to consume a clairvoyant stone from an ancient dragon, one that survived over 1,000 years. That would amp my range by like 100 times. Her jaw drops. 100 times. That's insane stats. But Sirius cuts in. "Finding a dragon is near impossible, and killing one, suicide." She asks, "Are they really that?" OP. Sirius looks dead serious. "Absolutely. If nature has a food chain, dragons aren't just part of it, they own the throne." Top of the verse. Apex predators. Plus, they despise demons, and the only ones crazy enough to tame them. Humans. But only those with unshakable mental will. She smirks. "Kinda ironic, huh? The weak humans are the only ones bossing dragons around." Sirius sighs. "Dragon nature is beyond us." She presses on. "So, what exactly is this clairvoyant stone?" Woody is desperate to get his hands on one. "Forget it," Sirius snaps. "You'll just obsess over a pipe dream." She knows Sirius is right. He just wanted to power level Woody. But right then, chaos erupts. Rin bursts into the clearing, sprinting for her life, screaming for her master. Sirius freezes. "Is that a dragon?" Woody's eyes go wide. "That's a big one." No time to chat, everybody scrams. "Run." She pants. "Thought you said dragons were rare." Sirius is clueless. "I don't know why it's here. They keep sprinting." Enter Cadley. She hears the earth-shaking roar. Meanwhile, the dragon is sniffing out demons. The demons hide behind a rock, terrified. The dragon turns, stomping the other way. Sirius exhales. It's leaving. Sirius glares at Rin. "You went for fruit and brought back a dragon." Rin shrinks. "Sorry, I didn't know." "I didn't order a dragon side dish," Woody interrupts, analyzing. "That size. It's ancient. Over 1,000 years old." Her eyes light up. "Wait, that means..." A cold voice finishes the sentence. "It definitely has a clairvoyant stone." "Exactly. Perfect opportunity," the voice says. They spin around. Cadley is standing right there. "Who are you?" Sirius goes, pale. She knows her. "Cadley, from the White Stockens." Rin tilts her head. "What's a Stockin doing here? They draw weapons." Sirius warns them. "That's the infamous Ice Blood Mage. She kills without mercy." The protagonist curses internally. Just wanted a chill life after quitting the Demon King's castle. But it's just danger after danger. Now, this psycho Cadley raises a hand. "Relax. There's no reason to fight. Not right now." Her gaze shifts to Sirius. "Hello, traitor. You know, resisting is pointless. I could wipe your whole squad with a single spell." She glances at Sirius. Is she bluffing? Sirius shakes her head. "No, I don't doubt it. She's stronger than all of us combined." Rin panics. "What the hell do we do?" Cadley smiles. "We don't fight. Come with me quietly and you live for now." She frowns. "Why do you want us to follow you?" Cadley points. "I'm taking you to my captain, Killian, leader of the White Stockens." Sirius grits her teeth. "So he's making his move. Damn Killian." Cadley nods. "My captain is looking for exactly what you mentioned." She gestures. "Please follow me. She thinks I'm dead, either way." "If I go with her," Cadley whispers. "At least this way, you live a few minutes longer." She clenches her fist. "I won't die like a chump. If he keeps tailing that guy, he's a dead man walking. But he's not about to accept a game over screen. He's ready to throw hands against destiny itself." He lets an arrow fly, but it pings off Cadley's shield like a toy. Sirius screams for the squad to jump her all at once. It's a total barrage, but Cardley's barriers are eating every hit. Rin loses it and rushes in for a solo play. She swears she won't let Cardley slide, smashing against the shield. But it's like punching a mountain, 0 damage. Sirius yells at Rin to bail, but she's too close. Cardley claps back instantly, launching a massive ice crystal. The impact sends Rin flying. She gets absolutely yeeted. Cardley grins, saying she's cool with dragging Kale's corpse home if she has to. She casts a brutal ice storm. Sirius panics, shouting for everyone to huddle under his barrier immediately. Rin barely slides into safety just in time. Kale checks her HP, asking if she's good, but she just apologizes. She feels useless to her master, but Kale shuts that down. No time for guilt trips. Sirius grunts, warning that his shield is fading. It won't hold much longer. Kale asks if there's a counterplay to her spell. Sirius drops the hard truth, tough luck. Even if she keeps casting, the power gap is just too massive. And Cardley, she's spamming attacks without a single pause. The shield starts cracking. Everyone realizes they're cooked if it shatters. Kale's brain is racing. There has to be a way out. Think, Kale, think. He remembers that dark presence lurking inside his own consciousness. If he can just tap into that again, he starts focusing hard. Sirius looks at him like, bro, what are you doing? Unleashing that power inside the shield might blow them all up. But Kale knows that thing needs to come out now. The commotion catches the dragon's attention just as it was leaving. Suddenly, Cardley freezes. She feels it. She finally senses the Demon King's energy radiating from the boy. So you only show up when he channels the power, she sneers. Now it all makes sense. She understands why tracking him down was such a headache before. Still, she declares this is the end of the line for Kale Cotton. Meanwhile, Kale is desperately searching his mind. Where is that monster? It only shows up when he's on death's door. Sirius shouts the shield is gone. It shatters into a million pieces. Kyle is wide open, seconds away from taking the fatal hit. Boom! The dragon swoops in out of nowhere, face-tanking the attack and shielding the whole demon squad. Cardley is shook. Why would a dragon do that? The beast leans in, nuzzling Kale like a lost puppy, looking for affection. They lock eyes and sync up. Kale downloads the dragon's memories. This creature was connected to Kale's mother. They were tight like best friends. The dragon's voice echoes in Kale's head. Run. Kale is stunned. Was that telepathy? The dragon coughs up a glowing crystal right into Kale's hand. It's his clairvoyant stone. Kale stares at it, confused why he's being gifted top-tier loot right now. Dragon cuts him off. No time to explain. Mask your power and get out of here. Kale is baffled by the assist. The dragon roars at him to move, then whips around and blasts a stream of fire straight at Cardley. Cardley scoffs. A dragon helping a demon. That's super sus. Kale realizes he can't waste seconds wondering why. The squad scatters. Cardley admits the dragon is strong, but she's annoyed why interfere now. Her hesitation costs her as the dragon ramps up his power output against her. But it's not enough to crack Cardley's defense. She smirks. Is that your ult? If I try even a little, you're done. She casts a massive meteor spell. As it hurtles toward him, the dragon flashes back to Kale's mom. He remembers the good times. Then wham! The meteor crushes him. Kale looks back in horror. All that's left is the dragon's corpse. Cardley muses. There must be something weird about him to make him turn traitor. She moves to scan his memories before the brain dies. Suddenly, the dragon's body ignites. A final voice echoes, "You arrogant, cruel humans. You're gonna regret everything you've done." He burns into a pile of ash. Cardley sighs, realizing he deleted his own save file to protect the intel. It bought Kale just enough time to vanish. Cardley realizes this situation just got way more complicated, but she shrugs it off. Changes nothing. Kale caught on is still marked for death. He's destined to die by the White Talkins. Meanwhile, the demons are confused. Why did the lizard save them? First he tried to kill them, then saved them. Woody corrects them. He didn't save us. He was only saving Kale. Sirius nods. He got close and buffed Kale with some magic. Sirius turns to Kale. You got something you want to tell the class? Kale hesitates. I managed to sync with his memories for a second there. That dragon definitely had a connection with his mom, even though Rin dropped the fact that dragons and demons usually don't vibe. It is wild to try and picture what kind of backstory brought them together like that. Even Rin admitted she was totally clueless. But Keela felt a massive wave of nostalgia radiating from the beast. Then the dragon didn't just save him, he handed over his own clairvoyant stone. Not only did he rescue Kayla, but he also gifted him that artifact. Soros mentioned the queen pulled them out at the last second, but Kayla couldn't stop wondering about the dragon's link to his mother. It was definitely something deep. You could see the intensity burning in that dragon's eyes. Keela had been desperate for that stone, but now it was Woody's turn to feast. Soros pointed out, this was their ticket to shaking off those white falcons for good. Survival was the only priority right now. Though Woody hesitated, he knew how insanely rare this item was. He looked at Keela and asked, "Are you seriously giving this to me?" Keela didn't even blink. Of course, Woody was the only one who could unlock its potential, so Keela told him to down it. So Woody just swallowed the thing whole. Pure power surged through his veins like electricity. Suddenly, the dragon's memories crashed into his mind. It started in a lab. The poor creature wasn't born free. He was a lab rat for humans. Day after day, they subjected him to twisted, cruel experiments. They would rip off his limbs, carving pieces out of him, just to run their tests. This nightmare dragged on for centuries. Eventually, the dragon snapped. He went completely insane. The humans even joked that he didn't scream or cry anymore. They said his tears dried up generations ago, and he was just lying there waiting to die. Then, chaos struck. Turk Kaldum, the worst demon king in history, invaded. He showed up with one goal: wipe out every single human in existence. Amidst the slaughter, the lab collapsed. The dragon saw his chance and clawed his way out of that hellhole. Freedom at last. Finally soaring through the skies, he tracked down his draconic kin. He spilled everything about the torture, urging them to unite and crush the humans. He detailed every cruelty he suffered and begged them to join forces for an attack. But nobody bought it. The dragons were already tight with the humans' total allies. They were too busy helping humans fight demons to listen. None of them realized their brother had been a victim the whole time. They had no clue the humans were actually studying them, planning to turn them into the next batch of sacrifices. Humans had been using dragons as guinea pigs for ages just to figure out how to exploit the race. But his own kind rejected the truth. So he tried rolling with the demons, but they hated him too. Totally isolated, rejected by demons, rejected by humans. He started wondering why he was even born into this world. If he couldn't contribute anything, he had no reason to exist. He retreated into infinite solitude and darkness, just waiting for the clock to run out, until he stumbled upon a tiny demon girl. That is how he met Karis. Karis looked up and asked, "Are you my mommy?" The dragon was like, "Excuse me," but she just sprinted at him. She hugged him tight, convinced he was her mother. He tried to tell her, "Kid, I am not your mom." But in that embrace, it hit him. This was it. This was the reason he was born. That kid who appeared out of nowhere was Karis. Looking at her, he could see straight into her memories. His past was filled with labs and tests, and hers was exactly the same. They used her mother as a test subject too. There was this rogue, hostile faction of demons called Tarsica, acting on their own. By experimenting, they cracked the code on dragon magic and learned to control it. The second, Karis, hatched from her egg. She became a lab rat. But Karis was special. She held more raw power than any dragon. She could wield dragon magic and transformation spells like it was nothing. That is exactly why Tarsica targeted her. Her entire life was a science project. Nothing but constant pain and despair. But she was a fighter. All on her own, she unlocked teleportation magic and escaped that living hell. She wandered the world solo until she crossed paths with him. Maybe it was destiny, maybe just a coincidence. But with scars that deep, they couldn't just walk away from each other. They were two broken souls. Karis started calling him Master. He figured, hey, it is less weird than Mommy, so he told her to stick with Master. Karis agreed but asked, so Master is like Mommy, right? He shut that down fast. No, just Master. From then on, he became her teacher. He showed her how the world worked and how a dragon should live. She soaked up magic like a sponge. For the first time, the days didn't drag on in agony. Their time together was so full of joy, it flew by in a blur. One day, the dragon turned to Karis and thanked her. For what? She asked. I just felt like I should, he replied. And right then, Karis wrapped him in the warmest hug. The dragon watched Karis evolve every single day, and honestly, that connection was pure serotonin. It washed away a lifetime of agony he'd carried since hatching trauma he couldn't even put into words. All that past suffering felt meaningless compared to the masterpiece that was raising Karis. But then, the vibe shifted. A glitch sparked in the dragon's mind. Something felt off. Karis sensed the mood drop immediately. Master, what's wrong? The dragon stared blankly. Who are you, human demon? Which is it? He demanded she identify herself. Confusion washed over Karis. Is this a test, Master? You're scaring me? But he didn't wait. He unleashed a torrent of flames straight at her, rambling like a madman about devils and humans. Karis stood there frozen. This wasn't the mentor she knew. Despite their golden era together, the torture from those old experiments had finally cracked his psyche. He was a ticking time bomb. Just like his kin, his sanity had redlined. Master, don't you remember me? Karis pleaded. Her voice pierced the fog, snapping him back to reality. Wait. What just happened? The dragon stammered, disoriented. Are you okay now? She asked, voice trembling. He apologized profusely. He almost incinerated her. That's when the truth hit him. He wasn't okay. He was a danger to the one person he loved. He had to bail. Why are you ghosting me? She cried. She just wanted her master by her side, but the dragon made the hard call. For the sake of his precious disciple, he had to vanish to the ends of the earth. He resigned himself to the end, clinging to their highlight reel as he faded away. His mind became a chaotic loop of remembering and forgetting. Files were corrupting. He knew his system was shutting down for good. Then a pulse. He felt a familiar energy signature and instinctively chased it. He'd finally found it. An aura that felt exactly like Cariste's. He was convinced it was the residual energy from his memories. It was Cariste's energy, his student, his daughter. He could feel her presence. He sprinted toward the source, desperate. But when he arrived, the illusion shattered. It wasn't Cariste. It was a totally different kid. But the instinct to protect overrode the confusion. Diving into the child's memories, he saw the truth. Cariste had grown up. She became a mother. This little guy, this was his grandson. I will protect this kid with my life. In his final moments, he sent a silent thank you to Cariste. Because of her, he didn't die in agony. He died seeing the beautiful legacy she created. It was a good death. Back in the present, the emotional download hit Woody like a physical blow. He dropped to his knees, overwhelmed by the rush. I got it all, Woody gasped. The dragon's memories. They just transferred to me. He described it like a dream that was slipping through his fingers. The details were blurry, but one thing was crystal clear: that dragon died, smiling. Keela frowned. If he died happy, does that mean that wretched mage actually succeeded in killing him? It didn't matter. The body was already dust. Susan cut in, confused. Wait, you're saying he doesn't remember the details? He's crying over memories he can't even recall. How does that work? It's not an instant upgrade, Woody explained. The powers need to buffer. They'll unlock slowly. Worst case scenario, I might glitch out trying to use them for a while. Rin shrugged. He's got time. Keela sighed. Not like we have a plan B. We wait for the skills to load. Okay, but what's the move right now? Woody asked. We don't know when Talcan will catch up to us. Keela nodded. We need a safe house. He gestured to Suriel to pull up the world map. On the right, the kingdom of Taloa, human turf. On the left, the demonic continent. That strip in the middle, that's the border. Keela pointed to the bottom of the map. We head south. Rin raised an eyebrow. You think that's safer than entering demon territory? There was a reason I was deployed, South Keela countered. It wasn't random. Partly to find Suriel, sure. But face it, the Demon King is gone. The humans have likely overrun our lands by now. Suriel nodded grimly. Facts. Before Father fell, the human army was already seizing the opportunity to invade. The demon continent isn't safe anymore. It's occupied territory. Why not rally the demon clans? Rin suggested. Keela let out a bitter laugh. Impossible right now. You saw the vibe in the Earth demon territory. I've been branded a coward, the prince who fled. My approval rating is 0. Nobody's riding with me until I flex some real power and prove I'm not a fraud. Can't Suriel vouch for you? Rin asked. Suriel shook her head. Without Father here, there's no way to verify his lineage. The Demon King's son was completely walled off. He couldn't make a single move in Talcan yet. Earning redemption from his own kind, that's going to be a massive grind. Keela laid it out. Step 1 is establishing a dungeon stronghold to serve as their HQ. He's got a checklist of feats to knock out before the demon race will even look at him again. He needs to power level hard. Sirius was vibing with the plan, and the team's morale finally shifted. From here on out, it's all about the W's. They need clout, honor the whole package. Make it so the demons naturally want to rally behind them. Keela has to prove he's not just an heir, but the future king. For now, though, they just need to buy some time to dig in and strategize. The play set up their first base way down south. The squad was hyped. Keela let out a breath he'd been holding. Sure, the plan was a bit sketchy, but it was a relief. They were loyal. He finally locked down the party members he desperately needed. But the heat is still on. Those high-level monsters are hunting him down. Challenging Tulkon right now is suicide. He needs better intel. Looking back at everything, he survived. It's all familiar. The mechanics, the logic, it's just like the game. Even the monster lore is a total copy-paste. There's a definite glitch connecting this world to his past life, and he is absolutely going to exploit it. He'll use his prince status like a key and his gamer knowledge like a cheat code. It's his favorite strategy game after all. Keela is plotting a speedrun to victory. No XP wasted. Meanwhile, cut to a demon city. It's a massacre. Demons were begging for mercy, ready to kneel to the humans. But the humans didn't care. A massive flame wolf turned them into a snack. Did asked if the victims spilled any info first. Couldn't hear over the screaming. The leader scoffed. Those wretched things surrendered, but honestly, who cares? Audrey silenced one permanently with her axe. Her philosophy, demons are best when they're quiet and 6 feet under. Nearby, Talcan was finishing his own kill streak, telling the captain the sector was clear. The captain was already patching a call through a hologram, pulling up a visual of Cuddly. She dropped the bad news, a dragon bailed Keela out, and she's lost his signal completely. Killian chimed in with a theory. He figured Keela couldn't be far from the Earth demon territory. Cuddly confirmed she already has her butterflies sweeping the zone. Killian loved that. He knew Keela wouldn't risk circling back to demon turf just yet. The play was to regroup at Cuddly's location. Audrey interrupted. What about the trash? We, leaving survivors. She wanted a full server wipe. Killian told her to chill. Relax. We're not losing the game if we just kill Keela. They need to end the bloodline that took his brother. Smash. Cut to Keela's squad riding unicorns. Majestic but absolutely freezing. Someone complained about the temperature drop. Sirius shrugged it off. They'd been pushing south non-stop for a week straight. Keela was just glad they hadn't triggered a random encounter with the stalker yet. If they could ghost their pursuers until the setup was complete, that would be absolutely clutch. Suddenly, the unicorns slammed the brakes. Woody explained the beasts were refusing to go further. Their survival instinct kicked in. They knew the zone ahead was a death trap. Keela nodded. This was the drop point anyway. He dismissed the mounts. Woody thanked the creatures, wishing them a safe trip back to the spawn point. Rin shivered. Humans, demons. Nobody survives this freeze. Kayla smirked. Exactly. That's why it's perfect for us. It's the ultimate natural defense. But just then, one of Cuddly's spy butterflies clocked the retreating unicorns. She was confused. Migration from south to north, and why are there exactly 4 of them? That's suspicious. Later, the squad stared down an isolated island. Woody pointed out a cave inside prime real estate, safest spot on the map. Keela needed a scan. Any mobs inside, Woody tried using his mind's eye, but he only picked up nature signals. No life detected yet. Sirius spotted some boats rotting on the shore, abandoned for ages. That means 0 foot traffic, but the hulls looked decent enough to float, so they paddled out. It was 200 meters off the coast, and Keela figured the distance wasn't too bad. But the waves were aggressive, great for security. Finally, they breached the cave entrance. Keela turned to Sirius. Can you put up a stealth barrier? She laughed. Easy money. She conjured a fake rock wall to seal them in. Keela looked around. Place was gathering dust. First order of business, inspect the new lair. He told the team to split up, but first, he needed Woody's specs on the layout. Woody mapped it mentally. 2 paths ahead, but both tunnels spit them out at the same destination, a massive, cavernous hall. It feels like the entrance to something ancient, leading to a chamber buried deep in the Earth's gut. It connects to a narrow exit. Keela calls the play, suggesting they split up to cover more ground and investigate both routes. The plan is to loop back and meet in the middle. Sorrel tries to slide in next to Keela, but Rin shuts that down instantly. Nope, not happening. She claims her spot next to Keela. Sorrel asks what the deal is, but Rin plays dumb. Nothing's wrong. We don't know what's lurking in these tunnels, Rin argues. The heavy hitters need to stick together. Sorrel rolls her eyes. She isn't buying a word of that, but she shrugs it off and gets stuck with Woody. So Sorrel and Woody take the path less traveled. It's freezing down there, illuminated only by these eerie glowing stones embedded in the cave ceiling. Light stones, a fusion of high-tier magic and ice. Sorrel notes that for these to last this long, they had to be crafted by a master mage, someone with serious XP. But her focus shifts to Woody. She tells him straight up she doesn't trust him. Woody's like, excuse me. Sorrel admits she's only traveling with him because Keela insisted. She's not exactly the welcome new friends with open arms type. Not easily anyway. They have a tense stare down until Woody breaks the silence. Fine, don't call me a teammate. Just think of me as your slave if it makes you feel better. Sorrel turns her cold shoulder to him. I just don't like your face. Meanwhile, on the flip side, Keela is geeking out over the light stones. He's thinking it would be awesome to mass produce these things. Rin immediately volunteers to research it for him. Then she switches to helicopter parent mode, warning him not to trip. Keela's confused. Why is she trying so hard right now? Suddenly, a wild slime appears. Keela's eyes light up. Whoa, that's so cool. It's just like the RPGs he plays. He's always wanted to poke one in real life. But before he can reach out, splat. Rin stomps it into oblivion. She's screaming, how dare you block Lord Keela's path before vaporizing the poor blob. She turns to Keela, practically waiting for a head pat. Keela sighs, totally bummed out. Great job, Rin. He just wanted to touch the squishy slime. Rin beams, soaking up the praise. She assures him she's got everything under control. Later down the track, they run into a massive obstacle, a golem. The stone giant is blocking the way. Keela gasps. This thing is huge. He orders Rin to stay behind him, but Rin refuses. No way. I'm the shield. She vows to crush anything that threatens him. Cut to Sorrel, who just found something interesting. She stumbles upon a dazzling crystal necklace. Okay, this looks expensive, she whispers. They literally walked into a treasure dungeon. She clasps the necklace around her neck. How do I look? Woody barely glances at her. Yeah, looks fine. Sorrel frowns, lost in thought. If this were Rin, she'd be hyping me up right now. Woody didn't even give a real answer. She really can't stand this guy. Back in the fight, the golem is trying to flatten Rin. She parries a few strikes, but the golem lands a clean hit. Bam! She's launched into the wall, coughing up a lungful of blood. Keela yells, physical attacks won't work on that thing without a weapon. It's impossible. But Rin wipes her mouth. I can do this. She charges again, but her punches just bounce off the golem's armor. She gets swatted away like a fly. Keela screams, why are you doing this? Rin grits her teeth, refusing to stay down. At this rate, I won't even be fit to serve you. Her determination is terrifying. She flashes back to day one. When she first arrived at the demon castle, the demon king asked his son if he wanted to be friends with the new servant. Little Keela beamed. Yes, I want to be friends with Rin, the king scoffed. You're joking. A servant is a tool, nothing more. He forced Keela to form a binding contract right there. Keela was sobbing, apologizing to Rin the entire time he cast the spell. But Rin, she just thanked him. She realized that from the very start, Keela wanted to treat her as an equal, not a slave. That tiny act of kindness made her feel human. That night, she watched him sleep after he cried himself out. She swore an oath. She would protect him, build him up, and make him the greatest demon king in history. She promised to outwork everyone for him. But reality hit hard. As time passed, Keela grew up into a big baby. A coward. He was constantly outclassed and humiliated. His brothers used him as a doormat. Keela would run back to his room crying, "I almost died again. I'm so scared." Rin realized the stakes. If he dies, the contract kills me too. She had to get tough. She started treating him harshly. But Keela never changed. And because her master was a joke, Rin became the laughingstock of the castle staff. She was forced to eat scraps. She wasn't even treated like a maid. One time, they dumped boiling lava on her just for a laugh. She had to sleep in the stables with the pigs. And even there, she wasn't safe. The abuse turned to torture. The other women claimed Lord Tarmy had eyes for her, so they were there to fix her pretty face. That was the breaking point. Rin's love turned to pure hatred. She actually thought about killing Keela. If I kill him, the contract ends. She grabbed a knife and stabbed him, but he didn't die. His regeneration power was instant. She wouldn't let him die. But Rin couldn't understand why save her, why force her to endure this wretched, miserable existence. For his sake, Keela simply apologized. That was the wake-up call. Rin stopped acting like a walking corpse. She realized he wasn't the same guy anymore. He'd flipped a switch overnight. It was like looking at a totally different person. That's when it clicked. He's the real deal. The true heir to the Demon King. Instinct took over, and she dodged the golem's massive smash. But the doubt crept in. If she was just dead weight, she'd only slow him down. Snick. She sliced the golem's neck and ripped its head clean off. If I can't be useful to you, she declared, I don't deserve to stand by your side. She dropped to a knee, bowing low. I never wanted to abandon you, master. Keela stepped forward to speak, but the headless golem wasn't done. It lunged. This time, Keela didn't hesitate. Boom! A direct hit to the chest, shattering the core. The thing dropped like a stone. Keela stared at her. Are you stupid? You risked your life how many times? While I was in danger. Why would I toss aside a loyal servant like you, even if you turned your back and ran? I wouldn't abandon you. Don't ever regret your choice. Rin cracked. Tears fell. She rushed in and hugged her master tight. Keela held her, unlocking every memory with Rin. Her feelings, 100% real. For his future and the kingdom's, he needs to turn her into his ultimate weapon. Later, they hit the first chamber. It was massive. Sorius's eyes lit up. Is that Diamond? She reached out, greedy. Woody tried to warn her, but she snapped. Not for you, okay? Don't know if you'd even like it. Woody squinted at her. Are you actually clueless or just playing dumb? Too late. She slapped on a pearl necklace and a bracelet click. The jewelry locked up, binding her body like mystical handcuffs. Then a massive shadow loomed. A treasure spider. Woody sighed. I felt weird vibes off those bracelets. It looked like a trap. Sorius glared. You knew and said nothing. You could have spoken up. Thought you knew. Woody shrugged eyes on the beast. He tapped into nature magic, summoning roots to bind the spider tight. Figured you walked into the trap on purpose, with some master plan. Sorius gritted her teeth. She thought she could solo this monster easily. But nope. She was stuck. She had to trust Woody. Yeah, totally, she lied. I, pretended to get caught. To test you. Just checking your strength. She paused. So, what's the play? Woody stepped up. I'm busting you out. He hacked at the bonds with his knife. Clang. Nothing. Too tough. It's a barrier, Sorius yelled. Everything's connected to those webs. Woody nodded. In that case, he grabbed the threads and yanked her aside. Just missing a stream of acid spit. Great, Woody muttered. We're in a cave. Nowhere to run. Use magic. One hit kills it, Sorius shouted. Another acid blast. Woody shoved her clear, but it wasn't enough. A web line snagged her. It's targeting me, because I'm the sitting duck. The spider lunged leg, raised like a spear. Sorius panicked. I can't lose here. Not to this trash mob. Suddenly, Woody jumped in the line of fire. You can kill it right, he grunted. Then I'll do whatever it takes. The spider's leg impaled his chest. Woody didn't flinch. He severed the limb, ripped it out of his own flesh, and smashed it against Sorius's chains. Crack. The barrier shattered. How did he know that would work? Woody took another hit. Blood flying. Your turn. The demoness snapped. How dare you, you filthy bug. She grabbed her scepter, eyes glowing. Think you can toy with me? Whoosh. Purple demon flames erupted, carbonizing the spider in a split second. Ashes. She turned to Woody. How did you break the seal? He panted. Figured a piece of the spider's body would cancel the barrier. And if you were wrong, you'd be dead. Woody looked away. Doesn't matter if I live or die. As long as the job gets done. Sorius froze. Flashback. She was fighting a warrior who impaled her stomach. She had grabbed his blade to keep him close, then chopped his head off. Her boss had laughed. Only the target's head matters. You would have died if he hit your heart, but past Sorius hadn't cared. Doesn't matter if I live or die. You asked for a kill. I delivered. The boss smirked. You're annoying, but you passed. Back then, she endured anything to win. Pain was just part of the gig. She looked at Woody. That blank, indifferent face. He's just like her. A total idiot willing to die for the mission. You pass, she grumbled. I accept you as my ally, so don't die on me. That's an order. Woody nodded. Copy that. Later, the squads linked up. Susan gasped. Oh my god, what happened to you guys? Kayla zeroed in on the injuries. Woody, you good? Keela asked. Woody waved it off. I'm fine. Sorius patched me up with a healing spell. Sorius spun on Keela. And you? How'd you let her get so messed up, Keela, you moron? I insisted on fighting alone, Rin interjected. Kayla narrowed his eyes at Sorius. Never mind that. What the hell did you do to Woody? He's looking pretty beat up. Suriel glanced over, asking if they had to throw down with a treasure spider too. Kale shook his head no, golem sighting. Suriel raised an eyebrow. Seriously, a golem and a loot spider in the same dungeon run. That's a super rare spawn combination. Rin scanned the area, wondering if there were more mobs lurking. Maybe Suriel prioritized healing Rin first. Get patched up so we can recharge. As they pushed deeper into the cavern, Kale analyzed the surroundings. This architecture gives me major demon castle vibes. But Suriel pointed out the human design elements mixed in. She was way more focused on that statue ahead. The chest sitting underneath it screamed suspicious. We all know that's bait, right? Oh, 100% not real loot. Suriel agreed instantly. Great minds think alike. But the second she stepped into range, before she could even touch the lid, the statue's eyes lit up like high beams. Kale had to clutch up instantly with an ice arrow, or she would have been toasted by the statue's laser beam. Suriel gasped. A trap. Rin blinked. Who could have predicted that? Kale scoffed. You two are actual idiots. Pay attention. Obviously it's a trap. The statue kept spamming lasers, tracking Kale and Suriel across the room. Kale shouted for the others to stay back. Don't help. You guys need to rest. Rin wanted to jump in, but Woody told her to follow orders. Suriel added, and hey, try not to die. For now, the play was to focus on recovery, just like Kale said. Rin figured the little plant guy had a point. She dropped into meditation mode, while Kale drew all the aggro to set up an opening for Suriel. But when he unleashed a hail of ice arrows, a barrier flared up around the statue, blocking everything. Suriel's fireballs, completely tanked by the shield. She was baffled. How was this thing stacking multiple enchantments at once? Kale narrowed his eyes. Two options. Either a top-tier mage rigged this thing, or someone's piloting it right now. He turned to Woody. Can you scan for life signs inside? Woody shook his head. It's hollow, boss. Kale frowned. There has to be someone in there. Suriel grit her teeth. We need to smash that shield first, Kale muttered. If magic's a no-go, what's the play? Suddenly the walls rumbled. 4 more golems clawed their way out of the stone looking just like the first one. And boom, another treasure spider joined the party. And this one was massive. The other one was just a baby, Suriel realized. She blasted purple flames, but the spider tanked it, and swiped back with its legs. Suriel hissed. If they weren't underground, she'd nuke the entire grid, and take these monsters out with it, but that would bury the squad. Kale considered tapping into Hell's mana to wipe them out. In a split second. But would that Talca girl track his energy signature? Then it hit him, a glitch in the enemy's pattern. He realized the statue stopped casting magic the second the mob spawned. It must be using all its bandwidth to control them, like that's its current active spell. He noticed the minions only popped up the moment Suriel tried to destroy it. It sensed the threat and summoned back up for protection. Kale made the call. Focus fire on the statue. Rin, cover me. Rin panicked. What the hell is he planning? But she threw up a firewall to protect them anyway. Kale knew the mechanics now. The statue can't use magic while micromanaging the monsters. That means the barrier is offline. He charged in fist glowing with mana and smashed a massive hole right through the hollow statue's hull. Every single monster whipped around, desperate to save their master. Woody shouted. The spider is the only one, small enough to follow him inside. Meanwhile, the golems shifted focus toward the injured team members. 2 of them were still recovering. Rin stood up. Only choice left is to fight our way out. But Suriel stepped in front. No, you can't fight in that state. She conjured a flame barrier to buy time, tanking heavy hits from the golems. We just have to trust KL now. Inside the mecha statue, KL spotted a core near the top. He readied his bow to end it, but the giant treasure spider ambushed him, pinning him to the wall with webbing. Outside, Suriel warned she couldn't hold the line much longer. Inside, a razor-sharp spider leg was inches from skewering him. Kale gritted his teeth, wondering if he really had to unleash the hell power here. Suddenly, a voice in his head snapped. What are you doing, you moron? His subconscious raged. Why are you letting these trash mobs push you around? Kale fired back. Oh, nice of you to show up now. I almost died earlier, the voice roared. Shut up, you absolute idiot. Use the vassal's power. You fool. Even if you're weak right now, that skill lets you dominate monsters, you dummy. Kale paused. Wait, is it like the contract I made with Rin back in the day? The voice sighed. No, idiot. Just listen. Here's what you do. His inner demon screamed at him. You idiot, you've got Demon King, blood pumping through your veins, a legacy passed down for ages. The vassal skill. That is Demon King 101. But it only unlocks if you want it bad enough. Mind control, maybe. Just do it. Tap into that bloodline magic. Anything weaker than you has to obey. Did Kale have the drive? Hell yeah, he did. That voice in his head pointed out the island was crawling with potential recruits. A whole army just waiting for him. Kale focused channeling pure willpower to activate the vassal skill. Gotta catch 'em all. Kale called him, heir to the great Demon King, locked eyes with the spider. Submit. It belongs to him now. At the last second, the spider's leg froze inches from his face. A HUD popped up. Vassal slots available. Slot 1. Occupied by giant spider. 8 empty spots left. It is exactly like the gaming inventory system. The beast bowed low before its king. Kale could feel the link. It knew who the boss was now. Saurus started barking orders, but Kale waved her off. Gimme a sec. He hopped on the spider's back like a mount charging forward. One spider would not cut it against the horde outside. He needed more juice. So, he blasted the vassal beam right at the statue's core. Boom! Outside, every single golem froze instantly. Kale stepped out looking like a total boss, with the statue, the little slime, and the spider under his thumb. Nailed it. Later on, he realized the slime was the mastermind behind the golems. Weird flex, right? Must be some high-tier enchantment work. But look at it, it is adorable. Saurus had never seen anything like it, probably, because she lacks that royal demon blood. Rain was totally fangirling. It is honestly crazy how you can just dominate other monsters like that. That is the power. Kale grinned. Since he owned the landlord, squatting in this cave just got way easier. It has got rocks in it. I will call him Rocky. Cute, right? Rain thought. Naming it was cringe, but Saurus was straight up jealous. Give me that skill. I want to control monsters. Kale shrugged. Doesn't work like that, sadly. Woody chimed in with a theory. If a mage was OP enough to create a slime this complex, they might still be kicking. Rain disagreed. Look at this dump. They probably died of old age or dipped ages ago. Saurus offered a darker take. Maybe the humans took them out in the war. Poor Slime's been holding the fort solo. Thank God Kale took over before things fell apart. Kale's mind drifted back to that voice from the abyss, his subconscious. What was that about? Without that nudge, he would be toast. How does he trigger that again? Whatever, no time to dwell on it now. Alright, Team Home Makeover Edition, Priority 1, Mapping the Area. Since Rocky is his vassal now, Kale basically inherited his entire demon army. Perfect for defense against Stalker, if he shows up. Sentries on the perimeter, baby spiders guarding the entrance, and half the golem squad in stealth mode. The rest guarded the dungeon core. Loot time. They popped a chest in the main hall. Rain grabbed dual daggers. I can level up fast with these, she said. Saurus nodded. You have got natural talent, girl. You have been fighting bare-handed. If you channel demon energy into those blades, your DPS is going to skyrocket. Rain gripped the hilts determined. Now she could actually protect Kale from Stalker. Woody picked up a shield, eyes widening. Whoa. This build quality is insane. It is humming with nature energy. Can I keep it? Kale gave a thumbs up. All yours, man. Elves and their nature vibes, right? Saurus grabbed a grimoire that looked pretty basic on the surface. Kale browsed the leftover swords. Saurus pointed to a massive blade. Pick that one. It is dripping with demon power. He ignored her, drawn to a sleeker blade embedded with a glowing purple crystal. Nope. I want this one. It was thin, silent, and deadly. A perfect replica of his main weapon from the game. Total nostalgia trip. After gearing up, they used their new map to start the reno. Since the place was a ruin, they were short on supplies. So they improvised with dirt, rock, and water. Woody's nature magic worked like a 3D printer for construction materials. They redesigned the whole cave system, mixing Woody's mats with Saurus's arcane arts. Everything was built to suit earth demons. It wasn't a 5-star hotel, but Kale was proud. He built this using his own blueprint, his very first custom dungeon in this world. Later he checked on Rocky. How is the new crib? Buddy Kale mused that as long as Stalker didn't crash the party, this place was actually pretty chill. Meanwhile, back in the human kingdom, reconstruction was underway. A local man was busy thanking the hunter. Haydn doesn't just brush off the welcome, he crushes it. When the old man tries to thank him on Arsol's behalf, the counselor shuts him down cold. Save the gratitude, old man. We're way past pleasantries. Haydn looks around in disgust, shaking his head. He can't believe a fortress under Taloa's banner has fallen this low. The elder bows his head, begging for forgiveness, but the disappointment in the room is suffocating. We were blindsided, the elder stammers. But Haydn isn't interested in sob stories. Spare me the excuses. You expect me to believe a powerhouse nation crumbled just because of Suriel and that spineless coward Keela? Hayden's voice rises, dripping with disbelief. A traitor and a weakling kid destroyed everything. That math doesn't add up. There's no way our destruction lies solely on their heads. He snaps his fingers, barking orders at his subordinates. I want the strongest mages we have on this immediately. Find that boy. Do it now. He tosses a heavy bag onto the table. The king himself handed over these amplification stones. Pass them out to the squad. I'm going to train them personally to ensure they don't screw this up. The elder hesitates nervously, wringing his hands. But sir, the rumors. They say the Whites of Taloa, the elite unit, are already involved in the hunt. They haven't caught the rats yet. Hayden counters sharply. If my mages find Kella first and put him in the ground, we reclaim our honor. It's the only way to wash off this stain. Maybe so, the old man whispers, trembling. But the Taloa stones, the backlash is lethal. The side effects tear the user apart. Hayden snaps. Mana flares around his hand as he telekinetically strangles the old man, lifting him into the air. You're worried about health and safety at a time like this. He leans in, eyes glowing with menace. You seem to have forgotten something, old man. It wasn't you who built this legacy. It was me. Don't get it twisted. He drops the gasping elder to the floor. Thank your lucky stars, I don't end you right here. I only keep you breathing because I need a puppet to keep the king's funding flowing. Now shut your mouth and bring me the mages. Later, striding through the streets of Arsol, Hayden's mind is racing with paranoia. He clenches his fists. If the Whites of Taloa get to Kayla first, it's game over. They'll slaughter him and I'll lose my chance. We have to strike first. Suddenly, a shadow moves in the alley. A hooded mage steps out, blocking his path. Looking for Kayla, sir. Forget the amateurs. I'm the one who can track him down for you. Meanwhile, miles away, Keela is staring at a massive ornate throne. Is this really necessary? This chair is a little too extra, don't you think? He scratches his head. People are gonna think I'm some kind of demon lord. Rain just smirks at him. Newsflash, kid. You're gonna be a demon lord anyway. Might as well embrace the aesthetic. Flores cuts in, rubbing her empty stomach. Forget the furniture. The real tragedy here is the menu. Fish. Again. I'm gonna lose it. I just want a balanced meal. Is that too much to ask? Keela groans. Flores nods vigorously. Facts. You need protein to fuel that demon lord training. On it, boss, she says, grabbing her gear. I'm heading deeper into the woods to find something with red meat. Keela frowns. Hey, be careful. If Taloa's goons spot you. Relax, danger is my middle name. She bounds off. Keela sighs, feeling his stomach rumble. Man, she's right. If I see one more trout, I'm gonna hurl. Odd's voice pipes up in his head. Stop whining. Go hunt a bear or something if you're so hungry. Kayla ignores him, focusing on his gear. Then it hits him. He stares at his equipment. Wait a sec. This wooden shield channels the raw power of nature. If that's true, then Woody unleashed his technique, weaving wooden roots deep into the soil. Keela watched skeptical, asking if he could actually snag prey underground. Quiet, Woody hissed. The roots needed total stealth to work. 2 hours dragged by, then 4, 6 hours in and 0 results. Just as Kayla started questioning the plan, Woody yanked the line, hauling up a colossal mole. The dude actually pulled it off. Sorrel beamed. Nice work, Woody, leaving the guy blushing and rubbing his neck at the compliment. But Keela frowned. Can we even eat that? Rin's competitive streak flared up. No way she's losing to the rookie. She grabbed the beast, volunteering to cook. She told the guys to chill for a bit. But alone in the kitchen, reality hit. How the heck does she prep this thing? She tried slicing it, but the hide was tougher than steel. Her mana wouldn't make a dent. For a split second, she considered asking Keela for backup. No way. She could already hear his voice mocking her. Can't even cut a little rat. Pathetic. She couldn't give him that satisfaction. Wait, the daggers. If she infused them with mana. She closed her eyes and focused. She poured her power in but unleashed too much. The energy surged uncontrollably, the blades drinking her dry like vampires. She tried to drop them, but they were glued to her palms, draining her life force. Meanwhile, Sorrel was nose-deep in her books. The grimoire contained basic spells and map data, but the dialect, it was filled with ancient vocabulary she'd never encountered. The creepy part, she could instinctually feel the terrifying power level of whoever wrote this. Just as she noticed a shocking detail, Rin's scream pierced the air. The whole squad froze. Woody jumped up to investigate. Stop, Sorrel ordered. Let her handle it. She's just cooking. Kayla locked eyes with Sorrel, deciding to trust her gut. It was a trial by fire. Back in the kitchen, Rin was scrambling, trying to figure out how to tame these cursed blades. She flashed back to Keela's training sessions. While he was busy crying and getting beaten to a pulp, she had been watching, analyzing. She had every lesson committed to memory. She could do this. The instructor's voice echoed in her mind. Magic weapons outclass normal steel, but without the will to control them, they're nothing but paperweights. To wield them, you must first understand the weapon's true nature. Another mentor's advice hit her. Don't let the magic rule you. Manifest your own energy. Shape it. In combat, leak only a fraction of power, but maintain absolute razor-sharp focus. That is the path to true strength. Rin gritted her teeth. Focus. Form, dominate. She synchronized her mana with the dagger's core. She slammed a mental wall down, blocking the blades from leeching any more of her soul. Listen to me, you stupid hunks of metal, she growled. I own you now. She shifted her stance. If she couldn't master two small knives, she had zero chance of saving Keela from the stalkers. With a surge of willpower, she drove the blade down, finally piercing the mole's indestructible hide. The suction stopped. She'd done it. The daggers hummed, coating themselves in her aura. Her mana took the jagged shape of buzzsaws. Finally, they felt like extensions of her own body. Outside, Keela paced, taking too long. I'm going in. Sorrel tried to stop him, but Rin emerged, wiping her hands. Dinner is served. She'd butchered the whole beast. Sorrel blinked. Already, Keela frowned. We heard screaming. What happened? You good, he pressed. Nothing happened, she lied smoothly. Woody squinted. Then why are you drenched in sweat? Sorrel analyzed the cuts. She was 10 times faster than I calculated. The girl might be a prodigy, with magic weapons. The grimoire was clear. These moles are weak when dragged surface side, making them easy kills. But their skin remains impenetrable. Without elite skill, butchering one is a nightmare. Only a master swordsman with perfect mana control could slice through that hide cleanly. Serious Keela poked the meat. This stuff felt like iron earlier. Woody shook his head. I can't believe she pulled that off. Incredible. Keela stepped close, gently brushing her cheek. Great job, he smiled. We're eating like kings tonight thanks to you. Rin turned beet red. Finally, he saw her worth. She clenched her fist. She'd get even stronger to keep him safe. Sorrel watched proud, but feeling a twinge of insecurity. She was falling behind. Against the earth demons, useless. Here, useless. She couldn't cast freely in these cramped tunnels. But that's just an excuse. She needed close-quarters combat spells. She had to evolve. Later that night, she sat in deep meditation, stripped down to her undergarments to focus. Her father tasked her with guarding Keela, yet here she was, being the burden. If the stalkers tracked them down now, she'd be powerless against their priestess. She had to breach the 4th circle immediately. That enemy priestess is already at the 6th circle. There was no time to waste. She was pushed to the absolute edge. Desperate times called for dark arts, so she triggered a forbidden rune. It was the same twisted magic earth demons used, burning their own life force to fuel a temporary power spike. To honor her father, she was ready to trade away her lifespan. But before the ritual could complete, the grimoire took over. It snapped open pages, flipping frantically on their own. Reacting to her mana signature, golden glyphs materialized in midair. The ancient text she couldn't read earlier suddenly coalesced into a concentrated beam blasting straight into her mana core. Instantly, her reality shifted. She was standing in an endless ocean of blood. A mysterious woman approached, noting that the one holding the Demon King's power had finally cycled back through reincarnation. To find her, Suriel wondered if her father's lingering energy had triggered this meeting. Who are you? Suriel demanded. One of Helcaldron's henchmen. The woman shook her head. Hard pass. I am a creation of the one true god, Turk Kalden. Suriel pressed, so you served the previous king. The entity nodded. Bingo. Suriel realized this wasn't random, it was destiny. But the entity shrugged, claiming that while fate is a thing, sometimes the universe just vibes that way. Their meeting might just be a ripple in the world's flow. Suriel asked, did Turk Kalden build this cave? Yup, she replied. He traveled everywhere, leaving Easter eggs of enlightenment so the future generation could experience true power. Suriel knew their arrival here wasn't a coincidence. She begged the entity for backup. Is Helcaldron dead? The entity mused. Look, I can't physically help. I'm not real, just a holographic recording left behind. I can only guide the specific person who activated me. Suriel grit her teeth. Even if you were real, you'd be ancient dust by now. Just teach me, Suriel pleaded. Show me how to unlock the 4th magic circle. I need power to protect Turk Kalden's heir. The woman smiled, digging Suriel's motivation. However, forging a new circle is entirely on you. Even with my help, you'll have to cross an abyss of pure agony. It could tear you apart. Only those who survive the torture can ascend. Suriel didn't blink. I can do it. Give me a shot. The woman warned. You're signing up for the equivalent of 400 years of pain. You could die. Suriel scoffed internally. Die. She was engineered for one purpose. If she couldn't protect Keel, she was already dead. I can take it. The woman beamed. Excellent. I can feel your sincerity. We're going to nuke everything you've learned and rebuild your circuits from scratch, using your own magic. As the demonic circles branded Suriel's skin, a shockwave ripped through her. It was a level of torment she'd never imagined, absolute excruciating agony. But she held on. She had a job to do. This was the ultimate test of endurance, and the pain just kept ramping up. Meanwhile, Keel, channeling his ultimate dad mode and worrying about his crew, brought some steak for Suriel. He couldn't shake the weird expression she had earlier, so he decided to do a vibe check in the cavern. She was nowhere to be found until he spotted her trapped inside a magical cocoon. Inside, she was bleeding out, clearly suffering. He slammed against the barrier, panic setting in. At the same time, The White Falcons were closing in, tracking demon traces. Carly confirmed their location by reading the memories of the local unicorns. Kalka groaned. There's nothing but deserted islands out here. Carly corrected him. The butterflies confirmed it. There are 427 islands total. Kalka complained that searching them all would take forever, but Killian smirked. No, this is actually perfect. If they're on islands, they're trapped. With zero hesitation, he slammed his sword into the water, unleashing a slash. So devastating, it literally parted the ocean. The entire squad was shook. Killian ordered spread out and hunt them down. I can't wait to find Keel. Back in the cave, the demonic successor was frantically trying to smash the barrier. Break, damn it, she was bleeding. She was dying, and he couldn't lose her. Suddenly, the boom of Killian's attack echoed through the cave walls. Was that an earthquake? Looking out from the coast, Little Rock spotted the White Falcons approaching. Keel caught Little Rock's emergency signal. People, it has to be the Falcons. And of all times, Suriel was incapacitated. He wondered if her condition was some hex Carly placed on her, but he couldn't freeze up now. If they were found, it was game over. Hide everyone down. But it was too late. The monsters had already picked up their scent. The stalkers are right outside. How did they close the gap so fast? That tremor just now, was that their arrival? Woody is panicking, swearing he's going back for Suriel. Keela shuts that down immediately. Hasn't she already been snatched by Cadley? They need to prioritize their own survival right now. It was a genius move to build this secret bunker ahead of time. It's totally off the grid. No way the enemy sniffs them out here. He feels terrible for Suriel, but his hands are tied. He seals the hatch shut with a heavy chest. Meanwhile, Killian touches down on a nearby peak, sniffing the air. Disgusting stench of demon magic, he mutters. Little Peter, monitoring via his monsters, spots the threat right at the entrance. Keela gets the intel, white hair, massive sword. It's him. Killian asks the heir, is he already here? The captain, Kayla, starts sweating. If that guy clocks the illusion spell guarding the door, they are absolutely toast. And Killian, he spots it instantly. So this is where the rats are hiding. Keela is terrified, dreading the moment he sees that face. Killian almost draws his blade, but hesitates. If he nukes this island, the whole squad will come running. There is no reason to make a scene over some small fry demons, especially if he has to share the credit. So he casually steps right through the illusion barrier. He's going solo to slaughter Keela and his lackeys. Little Peter sounds the alarm. He's inside. She realizes there is no choice. Time to go all out. She unleashes the entire horde, spiders, golems, everything straight at Killian, the stalker captain. He smirks. An unexpected pet collection you have here. Slash. He cuts through them like butter. Why did she say he wiped them out in a single strike? They barely bought any time. He is way stronger than the intel suggested. Killian faces a fork in the road. Left or right. Doesn't matter. He's hunting a demon. He'll find the scent eventually. Little Peter panics. He picked the exact path leading to Suriel, and she is a sitting duck still trapped inside her cocoon. This is bad. Audrey is raging elsewhere, screaming that this isn't the right island. Cadley is just vibing, totally focused, using her butterflies to search. Talca found 0 clues, and Dee Dee is annoyed if the leader finds the girl first. He loses his chance to kill her himself. And sure enough, Killian finds the prize. Suriel, the traitor of Talca. Memories flood back. Flashback to young Killian, who wrecked 5 fourth-rank cadets solo. One of the losers demanded a rematch. The commander snapped. Stop being an idiot. Don't you get it? Even if you're his brother, it would take you 100 years to catch up to Killian. Get back to training. The kid was furious, but Killian just shrugged and apologized. Since the moment he was born, he held a sword. Winning wasn't fun anymore. Holding a blade had become absurdly boring. Until he saw Suriel training. She was pushing herself until her hands bled. The only thing that ever made his heart race was her Suriel. Like a wild beast giving everything just to survive. In the jungle, that raw intensity fascinated him. It was a shame they couldn't spar together, stand together. The commander asked, "Excuse me, you want me to give these supplies to the rankless magic cadet Suriel, your own stash?" Killian replied that he didn't need them. "She always gets hurt," he said. "Sometimes she nearly dies." The commander sighed. "It's not hard to deliver, but it is surprising to see you care. You're not crushing on her, are you, kid?" Killian just told him to handle it. He thought, Suriel is so loud, how could I miss her? Years passed, and the commander noted his persistence. How many years has he been sending her care packages? Why not just give them to her yourself? No. Okay then. Killian always brushed it off. Just deliver the goods. Cut to another day, Suriel all banged up, wrapping her wounds. Damn it, she cursed. I could have won that one. Why was she always the only one needing extra bandages? But Killian watched from the shadows, thinking if he stood by her side back then, they could have fought as partners in the White Squad. Forgetting all that nonsense about the Demon King's bloodline. The first and last time his heart truly beat fast was seeing that feral version of her. If only she had stayed by his side. But she was consumed by an ambition, far greater than her potential. Twist of fate, he thinks. He slashes deep with his power. ripping her free from the cocoon. She falls out weak, wounded, covered in blood. She's in trouble, he thinks. Need to save her. Back in the present, Kila watches the monitor. She's behind a magic barrier. His attacks didn't even scratch it. It is impossible to extract her. He realizes if this guy is on the white squad level, his own life force might not be enough to stop him. This isn't a game anymore. Death is actually on the table. Suddenly, a massive explosion rocks the cavern. It is Killian walking out of the dust alone, dragging Suriel by her neck. Kila wonders, did he come alone? Killian scans the ancient dungeon, noting the recent renovations, and calls out to Kelton, who is definitely watching. I didn't invite the rest of the crew. If you want to save Suriel, your precious bloodline ally, show your face right now. The dude was actually spectating everything through a golem's eyes. Kila did the math. Even if the whole squad rushed him at once, they wouldn't put a dent in him. I mean, just one of his minions. Cuddly was already way out of their league. So imagine facing the boss himself. Nightmare fuel. Rin dropped the bomb, only one play left. She and Woody would draw Killian's aggro, while Kila books it through the secret tunnel behind the statue. Kila hesitated, asking if they seriously wanted him to bail solo. Woody cut him off. It was the only way. Because like Rin said, he's the heir to the Demon King. He has to survive. It's their best shot. But Kila snapped back. You guys are gonna get wiped if you do that. Rin just looked at him dead serious. Remember this. You survive. Suddenly, the statues erupted in a blast of magic. Boom, Rin and Woody popped out, weapons drawn, ready to throw down with Killian. The guy just smirked, just as I thought. Hiding like the rats you are. Woody slammed down his shield roots, screaming, go now. She was gonna tank his vision with her shield. Run. Kila turned his back, gritting his teeth. Damn it. This game is trash. Absolute trash. It wasn't the mechanics he knew. There's no respawn button here. If he dies, it's game over. He couldn't just check out like a helpless noob. Rin thought mission accomplished. Kila made it through the tunnel. He's safe. Meanwhile, Killian was hammering them. Where is that coward hiding? Killian roared. Rin spat back. He was never here, moron. Woody locked Killian's arms down with vines. Killian scoffed. What is this? Demons, dark elves. Rin lunged in for a critical strike, but she got completely shut down by Killian's blade. Next thing, Woody got choked out brutal style. Rin wheezed. Useless. We'll never give him up. Killian shrugged coldly. Didn't ask. If he showed up, sure, easier for me. Otherwise, I'll just slaughter the lot of you. Rin stared into that monster's eyes, terrifying. Even among demons, she'd never seen that look. It was like staring into a void, zero emotion. Woody coughed up blood. Rin felt the blade digging into her neck. Panic set in. They didn't want to die. But Rin steeled herself. If it's for Kayla, she can take it. Woody signaled he was ready too. Kayla's gone, so just get it over with. Killian smirked. That brat actually has loyal minions. Unexpected. I'll grant you a quick honorable death then. He raised his blade for the execution, but suddenly Kila stepped out. Who said they were my minions? Clang Kella clashed his sword against the knights. Killian grinned. Finally decided to show up. Kella Woody gaped. Why did you come back? Woody screamed. Keela's mind raced. This isn't a game. No respawns. One death and it's curtains. But that applies to Rin, Woody, and Suri too. They ground through levels together, fought together. They weren't NPCs. They were his precious crew. He wasn't going to let them get wiped like this. I'm the one you want, right? Killian Kella challenged. Let them go. Surprisingly, the guy actually listened. He stepped back, ranting about how his brother died because of Keela's dad. That's his vendetta, anyone with Demon King blood. Actually scratch that all demons just need to die. Keela nodded coolly. Fine by me. He'd met toxic players like this before in-game and in real life. So you're just gonna keep chasing me. Until I'm dead, huh? Keela flared his aura. Too bad I don't plan on going down easy. He charged, slamming his blade into Killian's. Rin tried to step in. Let us help. It's too dangerous. Keela cut her off. This is an order. Grab Suri and get to safety. Now, Woody realized the vibe. It's a direct order, Rin. We gotta do what he says. He scooped up Suri, struggling under the weight. I know it sucks, okay, but we're just dead weight right now. You know it's bad when logical Woody talks like that. Kayla barked again. Rin, that's an order. She hated it, but she obeyed. Come back alive, you hear me? As Kayla traded blows with Killian, he kept an eye on Suri being carried away. Then Killian snarled. Eyes on me, moron. Keela smirked back. Who do you think is buying time for who? So even demons have feelings, huh? Killian taunted. That's your weakness. Bam. His next strike launched Keela straight into the wall. The night loomed over him. And with this, the Demon King's bloodline ends. Kayla realized this guy was built different. A totally different level. Honestly, he wasn't sure he could win this one. His whole body was trembling. Legs felt like jelly. The power gap was insane. One clean hit and he's toast. But hey, cover's blown anyway. No point hiding it. He decided to go all out, dragging every ounce of Demon King energy from the depths of his soul. He buffed his body and sword with dark energy. Killian looked shook. Where was this coming from? So it was you who ended our soul. Keela could finally track the knight's sword. It was like he'd leveled up into a completely different player. Killian admitted, "Okay, you definitely got the Demon King's blood, but that doesn't change how this ends." And then, smack. The next hit left poor Keela paralyzed, wondering how one dude could be so OP. Back with the squad, they felt the cavern starting to cave in. Woody yelled, "Priority 1 is following his orders. Get Suri to safety." Rin wished Suri would just wake up already. "We're almost at the exit," Woody shouted. They kept pushing forward. Kale actually managed to tag him. He seared Killian's cape with that demonic aura. Killian smirked. "Well, that's a plot twist. To think you'd slice my cape with such trash-tier sword skills." Kale gritted his teeth thinking. It's all muscle memory from his past life, but his current body, it can't handle the juice. He can't control the output. Every time he uses it, it feels like he's chugging lava. If he keeps this up, he's toast. Killian laughed. "Throwing your life away for some pawns, that's just stupid." "They aren't pawns," Kale snapped, slamming his demonic aura against the knight. But Killian wasn't impressed. "At this rate, the others have probably sensed you. Playtime's over." He disarmed Kale and drove his blade straight through the kid's heart. "If you see your dad in hell, tell him this is payback for killing my brother." Then he lit Kale up from the inside. Blue flames nuked his regeneration. Kale's only thought, "Yeah, I'm dead." Meanwhile, the squad was finally exiting. Woody shouted, "Caves collapsing, we gotta find another island stat." Rain hesitated, looking back. Woody kept pushing. "Listen, all we can do right now is save Siri." "That's it," she snapped. "He came back for us. I'm supposed to just let him die because of an order." Woody sighed. "You're right. But he specifically told us to get her to a place. Somewhere safe, right? Well, mission accomplished." Rain gripped her weapon. "We're going back." Back in the cave, Kale was cooking. Carbonized from the inside out by blue fire, his healing factor was offline. Suddenly Rain screamed, "How dare you! Get away from him." Killian was forced to rip the sword from Kale's chest to block her strike. "You pests again," Killian growled. Woody jumped in, binding him with roots. Kale wheezed. "Why the hell did you come back?" "Run, you idiots." Rain shook her head. "We followed orders. Siri is safe. Now we save you." Woody nodded. "We ride together, we die together." Kale blinked. Morons. If this was his past life, he wouldn't have friends like this. His dad was a drunk who used him as a punching bag every single day. His so-called friends were two-faced snakes, jealous and fake. He retreated into gaming just to escape the loneliness. But here, people were literally risking death for him. "Thanks," he whispered. He wasn't alone anymore. Rain and Woody bought him just enough time to heal. Kale surged forward, demonic fist glowing, and launched Killian across the room. Killian skidded back. "Harder to kill than a cockroach, aren't you?" Kale spat back. "Bring it on, you moron." "I ain't kneeling to you," Kale grinned. "See that island? Did you see the devil heading there, having a blast solo?" Obviously, he couldn't let that happen. Just then, Saurus woke up groggy and in pain. Meanwhile, Kale's powers were failing. Killian tore through Woody's defense, swatted Rain's daggers like flies, and sliced a chunk off Kale's arm. "You think numbers make a difference?" Killian laughed. Kale realized the harsh truth, even 3-on-1. It wasn't enough. His health bar was flashing red. Who knows how much longer his regeneration would hold? He was knocking on death's door. "I told you this is my fight," he shouted. "Get the hell out of here." "No way," Rain yelled. Woody stood firm. "We're staying till the end." Killian rolled his eyes. "So touching. Relax. I'll just kill the whole lot of you." Kale braced for the end. But then, an interruption. Someone crashed the party. Sora stepped out of the shadows. "I think I'm caught up on the situation. Glad you guys aren't dead yet." She looked different, stronger, and she was dragging a corpse. It was Didi. She'd absolutely brutalized him. "This trash tried to grab me," she said, tossing his near-lifeless body at the floor. "Killian of the White Talcan. This is the last time we meet." Killian stared, confused. "You beat my men and crawled out of the abyss." He couldn't believe it. "Descendant of the great demon. I never thought you'd ascend and surpass Cuddly." Saurus shrugged. "I spent a long time in that dark hole." She was radiating sixth circle energy, pure demonic power. Kale's jaw dropped. "When did she jump from fourth to sixth?" Kale smirked. "Always full of surprises. You actually made my heart skip a beat, woman." "Rest now," Saurus said. She cast Growth of Darkness, supercharging every demon in the room. Wounds closed up. Strength returned. Killian looked at her with hungry eyes. He didn't just want to win. He wanted her. "How dare you hurt my squad?" she hissed. She unleashed Snow of Oblivion, marking a symbol right on Killian's forehead. His vision went pitch black. He was lost. No direction, no sight. Just him staring into his own twisted soul. He had to break out fast. Out of nowhere, pure agony spiked through his body. Rin was a blur, turning him into a pincushion with those twin daggers. Keela rushed his blind spot, but Killian's muscle memory took over. Even battered his knight, reflexes were parrying strikes on autopilot. "He's not a captain for nothing," Suriel hissed, unleashing the black water of corruption, a nasty cocktail of venom and acid that sizzled against his plate mail. melting right through to sear the flesh underneath. His defense finally cracked. Woody's roots snapped up, restraining him, yet he still managed to deflect Rin's blades. But Suriel wasn't done. She cast Thorns of Greed, locking down his free arm. Boom, wide open. Killian grit his teeth. Handling this magic was child's play, but his senses were failing him. He forced his blade up, trying to shatter the spell. Suriel screamed, "End him now before he breaks loose." "I know," Keela roared. This was it. A once-in-a-lifetime shot at the king. Even if it wrecked his own body, he was going all in. He swung with everything he had, cleaving Killian's arm clean off. The limb holding the sword hit the dirt, but Keela cursed internally. He'd aimed for the head. Killian had dodged the kill, shot by an inch. Killian realized Suriel was the reason he slipped. Suddenly, a blinding light erupted from his eyes, shattering the sensory deprivation spell. As his sight returned, a memory crashed into his mind. His twisted father. That creep was dragging them toward a cliff edge, grinning. "Don't be scared. Today is monumental. Today you meet the divine beast of light Lumiarum." Young Killian was confused. "What, you can't just find a divine beast? What's gonna happen? Are we in trouble?" His father shook his head. No. You boys didn't do anything wrong. Actually, you're perfect. That's why you're the main course for Lumiarum." A woman nearby chimed in. "The beast only accepts the purest souls. You two are the ideal fit." The father nodded, eyes manic. "Especially you, Killian. You've always been distinct, born for this moment. Skin shimmering like snake scales, eyes cold as the midnight sky. Destiny calls." He pointed ahead. "Behold the sacred altar. Soon we all witness glory." His brother trembled. "Sacrifice. Are we gonna die?" Killian gripped his hand. "No. Not you. Not me." Cut to the ceremony. A sea of creepy cultists in white hoods surrounded them, ready to offer up the kids. And it was real. Lumiarum's reflection materialized in the altar's water, right in the center of the madness. The massive divine beast rose from the depths. His mother pushed him forward. "Go. This is your moment." "Mom, help. I'm scared," he screamed. But his dad just shoved him toward the beast. But Killian knew one thing: Lumiarum was light. Snap back to reality. Killian detonated a burst of pure light, obliterating Suriel's demonic magic. The shockwave sent everyone flying. Suriel recoiled. The light was eating her spells. "We have to lock him down now." "You took everything," Killian roared. "The Demon King killed my brother, you stole Sirius, and now my arm, I'm dragging you to hell." Keela knew this guy was relentless. It was kill or be killed right here. Killian was down an arm, this was the opening. Keela flared his demonic aura. "No, you're the one checking out today." Keela's mana spiked off the charts. He could actually win this. But just then, the cavalry arrived, the White Falcons. Suriel grabbed Keela. "We gotta bounce now." But Keela was locked on Killian. Total tunnel vision. All he saw was red. He needed to put this guy in the ground. They lunged at each other. Suriel realized Keela couldn't win this yet. She triggered Predator of Darkness. Shadows engulfed the squad, snatching Kayla and the others before vanishing into thin air. Kalka blinked. What was that Predator of Darkness? That's Sixth Circle tier magic. Audrey was shook. There's no way she hit Sixth Circle that fast. It's impossible. Killian was screaming for blood, his severed stump dripping. "Kill them all," Kalka noted. "They jumped us while we were split up." Killian seethed. Next time, he wouldn't just kill them. He'd make them wish they were dead. Miles away, Kayla materialized, power still flaring. Where are they? Where's Killian? Suriel hugged him from behind, grounding him. "It's over. We're safe. He's gone." Keela's adrenaline crashed. Did everyone make it?" Rin nodded. Woody grinned. "Thanks to you two, yeah." Keela collapsed to his knees, sobbing. "Thank God." The team swarmed them with gratitude. Suriel smiled, a bit bashful. "Good thing I unlocked the Sixth Circle back in the abyss. That was way too close. If I was still at Fifth Circle." Kayla cut her off with a crushing hug. "I'm just glad you're here." Cade was convinced she was gone, forced to leave her behind in that hellhole. Now he is ecstatic that she actually survived. She told him she'd never die on him. "Promise you'll have my back." She turned beet red when she said it. And guess what? She gave major props to Queen and It. If they hadn't showed up, Cade would be toast. She saved his life. Suriel is still salty. She didn't finish Killian off though. But honestly, chopping that arm off was a total boss move. Is there still hope? You bet. Cade feels the relief, but the guilt is eating him alive. He abandoned her while everyone else fought. He left them both. He was a coward back then. But that version of him is dead and buried. Never again. From now on, he's gonna be a beast stronger than anyone just to keep them safe. But where the heck are they? Suriel explains the Darkness Predator warped them out, but the drop zone is always total RNG. Cade asks if they're back in human territory. Suriel shuts that down fast. Since it's a demonic spell, it only locks onto coordinates dripping with dark energy. So here's the deal. Step 1 is figuring out their location. Woody cuts in, dying to know how she leveled up so fast. To the Sixth Circle. Suriel needs a drink first. She's been craving a cold one for ages, like forever. "Let's walk and talk," she says, keeping her eyes peeled. Meanwhile, Audrey is patching up her captain, confirming the bleeding stopped. Killian actually apologizes. Didi is barely alive, but flexing like he doesn't need an arm, claiming he's still strong. Kalka snaps, "Zip it, moron." Didi whines that he almost died too. "Give me a break." Audrey is baffled. How did Zoro slice the captain? She thought these demons were weaklings. Killian admits Suriel hit the sixth circle and caught him slipping. Didi figured she'd just try to embarrass him, not dismantle him. He vows to give her a painful end. But Killian, he shuts that down. Suriel belongs to him, by any means necessary. Audrey warns him his arm is trash, they need to retreat. Back to Talo and summon the 12 sacred healers. Forget chasing the enemy for now, the priestess says. They can't track them anyway. And if they stall on treating that arm, it's gonna rot. Necrosis means no magic transplant later. Audrey vows to hunt them down solo if she has to. Tear the whole continent apart. Killian warns her, Suriel is too OP now. They're going back to Talo. Together. Regroup first. Audrey talks smack, calling Suriel a lab rat who got lucky. But Killian has the final word. Get me fixed, then we hunt. No one escapes round 2. Cut to the good guys' cheers to staying alive. Suriel is finally enjoying that beer she dreamed of. She thought the trauma changed her, but she's relieved to feel like her old self again. Blue Boy presses for the story. How'd she reach the 6th circle? Suriel takes a breath. Well, that grimoire in the box wasn't just a book. It synced with her mana and yeeted her straight into the abyss. Met a legend down there, Feral. 8th circle mage and the right hand of the OG Demon King Turk. They trained like maniacs. Wait, Turk's partner, the squad is absolutely shook. Crazy that a powerhouse like that was sealed in a book. Then the big question drops. Does that mean the Demon King built that cave? Suriel nods. Bingo. And get this, it was destiny. The Demon King's blood literally guided them there. Realization hits, this wasn't just her choice. It was the bloodline. Turk chose this. Maybe the guy who found him in the abyss was Turk. That voice in his head. Could it be the king himself? Anyway, Suriel drops the bomb about the timeline. Time flows differently in the abyss. She trained for 28 years. The squad is floored. That's a lifetime. Internally, she remembers the hell. It felt like being shredded to pieces over and over again. Every second, every hour. The agony was so bad she honestly just wanted to end it. Feral pushed her to the 6th circle, but the training was pure torture. Suriel almost killed her for it. But then she realized Feral hit the 8th circle. Imagine that pain. So Suriel gritted her teeth and survived. She won't tell them the horror story though. No need to trauma dump on the squad. She'll carry that weight alone. Just the physical pain. Queen asks the real question. You thought of us for decades down there. She feels terrible for not knowing, but Suriel deflects like a pro. Anyway, are you guys good? She didn't just come back. She returned as a total powerhouse. A 6th circle mage. Honestly, they should be bowing down. Rin is practically glowing, calling her the most absolute legend she's ever met. Kyle catches her smiling, but his gut instinct is screaming. Behind that flawless beauty, she's definitely burying a secret. But he pushes it aside and asks the million-dollar question, where the heck are we? It looks like a village for hardcore bookworms. Asuras bets they're on the fringes of Karta, the secret city of darkness, at the edge of the demonic continent. That's Rin's territory. She knows exactly where all the forbidden lore is stashed. She confirms it with a nod. They are miles away from the castle. Humans don't even know this map exists. Rin hits them with the real priority. Can we crash here for a bit? Her HP is basically flashing red. She looks like she's about to shatter into a million pieces. Asuras points out the obvious. She took a direct hit from the energy of Kyle's blue sword. That stuff is toxic. Even her high-tier healing magic is glitching out against it. They need to recover the old-fashioned way. They seriously need a timeout. Kyle shudders just thinking about it. That blue energy isn't a joke. It burns you from the inside out, like a corruption status effect. So he makes the executive decision. They are camping here for a few days. Later that night, it's a full-blown slumber party situation, bodies on the floor on the bed. Kyle steps out for some fresh air while Asuras collapses. On the floor, immediately snoring and drooling like a log. She watches him clutching those daggers inherited from Turk's crew, thinking, if these things have a legendary buff, now would be a great time to unlock it. She whispers a desperate plea for power. She knows it's selfish, but seeing Kyle and Asuras level up so fast, she feels like she's being left in the dust. Meanwhile, Woody is over in the corner, running diagnostics on his shield. His gear got absolutely wrecked. He's praying it upgrades itself, because he is not trying to get folded like that again. Outside, Kyle is taking a stroll with Little Rock, telling the little guy it's safe to come out. Thank God he actually mastered his inventory skills. But he's frustrated. He couldn't sync his combos with Asuras perfectly, not his genetic powers, not the Demon King's magic channeled through weapons, not even his monster command authority. If he could just stack all those buffs properly, maybe that boss fight wouldn't have been such a disaster. The ambush was just too sudden. He barely had time to react. If this were the game, he'd be grinding for XP right now. He can't sleep on his skills. Next time he faces Killian, he needs to have full control over his kit. And Carta, the city of knowledge, is the perfect training ground. He might find the walkthrough he needs here, but he's clueless about one thing: someone is already watching him. King Talo's advisor just got a DM. The White Falcons are back at the castle, but they got absolutely destroyed. Critical injuries everywhere. Killian even lost an arm. And the intel says it's because Sirius hit 6th circle status. That should be impossible. She was just a lab rat, never meant to surpass the 4th level. But the hooded figure lurking in the shadows says this is actually good news. The White Falcons choked, which means it's their turn to shine. Hayden asks the real question. Are you saying you tracked Kyle even though he slipped past the hunter? If he's bluffing, he's a dead man. The answer is chillingly calm. Don't worry, it's gonna be easy mode. I know exactly where he is. He's in Carta, the secret city of demons. Back at the safe house, the demons are sipping tea like it's a casual Tuesday. Asurus asks why the boss looks so deep in thought. Kyle sighs. It's just, if I could actually use the Demon King's power without glitching, we wouldn't have to keep running like fugitives. Rin jumps in with the hype. Are you kidding? Your growth rate is insane. You're way stronger now. Kyle instantly shushes them. Keep it down. Even in a demon city, they can't risk doxing themselves. Right on cue, the table next to them starts gossiping about the Demon King's son. They're talking trash, calling Kyle a total scrub who probably got clapped by Talos goons already. Asurus is ready to throw hands, but Kyle signals him to chill. Even Rin is seeing red, asking if they're really gonna let that slide. Kyle just shakes his head. Let's bounce. Now. On the street, Rin won't drop it. You're strong. You literally took a guy's arm off. Kyle stays humble. Only because I had you guys backing me up. He needs to build the ultimate dungeon stack achievements and recruit top-tier allies. That's the only way the demon world will respect his claim to the throne. Maybe. Asurus asks, okay, so where's level 1? Kyle smirks. Is there an ancient library in this city? I need to do some research on how to get overpowered. Cut to the library of Carta. Rin points it out, this is the spot. But the security is tighter than a bank vault. Guards with spears are blocking every entrance. Kyle activates his vision, scanning the building's structure instantly. Found it. Secret passage in the basement, leading to a VIP room in the back. The energy signature in there is totally different. Rin looks confused. Since when can you just scan the terrain like that? Kyle shrugs. Maybe I'm leeching some XP from the stone, or maybe this place just has a special vibe. Ryu's gut instinct is screaming. He turns to the squad, eyes narrowed. If there's heavy security, there's gotta be something worth hiding. Guards equal secrets. This place might hold the missing files on the Demon King. He signals Woody to find a breach point. The rogue scouts a narrow crack on the flank, time to get sneaky. They slide into the building's sewer system. Gross but effective. Suddenly, footsteps echo. Suriel instantly casts Veil of Shadows, cloaking the team in invisibility. Pressed tight against the grime, they hold their breath while Woody navigates the maze by pure instinct. They emerge into stone corridors. Woody signals the exit, and Suriel whispers that penetrating this deep is nearly impossible for average intruders. But just as the hype builds, Woody's foot lands on a magic tile. Click. Alarm triggered. Guards swarm the hallway. The team dives into a cramped utility closet. Ryu's face turns beet red instantly. He is literally sandwiched between some very soft assets. Once the coast is clear, he stammers, "We need to tighten up our game." Woody ignores the awkwardness, pointing down the hall. Secret passage dead ahead. At the corridor's end, massive double doors loom over them. The inscription reads, "Knowledge granted, only to the qualified." Suriel frowns. This seal, it's ancient. Even my mana can't crack this code. If a 6th circle mage is stumped, they're in trouble. Ryu steps up. Qualified. Let's test that theory. He flares his demonic aura. The doors shudder. They sense the Demon King's blood in his veins and groan open. Welcome to Sepia Sapientia. The library is breathtaking, a cathedral of knowledge. Infinite shelves stretch from floor to ceiling. Behind the desk, a tiny dark elf rubs the sleep from her eyes. What's with the racket? She was napping on a tome. She blinks, realizing she has company. Oh, guests. Well, this is rare. Welcome to my archive. She's the guardian Harley. It has been exactly 47 years, 5 months and 21 days since I had visitors. Suriel stiffens. Don't let the size fool you. That mana pressure is suffocating. Show some respect. Harley locks eyes with Ryu. So, she muses, you're the anomaly who crossed the magic abyss, the Demon King's heir. Suddenly, she launches herself at Woody. A kin from my race, she squeezes him tight. And you smell like dragons. Spicy. Woody is terrified. What is happening? Ryu cuts in. If you love guests so much, why hide this place behind a fortress? Harley smirks at the rookie. Real wisdom isn't stumbling around on the street, kid. Making it here alive was your entrance exam. Her expression darkens. I can't let morons in. To trash my collection. Especially humans. All they do is burn, steal, and destroy. It's their lifestyle. Ryu nods. He felt that vibe coming. Harley turns her gaze back to the successor. You're here to learn control, right? The Demon King's power isn't a skill you learn. It's a burden you carry. She chants a spell from the cosmic archive. Books fly off the shelves, swirling around her like a storm before landing in a neat stack. She found the answer. The Demon King's crystal. It's a legendary artifact, she explains. The only stabilizer for that chaotic energy. It used to be one piece, but during the Great Magic War, humans shattered it into 3 fragments and scattered them. Suriel nods. That was 3,000 years ago. Harley corrects her instantly. 3,274 years, to be precise. Humans couldn't destroy the power, so they quarantined it. The best they could do was break the crystal and hide the shards across the 3 continents, Lunir, Rudin, and Kadam. 1 piece per continent. Ryu looks confused. Okay, but how does this help me? Harley sighs. The crystal is the only battery capable of holding that energy. Your body is breaking down because you're redlining every time you fight. Ryu winces. She's right, so if I collect them all. Harley nods. Reunite the 3 shards, and you can wield the full might of a pureblood demon king just like Turk Kaldun without blowing yourself up. It sounds perfect. Too perfect. Harley's voice suddenly echoes in Ryu's head telepathically. But you aren't a pureblood. That's why this is your only option. Ryu freezes. Wait, not a pureblood. Suriel interrupts the silence, asking for coordinates. Harley shakes her head. I only know where the first one is. I met Turk Kaldun back in the day. He started this fetch quest to protect the demon lineage for future generations. When my people were being slaughtered by humans, he was the one who stepped in. History books call Turk Kaldun a monster, but that's just human propaganda. He was our savior. She never got the chance to thank him while he was breathing. But passing this knowledge on to his descendant, that's the closure she desperately needed. Harley was beaming with gratitude. And Kaldun, he realized the real Turk was nothing like the monster described in history books. Harley then dropped the intel. The first crystal is waiting in the northwest region of Luna. It's a place called Mortuorum. To the demons, it's known as the Demon King's Graveyard, a nightmare zone where the souls of ancient lords refuse to fade. Turk himself buried the first shard there. As for the other 2 crystals, she's got 0 clue. But honestly, snagging even 1 fragment is going to level up his power scale insanely high. But wait, here's the kicker. Why stash a power source in a Demon King's graveyard? Wouldn't the demons just snatch it? Harley shook her head. Dead wrong. That soil is cursed by restless spirits. They've become wandering shadows trapped there forever. Average demons wouldn't last a second on that ground. Plus the place is rigged with human traps. Surus raised an eyebrow. Human spells. In the heart of demon territory. Are they trolling us? Harley ignored the sass and turned to Kaldun. She had a parting gift to help with the grind. She began chanting, weaving an ancient dark elf protective barrier directly onto his skin. This wasn't just a buff. It was their race's secret treasure. It tanks damage and drastically cuts the physical recoil from channeling the Demon King's energy. Kaldun could feel the upgrade instantly. His body felt denser, tougher, like living armor. Then she pulled out another item. An ancient grimoire, basically raw arcane power, perfect for a 6th circle mage. Like Shiryu. It was a total game changer. Shiryu stared at it, shook. She thought magic this high tier was just a myth. Harley smiled, telling her she's the only one who can decode the magic inside. Don't waste it. Rin piped up, hey, where's my loot? Harley handed her a Belmora petal, a flower that hadn't bloomed in 1,000 years. Keep it close. Its purpose will make sense when the time is right. Then she turned to Woody, the dark elf. He was already carrying the ultimate weapon. A dragon seed lay dormant inside him, waiting to wake up. Woody blinked, totally lost. He didn't get it. Harley just winked. The best secrets reveal themselves when you're ready. Time is the greatest weapon for a dark elf. Be patient. Anyway, Mortuorum is a 6-day hike, north of Carta. But don't expect a welcome mat. The whole zone is choked by a crimson mist, a magical barrier left over from the Great Magic War. Rumor has it the mist is sentient. It reads your mind, digging up your darkest fears and desires. Everything gets exposed, so lock it down. One slip up and it's not just game over for one of you, it's a squad wipe. Rin cracked her knuckles. They'd survived hell so far. A spooky mist wasn't going to stop them. There was no backing down now. Harley watched them with a grin. The gears of the world were finally turning again. Kaldun threw a Hail Mary and asked if she'd join the party. Harley sighed. Impossible. She was too old for that life. Her watch began and ended right here, protecting this sanctuary. Damn. Having a powerhouse like her on the roster would have been clutch. But it was time to fly. They flooded her with thanks, but she waved them off. Just having visitors in this dusty old place was gift enough. Oh wait, one rule. Do not eat anything in Mortuorum. You chew on food in the land of the dead, you're asking to be their dinner. Rin nodded. Loud and clear. No snacks. She sent them off. Later, walking through the city streets, Rin was still buzzing about how wild it was. to have actually met the Demon King's inner circle. It felt like everything was circling back. To Turk, Surus chimed in. Even getting teleported here felt orchestrated, like destiny or something. Next stop, Mortuorum, the Demon King's tomb. Rin shivered. Kinda creepy, right? Woody shrugged. The dead can't cross over to the living world. Rin rolled her eyes. I know the theory, genius. Don't get smart with me. But the mood got serious. They had to secure that crystal before Killian tracked them down again. They needed that power and an impenetrable fortress. Meanwhile, back at the human capital, the king sat on his throne, voice cold. Is it true, my white squad, decimated by Kaldum? Killian knelt. Yes, I take full responsibility, your majesty. Killian gritted his teeth. Once my arm heals, I'm hunting them down. This time I'll finish the job permanently. The king looked down unimpressed. You certainly will. Because if you fail again, Killian bowed lower. I swear on my life it won't happen. Later that night, Killian lay on a medical table. The healer was trembling. Sir, please reconsider. The forbidden summoning art. Necromancy has less than a 40% success rate. Killian stared at the ceiling, eyes burning with madness. Do it. We're talking a full transplant of Rudwalk's arm here. But she warned him it's not just flesh and bone. He's gonna inherit the guy's will too. She asked if he could handle that kind of baggage. He didn't even flinch. Told her his mind is a fortress compared to his body. No more chit-chat. He said, let's get this show on the road right now. So she and the other mages kicked off the ritual. They're chanting spells, channeling insane amounts of mana, and boom, the spirit of the great beast manifests right in front of him. And Killian, his mind was singular. He swore a blood oath to end Keela with his own bare hands and claim Sorius all for himself. The beast roared in his face, but Killian just stared it down, demanding Rudwalk's power. He's taking that arm, period. Fast forward a few days. We cut to Kayla and the squad camping out in the woods. According to Horurin's intel, a crimson mist is set to roll in by tomorrow. There's still a full day's march from Mortuorum. Meanwhile, Sorius is geeking out over the grimoire. She said the spells inside are straight up legendary. She admitted if she hadn't hit the 6th circle, she wouldn't be able to decipher a single word of this ancient text. Rain chimed in, saying she's feeling a weird connection to her daggers. Like they're not just metal anymore. They feel alive, practically breathing. Woody was in the same boat. He felt his shield trying to communicate with him. Talk about a sentient arsenal, right? Sorius noted that just meeting Horurin leveled them all up. But the vibe changed instantly. Woody sensed movement nearby. Sorius clocked it too. 7 bogeys. She sensed holy mana radiating from the bushes and ordered them to come out and face the music. Stepping out of the shadows was none other than the king's advisor Hayden. He smirked, saying the rumors were true. Honestly, the guy looked pathetic. Sorius called him out Hayden the Archmage of Talua, and he fired back, addressing her as the traitor. He tried to intimidate her, saying there's no running for someone raised in Talua. But Sorius just shrugged. She wasn't planning on running anywhere. She summoned her scepter, ready to throw down. Hayden had to admit she wasn't bluffing. She really had reached the 6th circle, but he got cocky. Said it doesn't matter how strong she is. One mage can't handle 6 high-class casters buffed by an enhancement crystal. Sorius mocked him, asking if the Emperor really wasted such rare loot on him. Hayden threatened that if they didn't surrender like good little demons, he'd make their deaths quick. He opened up with a volley of ice spears, but Kayla parried that attack like it was nothing. That rattled the advisor. He couldn't believe Kayla blocked it, so he panicked and ordered his squad to unleash the Sanctuary of Judgment. The mages synchronized, raining down spears of pure divine power. They weren't holding back. Sorius scoffed, trying to end this in one shot. She threw up her absolute shield to tank the hit. Hayden lost it. What? That's impossible. The laws of magic say sanctuary light should purify all darkness. But Sorius had a trick up her sleeve. She learned this from Horurin's grimoire. It's not just darkness. It's magic pulling straight from the abyss essence. It stands toe-to-toe with holy light. She manifested those wicked horns, channeling every ounce of demonic energy she had, and unleashed the fog of oblivion. It was chaos. The enemy mages lost their sight, their senses, just like Killian did back then. And Hayden, he was too slow to save them. He tried to overpower her with a massive spell, the Celestial Abyss, aiming to swallow Sorius whole. He followed up with a lethal light ray, but Keela wasn't having it. He stepped in and blocked it cold with his Demon King power. Hayden sneered, asking if weakling Kayla had actually leveled up. He decided to handle the main duo himself and told his goons to wipe out the side characters. Rain was dancing around the celestial horns thrown by the other mages, but she knew she couldn't keep dodging forever. Time to fight back. She hurled one of her daggers. It struck, then boomeranged right back to her hand, slicing a mage's head clean off on the return trip. Even she was shocked. The daggers were actually responding to her call, resonating perfectly with her energy. That vial Harley gave her. It was glowing like crazy. The petals inside were helping her synchronize her soul with the blades. Hayden spotted the weapon and gasped, asking if that dagger was another relic from Dark Kaldum. Meanwhile, Woody was taking hits like a champ, blocking everything effortlessly with his shield. It finally clicked. The shield wanted to help him. Woody stopped resisting and accepted its full power. He listened to the whispers and roots exploded out, covering his entire body. He transformed into a literal titan of branches and wood. He grabbed 2 mages and crushed them like soda cans. Standing there, he finally understood the true nature of the Dragonlands and Horrorin's power. He shouted to Rain Tag Team. She swooped in and decapitated the 2 mages trapped in his grip. Flawless execution. Hayden was trembling. His elite squad got wiped in seconds. That's absurd. But Kayla, he was grinning. Kayla realized he wasn't the only one who got a power-up. He flexed his aura and completely shattered Hayden's binding magic. He was saving this move for Killian, but hey, a test drive doesn't hurt. He unleashed the true power of Ruin Gladius. He fired a wave of slashing aura so intense that Hayden's brain short-circuited. The guy knew he was done for. Hayden panicked and used Divine Teleport to bail out. Kayla looked around confused. Where'd he go? How's he that fast? Sorius confirmed he ran. The coward left his own men behind to die. Kayla apologized for letting him escape, but Sorius told him not to sweat it. He figured the guy was just testing his limits. But hey, at least now the squad knows they can actually throw hands with Taloa's mages. The queen gave the nod facts only. Thanks to Harley's upgrades, those daggers are dealing serious damage now. Oh, and she mentioned Woody's transformation. Was absolute insanity. Total beast mode. Woody got all shy and thanked her, but then she dropped the real question. How on earth did Hayden track them down? They came all the way from Carthal. He shouldn't know jack. But Ryu, he sniffed out a rat. Someone was lurking in the shadows. Time to go straight to the source, that mysterious hooded woman, feeding intel to the king's advisor. It was Soletera Keela's sister. Everyone thought she was dead when she teleported, but nope. Meanwhile, Hayden was running on fumes. He realized it wasn't just Saris who leveled up. The whole crew isn't something he can sleep on anymore. If he fails to take them out even after popping those enhancement stones, the Emperor is going to take all that rage out on him. He might actually have to beg Killian for backup. Speaking of which, Killian was having another flashback to that ritual, the exact moment he and his brother were served up on a platter to the divine beast of light Lumiar. That's when chaos erupted. Lumiar's cultists got raided. Knights charged and screaming to save the kids. It was Hayden's mage guild crashing the party. Killian's dad told them to back off, but the mage wasn't having it. How dare you offer up your own sons? As human sacrifices, boom, Killian's dad takes a fireball straight to the face, but even as he died, he kept staring at the divine beast. Someone scooped Killian up, yelling that children aren't for slaughter. His mom was screaming, refusing to hand over her boy to Lumiar, her son, the son of light. But right when Kuma begged for help, Hayden swooped in and grabbed both kids. The king's advisor secured the boys. That single day flipped the script on his entire life. Later, back at the Mage Guild, Hayden declared this was the turf he built. From this moment on, this is home. Rest easy, he told them. Hayden actually felt good about himself playing the hero who saved 2 orphans. Hayden knew Killian had absorbed Lumiar's light, but he had zero clue what that actually meant for the kid's future. Fast forward a bit, and the kid turns out to be a total prodigy with a sword. One of the trainers admitted that none of the staff could touch him. Hayden was baffled, saying, "These are masters raised in a mage guild. How is he this skilled?" But Killian, he just wanted to keep fighting. His eyes started glowing and suddenly, bam, a pillar of light crashed down on him. That was day 1. Killian's power defied all logic. Sometimes these bursts of light would injure or straight up delete anyone standing too close. He couldn't control it. Later, when Hayden asked if he was hurt, the kid just said he was fine. Then he dropped this chilling line, "If they die that easily, who's gonna teach me swordplay?" Hayden knew. That wasn't a child talking. His voice was ice cold. That was the moment. He realized Killian was a monster he couldn't leash. Later at the royal palace, he presented the boy to his majesty. He explained that Killian had taken Lumiar's light. The king, he was floored. To think someone actually survived the light of that divine beast. Fascinating. He ordered Hayden to move his guild to Taloa immediately. This kid goes to the Talcan training division. Hayden was bowing and scraping, thanking him profusely. Yes, your majesty, that was the turning point. Thanks to Killian, Hayden's guild got a fast pass into Taloa's inner circle. He was finally getting close to his dream of controlling the world. Years later, at the training division, the commander told Killian, "We've got nothing left to teach you." Killian replied that he'd just get stronger on his own. Hayden watched from the sidelines, bursting with pride. But he was terrified too. He knew a day was coming when nobody would be able to check this kid's power. So, a few years down the line, Hayden hits the big leagues, Archmage of Taloa. He thought he'd reached the absolute peak. But then Killian gets named leader of the Talcan White Squad. He became the most powerful being in Taloa. The orphan Hayden saved had officially surpassed him. From then on, it was a constant grind just to stay relevant. Sure, he could still bark orders at Killian for now. But the second his grip slipped even a little, Hayden wouldn't just lose control. He'd be crushed by Killian like a bug. He changed his life, but no matter what, he has to rule over that boy. It's the only way Taloa survives. Hayden believes he's doing the right thing. That's why he needs to bag Keela. He has to do what Killian couldn't reclaim the prestige he lost after the disaster at Arsol. He needs the head of the Demon King's descendant. He thought it wouldn't. Killian's power was a crushing weight suffocating him. Another second of this, and he'd be nothing but dust. He was totally out of options. Desperate times, desperate measures. He had to turn to them, the very nightmares he swore to bury after his humiliation. Hayden gripped the necrotarsic compass, the needle spinning wildly to lock onto a specific target. He never thought he'd stoop this low, but here we are. He was hunting the Tarsika's fanatical lunatics who hated humans and demons with equal passion. Finding a rift of Tarsic energy, he sliced his palm, letting the blood hit the soil. I am Hayden, Archangel of Talua. Bring me your elder. Then take me to your leader. A voice boomed from the shadows. The Archangel seeks me. The figure stepped forward. I am Baltum, Elder of the Tarsika. Hayden bowed low. An absolute honor. Baltum sneered. Honor, don't make me laugh. You people look down on us like filth. Cut the act. What do you want? The counselor's eyes narrowed. A partnership. I'm hunting Kayla Cotton, the last blood heir of the great Demon King. And why should we care? Baltum asked. I only want his head, Hayden replied coldly. The rest of his body, it's all yours. Slice him up, experiment on him, go wild. The elder cackled. So, the lapdog of Talua is offering us a fresh lab rat. Why shouldn't I just rip your throat out right now and use you instead? Hayden didn't flinch. He produced a glowing vial. Because I have this. Luminous ether. Baltum's eyes went wide. How? A gift from the Emperor himself, Hayden admitted. But it destroys human bodies, so it's been collecting dust. Priceless research material for you, right, Baltum scoffed. Nice try, but Tarsika's bow to no one. We only care about pushing magic to its breaking point. Think about it, Hayden pressed. Keela Codden is awakening. The Demon King's power is surfacing. Once he ascends, your experiments will be useless against him. He's already commanding a sixth circle mage. His allies are freaks of nature. This is your one shot to dissect that legendary bloodline before it becomes untouchable. Baltum grinned, showing jagged teeth. Fine, a temporary alliance. But cross us and your soul becomes my next project. Perfect, Hayden thought, suppressing a smirk. I've actually roped the fanatics into this mess. Meanwhile, Sorrel was eyeing a blade. Is that the knife Solera used to track Kayla? Yeah, Solera nodded. My mother's dagger carries a blood curse. It hunts anyone who's been tasted by its blade. Keela's memory flashed back. That psycho Karist slashed him on purpose just to keep him on a leash. She's telling the truth, he muttered, snatching the blade from Solera. I'll be taking this. Solera froze. Karista, not mother. The real Kayla used to sob and scream for his mommy. This cold-blooded monster. He isn't Kayla. Without this toy, you can't track us anymore, Keela said, voice low. Now beat it before I decide to end you. What? Solera gasped. I went through hell to find you, Sorrel stepped in. Oh right, so after dragging Hayden here was the plan to kill us. No, Solera cried. I couldn't find Keela on my own. I tricked Hayden into bringing me here. I thought once we found you, we could take him out. She reached for him. Please, don't leave me behind. You're the only family I have left. Keela slapped her hand away. Get your hands off me. Drop the act and get out of my sight. She froze. He wasn't buying a single word of her sob story. Desperate, she threw herself at Rin. Rin, help me talk sense into him. We've known each other forever. Shing. Rin's dagger was instantly against Solera's throat. After the hell you put us through, I should slit your throat right here. How dare you, Solera shrieked. You filthy little servant. Suddenly a hand crushed her windpipe. Kayla lifted her off the ground. What did you just call her? His voice was ice. Solera choked, eyes bulging, begging silently. He slammed her into the dirt. Show your face again and you're dead, Keela stated. Solera scrambled up and bolted. Rin lowered her gaze. She's right. I am just a mere servant. Still. Thank you, young master. No, Keela corrected firmly. You are not a servant. Sorrel raised an eyebrow. You really just gonna let her walk away? Everyone saw it. She's too weak to touch me, Keela explained. Besides, the more demon descendants running around, the bigger the headache for the humans. And she makes a perfect decoy. Let Talua chase her tail for a while. But Solera wasn't running blind. She had a backup plan. In that hug, she'd planted a monospider right on Rin. Now every word Rin heard, everything she saw, Solera knew it all. A twisted smile formed on her face. You're going to regret this, Kella. Back at the summoning circle, Baltum called forth his elite squad. The Cruentos will accompany you. Hayden's jaw dropped. The energy coming off them was wrong. Alien. Even with his advanced senses, Hayden drew a blank. Their power levels were off the charts. These guys weren't just strong. They easily eclipsed the sixth circle. While Talua was distracted fighting the Demon King's brat, the Tarsikas had evolved. Their dark science had gone further than anyone feared. Baltum rounds up the squad and drops a total bombshell on Hayden Cruentos is tagging along for this mission. And let me tell you, Hayden is absolutely shook. The energy radiating off them is just built different, unlike any magic vibe he has ever felt before. Even using his own enhanced sensory skills, he cannot even get a read on their stats. These guys are easily blasting past the sixth circle no cap. While Talua was busy throwing hands with the Great Demon King's bloodline, the Tarsikas were quietly making some massive leaps in their research game. Beteum drops the order Crew Tuentos needs to lead the death squad alongside Hayden. The mission, hunt down Keela. Seraphine doesn't hesitate. She vows to drag the Great Demon King back herself. Her partner smirks, asking if they're finally escaping this limbo. It's getting hype. With Luna added to the roster, Hayden starts believing. With this lineup, yeah, this is actually doable. He's got the intel the kid is beelining for more Tuoro. No more running. This time he's not slipping away. Meanwhile, Kayla's crew hits the edge of the blood mist zone. The vibe is off. Woody notices his guard shield, literally vibrating. That's a first. Rin tries to keep the mood light, flexing that they've already crushed heavy hitters like the White Squad. Then Hayden chimes in with a roast. Guard is the shield's name. Adorable. Is she gonna name her daggers next? What's going through her head? Maybe she's sitting on dormant potential, just like Woody's shield. Horland's blessing is working overtime, stabilizing the Demon King's mana. Pretty fast, but it's barely holding together. It's not enough. He turns to the squad. They've grinded too hard to stop now. Quitting isn't an option. They'll set up camp, recharge, and tackle that mist at dawn. But while they rest, back at the Stalker base, Cuddly puts the finishing touches on Kill. He's rocking a new upgrade. Rudolph's arm grafted right onto him. She warns him about mental corruption, but Kill scoffs. Don't worry. Nothing dominates me. Right on cue, a guard bursts in. Emergency report. Archmage Hayden led a stacked elite unit to ambush Keela. Total wipeout. Only 2 wounded mages crawled back alive. Hayden is MIA. Kill clenches his fist. What a reckless move. If even Hayden got played, this is serious. Cuddly drops the stats. Keela is leveling up insanely fast, and he's backed by Suriel, a 6th circle mage. Kill barks the order, assemble the squad. Now, they need to track Keela starting from Hayden's last known location, the entrance to the mist. Back at camp, Suriel consults her grimoire. The lore is creepy. The mist scans the minds of anyone who enters, testing their unity. Rin looks nervous. Wait, does that mean we all need to be thinking the exact same thing? Woody shrugs. We're all after the Demon King's crystal, right? Should be easy. But Suriel shakes her head. It's not that simple. Motives matter. One wants to control the Demon King's power. The Reals are hungry for high-tier magic. Keela cuts in. No. We have one goal. Survival. That's the bottom line. Rin pumps her fist. Exactly. Protecting him, protecting Keela, protecting the squad. Woody agrees, as long as they stick together. Keela tells the crew to lock that thought in. They step into the fog. Instantly, Keela is isolated, trapped in his own headspace. He panics. He swore they walked in together. Why is it so quiet? Just weird, static noise. Then a vision manifests before him. It's his future self, fully awakened as the Demon King. But he's standing on a mountain of corpses. His allies. All dead. Why? Keela whispers to the void. Is this your desire? The vision asks. To become the ultimate being, the great Demon King. A dark presence whispers that it can grant him everything. I will grant you power, Kang Shiwu. Keela freezes. How does it know his original name? I will give you the perfect world. The one you craved in your past life. Even the dark desires you hide from yourself. Everything your heart truly screams for. Keela stares blankly. Yes, the perfect world I designed. The presence senses victory. Then come to me. But Keela snaps back to reality. No. He glares at the vision. That future, that's not me. Those are my companions. If a future exists without them, then I don't want attention. Listen up, because this reality is totally fake. That great spirit called it a foolish proclamation. Do not let your heart get played, kid. The mist tried to drag him into a twisted timeline where he rules as the Demon King. He got pulled into the fog and couldn't break free. Meanwhile, Sora's caught a glimpse of her own nightmare scenario, her brother going full villain mode and destroying everything. While she leveled up to become an archmage, she had to ask herself if she could really hit the absolute peak of magic. The entity whispered, "Oh, absolutely, I can fast-track you to that destiny." Soros questioned if that was even real. Then the mist showed Rain her deepest desire, standing right beside her crush, not just as a friend, but as his wife, tied to him forever. Just them. The voice promised, "Come with me." But Rain remembered why she actually fell for Keela. Back on day one, he was the only one who accepted her as a friend even though she was just a servant. Kayla still treats her with respect like a true partner. Yeah, she's totally in love with him and wants to be by his side. But it's not just about Kayla, it's for the whole squad. She refused to fold for some cheap temptation. Like that. Suddenly the petals Horland gave her started glowing. A new player entered the chat, a woman, claiming to be the guardian of daggers. She sensed Rain's mental toughness to reject the spirit's bait and activate the Belmora petals. She passed the vibe check. Rain was confused. Who? Are you qualified for what? The woman introduced herself as Clarine the Shinky Sword, former training partner of Turk Caldron. Nice. To meet you, my future legacy. Rain asked if this meant she finally had the power to protect her friends. Clarine told her to chill. Easy, child. You earned the right to summon me, so I'm sticking with you. From now on. First order of business, let's clean this nasty blood scent off the snow. She ordered Rain to draw her blades. Rain didn't even need to name them. They already had identities, Dove and Raven. And Clarine told her to focus. She was there to sever the fog's temptations. Rain obeyed and sliced right through the entity with her daggers. She cut through the mist and shattered the illusion, freeing everyone else. Clarine noted that Rain had stumbled upon one of Turk's old allies, the swordswoman. Her energy was so noble, and OP Rain was fangirling, but Kayla told her to cool it. It's all good, her daggers reacted too, right? Soros admitted. That was clutch. Even she couldn't resist the mental attack. She sensed a different aura coming from Rain now. Woody agreed, saying it felt like a limiter on Rain's power had just been smashed. Rain turned to Kayla. So, what was your temptation? Kayla looked confused. Temptation? He claimed he just walked, and the fog vanished. Rain pressed him. Wait, the entity didn't try to bribe you with anything. That's pretty hard to believe. Rain asked if he seriously had zero desires. He shrugged. Honestly, nope. Rain started doubting her own instincts. She wondered if deep down Keela secretly wanted to be the strongest, even if it meant being alone. Soros was thinking the same thing. She was confident as a sixth circle mage, but the fog's intensity still wrecked her. Maybe those desires crept in without her noticing. But Keela interrupted the introspection, saying since the fog is clear, they need to push to Mortuorum. The entrance was a massive skull, with a gaping mouth serving as the door. Definitely looked like a graveyard. Keela was impressed. He couldn't believe this place was real. Woody muttered that the location radiates the essence of pure terror. The ruins had ancient warnings. The living are banned. Only those carrying the blood of the Demon King may pass. Rain asked. So, none of us can get in. Well, Keela decided to flex his power. The gate spirit bellowed. Who goes there? Who dares enter the realm of the dead? Keela introduced himself as Keela Caldron, son of the great demon king Hel Caldron. The spirit scanned him and sensed the great king's blood, but it wasn't pure. For the audacity of entering with a mixed bloodline, the penalty is death. Keela scoffed. Excuse me, if this is a test, I'll show you I'm a worthy heir. Open this gate. The spirit hesitated, sensing the energy of Turk Caldron. He claims to be Hel's son but carries Turk's mana. So confusing. Well, the spirit decided not to block him. The massive doors creaked open. Soros whispered, did Turk confuse Keela with the old Demon King? Rain added, does that mean he's gonna get super buffed? Keela thought about Turk Caldron, becoming more convinced that the guy in the abyss was really him, just like Soros and Rain. Connected with ancient companions through their weapons, Keela had linked up with the former Demon King. Whatever, they stepped into Mortuorum. Kayla warned the squad to stay sharp. They had zero clue what kind of horrors were waiting inside. Boom, massive graveyard dead ahead. The restless dead start crawling out of their crypts, totally triggered by the pulse of the living nearby. It's straight to violence. The squad draws their weapons, but the spirits hiss, asking how they dare disturb their eternal slumber. Kale tries to play diplomat, swearing they aren't here to start beef, they're just hunting for the crystal. The Demon King's crystal, the spirit sneers. That holy relic. Only the worthy get to touch that. And clearly, Kale ain't passing the vibe check. The spirit lands a heavy hit, but Kale tanks it, reinforcing his body with mana. These ghosts are confused, though. They're looking at Kale like, wait, aren't you Turkosurios? Kale claps back with the Spear of the Abyss, but the spirit doesn't even flinch. The queen is already begging the ancients for forgiveness. It's chaos. Udi is on the front lines, holding it down with his shield, while Kale manages to phase through a ghost's defense. He slices the thing clean in half, but the ghost just laughs. You can't kill what doesn't have a body. It regenerates instantly. Cheat codes enabled. Then bam, the spirit swipes Kale right in the chest with spectral claws. Kale panics. Even his mana-fused sword is useless here. Is anything gonna cut these guys? Worse, Kale's wounds aren't closing. The spirit mocks him. You dare chase the Demon King's power with that fragile body. Give up on your little dreams and die already, kid. The next strike carves a brutal X across Kale's chest. He's shredded and losing blood fast. He thinks, why aren't my attacks connecting? And why is my regen failing? Another spirit grins at the queen, ready to check out, you ignorant mage. She's shook. Her sixth circle spells are doing 0 damage. It's gotta be because these souls share the same magic element. The spirit tells the queen it's hopeless. Kale realizes his daggers are just passing through them like smoke. He looks over and sees a nightmare. Udi gets grabbed up. One of the ancient Demon King's spirits is straight up devouring his soul. Then a spectral spear impales Kale. Game over. The ghost tells the kid to accept his fate and die. But Kale grits his teeth, yelling at Udi to hang on just a little longer. I'm gonna save you. But they're both knocking on death's door. Kale's mind snaps back to the abyss, drowning in guilt that he couldn't protect anyone. He feels useless in this life too. Suddenly, Whack Turk slaps him upside the head. Are you stupid? You came all this way just to die. Not on my watch, you moron. Kale blinks. Wait, Turk, no. The ancient demon, King Ha. The spirit asks if he finally figured it out. He finally drops the name. He reveals his true form. Yeah, it's Turk Cauldon, you idiot. Kale asks why he's squatting inside his head. Turk groans, at least act surprised dummy. He explains he couldn't exactly talk freely about this stuff before. He couldn't even say his own name until now. Kale asks if it was some kind of seal. Turk says, whatever doesn't matter. Listen, fool. You got the training. You got Horland's blessing. Why aren't you using liberation? Kale's confused. Liberation. What? Turk punches him on the head again. Figure it out yourself. Kale shouts back, can you explain before giving me brain damage? My friends are dying out there. Turk sighs. Pay attention. Liberation is the skill to awaken the true power hidden deep in your soul. And that hidden power, it belongs to me, Turk Cauldon. Kale's eyes go wide. Wait, I can use your power, Turk nods. Exactly. He's been unlocking the seals on Kale's body. One by one. The first one popped when Kale absorbed the demonic energy from Hell Cauldron. That unlocked seal number 1. Finding Horland's blessing smashed the second seal. Now you can use a temporary version of liberation, you dimwit. Kale asks how many seals are left. 2 more. Turk doesn't know the unlock conditions but says the kid will figure it out. When those last 2 break, Kale's body will be fully liberated, fusing completely with Turk. Then, he becomes the strongest entity in existence. Strongest in the world, Turk smirks. Obviously. If you want to reshape the world to your will, you gotta be the apex predator, kid. Kale frowns. Why help me? You know I'm from another world, right? Turk shrugs. Don't care. I just want out of this cursed eternal loop. If you unlock the body and can handle the juice, I can finally end my journey. Kale realizes Turk is trapped in infinite loneliness. He doesn't know if he can trust him, but he has zero choice. He asks Turk to show him how. Teach me liberation. Turk doesn't explain, he just forces his power into Kale's body, sparking insane pain. Turk shouts, connect our consciousness. Focus on the sensation. If you nail this, you can access 20% of my power. Kale groans through the pain. Ugh. Only 20. Turk calls him arrogant. 20% of his power is enough to nuke the entire world. You know why he's screaming in agony? Because his vessel can barely handle that 20%. But Kale remembered, the souls of the ancient demon kings were supposed to be untouchable. Turk said living things can't hit souls, but guess what? He ain't exactly alive right now, damn it. He told him to lift that head before he dies like a loser. When Kale snapped back, eyes dripping with bloodlust, he barehanded that spectral blade. The spirit taunted him, asking if he was still twitching. Kale's answer, it's not over till I win. He drew his blade and triggered release, slash, arm gone, slash, neck and torso severed. He shattered that attack. The spirits couldn't even process the speed. With release active, his stats didn't just go up, they skyrocketed. He blitzed the ghost on Cirrus, then deleted the one cornering Rin. He thought, this is the ultimate strike. This is true release. He decapitated the last wraith, draining Wood's soul. He realized maybe his body is alive, but this power sure isn't. By channeling Turk's mana through release, he turned into a ghost shredder. Cirrus demanded answers that mana output was insane. Rin was just grateful, their rookie. Had 1 foot in the grave. Wood was totally lost. Kale wasn't sure if it was the after effects of Turk's energy, but his regeneration kicked in faster than ever before. Cirrus checked if he was good. Explain yourself, Kale. But he hesitated. Until he knows Turk won't backstab him, he can't. Spill the beans. He lied, claiming that just like her, Harley's blessing gave him a massive buff. Cirrus didn't buy it. She knew he was holding back cards. She asked if the area was clear. Looks like it, he said, but where's the loot? Where's the crystal just then? A soft meow echoed. They spun around. Holy crap, that is definitely not a house cat. What kind of nightmare? Is this horns, demon wings, double tails? The creature purred, greeting the travelers from the outside. World. Claimed he was the landlord here. Kale gripped his weapon. Is this another vengeful spirit? The beast said, don't. Sweat it, he's just a mere cat guarding the spot. Kale scoffed, mere bro, look at. The size of you. The cat shrugged, too much mana snacking. Used to be a kitten. Anyway, you guys look wrecked from the brawl. And some of you are bleeding out. So he asked, how about we chill somewhere, a little more cozy? Cirrus whispered that this chonky cat seemed sus. The cat replied, I have ears, you know. Well, that's awkward. Rin, however, was already won over. He's fluffy, so he can't be evil. Big Cat promised a feast and beckoned them. Rin's eyes sparkled. Food plus, the rookie needs rest, right? Well, Kale sighed. Not like they had options. They tailed the cat to a massive mansion hidden inside the graveyard, accessed through a cave tunnel. Rin gasped. Who knew this kind of luxury was underground? Cirrus analyzed the structure created by magic. The details were intricate, delicate. She mentally took notes for her own dungeon design. She always wanted her game lobby to have this exact aesthetic. Big Cat beamed you like spent over 500 years. Getting the decor right. In cat years, he's in his prime. But hey, you look dead on your feet. Sit, eat. Actual food appeared. Like real food. Rin was drooling. It looked amazing. The cat introduced the moon pudding, made from lunar essence. Rin pointed. And that. Neon stuff, that's the happiness noodles, he said. She was about to dive in face first. Halt, KL barked. For the living, eating food from the realm of the dead is a trap to enslave your soul. Cirrus had totally blanked on that rule. Rin froze. Damn, she almost forgot Harley's specific warning. Big Cat nodded. The young king is sharp. Kale narrowed his eyes. Why are you smiling? The cat grinned. That was the final test. Seems basic, but it's the hardest one. The living rarely resist the hunger pangs here, Kale asked. What happens if we took a bite? You'd be full, the cat said, but you wouldn't be worthy. Kale cut to the chase, hand over the crystal. The cat nodded. You survived the fog, the ghosts, and the munchies, so, yeah, you earned the first fragment of the Demon King, the very crystal he'd been hunting. Who knew he'd get it so smoothly? Actually, scratch that. It wasn't smooth. If he didn't have Harley and Turk backing him up, he'd be toast. Without the squad, the mist would have claimed him. Nothing about this was easy. He could feel the crystal's raw power pulsing. It was beautiful. Wood chimed in. This energy. It was unlike anything he'd ever felt before. Keela realized these weren't just randoms. These were the OG Demon Kings. More reason to hold a grudge, right? Why would they hand over the goods to the next generation? But Big Cat told him to chill out. He actually did those spirits a solid. Truth is, they've been craving the sweet release of death forever. Can you imagine the torture of being trapped in this dump? The lady asked. Then why the aggression? Big Cat dropped the lore. When the living step into this crypt, the spirits go feral, literally begging for destruction. But here's the kicker. Only one spirit can throw hands with a living person at a time, which means most of them don't get that release. Keela realized they've been in agony this whole time. But Big Cat cut in. Don't guilt trip yourself, young king. You gifted them peace. They're good now. Keela wondered if this was the eternal rest Turk was always yapping about. Even Turk wants to fade out, which is why he's helping. Then it hit him. Had Big Cat been solo down here guarding the crystal the whole time? Big Cat nodded. He'd been holding it down for an unimaginable stretch. 500 years passed, and he never left his post. Flashback time. He remembered asking Sylvandra if she was really going to leave a harmless kitty all alone. She laughed at Arkan. For the love of God, kitty, look at the size of him. He's massive. Even at that size, Arkan insisted he was just a little guy. Didn't look cool though. But Sylvandra got serious. He was the only one. Tough enough to handle it. Only he could guard the crystal. He asked if she was dumping him here, because he was too much drama. Sylvandra crushed him in a hug. No way. Leaving him there was tearing her apart too. Arkan could literally feel her heartbreak flowing into him. She was hurting more than he was about saying goodbye. She asked if he was up for it. Honestly, Arkan didn't think so. Without her, he was nothing. But she saved him from death multiple times. Because of her, he lived a life happier than he ever dreamed. She raised him. He never wanted to leave her side. If she vanished for even a second, he'd probably bawl his eyes out. But through the tears, he told her, I got this. For her, he'd do anything. He promised to guard that crystal with his life. Good boy, my dear Arkan, she whispered. He asked if she'd come back. She promised she would. Back in the present, Arkan admitted, yeah, it was a lonely eternity, but he was the only beast for the job. The queen shuddered at that level of isolation. Arkan shrugged. He had visitors occasionally. Besides demons, humans popped up now and then. Most humans were just greedy idiots who failed the vibe check instantly. Some demons were decent enough, but nobody had the juice to handle the crystal's power. He wondered what would have happened if a powerhouse like Turk showed up. Keela asked if he knew Turk. Obviously, Arkan replied. Even among demon kings, the spirits say that guy was a beast. Keela realized Turk was now part of him. Arkan told him to press the crystal to the back of his hand. It's gonna fuse with you, kid. Since Arkan never handed this thing over before, he had zero clue what would happen next. Keela felt a searing heat rip across his skin. The crystal merged with his hand, pure agony. Then a voice commanded, hold on. It was the OG owner. Turk chimed in. Yup, that's the old man. The ancestor of all demon kings. His soul was toast, but his power, back in the game, it was just a remnant in a new vessel. But the ancient demon king's heartbeat was thumping again. Keela was about to wield the legacy he left behind. Keela muttered, maybe not the best time for a Q&A. But Turk snapped, quit zoning out, kid. Accept the power. This is the loot I spent my whole life hunting for, so grab it. Keela flexed his demonic mana. Was this his dad's energy? No. It was bigger. Woody gasped. Is this the Demon King's aura? The pressure was absolute. Kayla realized he just surpassed Hell Calden. If Turk was right, training with this body would make him a god. Since he snagged the crystal that even Turk couldn't reach. His potential was officially off the charts. Sarisa was shook. That mana is unreal. And his body isn't breaking. Woody felt the heavy dignity of a true king. Coming straight from Keela. Arkan smirked. If he wasn't built for this, he would have exploded like a balloon. The queen nodded, just as we thought. He's the next king. Arkan agreed, no doubt. Whether he becomes a tyrant or a legend is on him now. Keela whispered a heartfelt thanks. Arkan sighed, relieved. So, my watch is ended, finally escaping this endless loop. The queen asked what his move was. I'm crashing, he said. I've been awake for 500 years. And just like that, he curled up in his humble bed. Rain, voice trembling, asked if this was the big sleep forever. Arkan just smiled, telling him to chill. He's pressing pause, waiting faithfully until the day Sylvandra comes back to claim him. Kayla couldn't help but wonder, what kind of powerhouse entity commands a cat like that? But he had to know what was the name. That's when the memory hit him the moment Sylvandra spoke. She dubbed him Arkan. He lit up, he absolutely loved it, finally claiming an identity of his own. Arkan called it the greatest gift, the best thing he'd ever scored in his life, just like the name that loyalty would ride with him to the grave. He told the boy to stay solid. Young king, let a blinding light guide your path. And in a heartbeat, he turned to stone, frozen in an eternal slumber. Keela whispered his thanks. Woody, tapping into the vibes, felt a weird mix, a fuzzy, happy warmth clashing with a hollow, crushing loneliness. Rain murmured, sweet dreams. Keela cut the mood they needed to ghost this place immediately. He turned to Woody for intel, any prime real estate for a dungeon nearby. But Rain groaned, his stomach was literally eating itself. Saurus nodded, facts, let's hit the nearest town. She needs actual grub, not snacks. Woody chimed in, saying it might not be a city. But to the northeast, he sensed a mana signature huge enough for a village. Saurus didn't hesitate. Teleport time. We're going there right now. She needs a stiff drink stat. The squad agreed. Shots are happening. Later, they pop up in Venice. The lady pointed the way. Kayla signaled the crew. Okay, we're hoofing it from here. Can't be too flashy. You know the drill. Anything could go wrong. Meanwhile, downtown was a horror show. Demons were getting whipped in the streets. A couple, and their son, were begging for mercy. The mage scoffed, telling the demon mom to zip it. Then he eyed the brat. Looks juicy and healthy. They snatched the boy. The dad lunged to save him, but bam, blasted by magic, dead before he hit the ground. The mage sneered. These demons got too many feelings, huh? Total psychos. Saurus watched from the shadows. She realized the Celestial Guild had already taken over this turf. Keela locked eyes with the sobbing kid, and a dark memory surfaced. Flashbacks of his own dad beating him black and blue. But this hellscape is way worse than the nightmare he survived. These scumbags treat kids like inventory. Cut to the guild branch, a mage is drooling over the capture. Look at that pure demon blood, he gushed. If he refines and drains that juice using forbidden arts, he could become a literal god in this world. Enter Vice Captain Dreiser, the top dog of magic users. He announced they need way more juice. We're talking dozens more demon kids to hit the quota. Dreiser laughed. 101,000. What's the difference? You getting cold feet about slaughtering demons? Bag 'em all. Adults, kids, even the unborn, I don't care. That's when Kayla strolled up to one of the goons. They clocked him immediately. Keela the coward. Thought it was an easy win. But Keela's voice was ice cold. You hit a kid. Hope you're ready for the fallout. Grown-ups pay for their mess. Before the mage could blink. Crack, a fist connected, sending teeth flying. No talk, just action. Keela was about to fold everyone in that room. He went down the line, smashing faces left and right. I don't need a blade for trash like you, he spat. The mages were shook. Wait, the rumors said he was soft. Keela noticed a few were still vertical. He unleashed a combo, pummeling them into the dirt. You worms get the picture yet. Suddenly, a frantic messenger burst in on the vice captain. Kayla called him is wrecking the north entrance. Dreiser raised a brow. Is he after the lab? The minion stuttered. Not sure, but confirmed the kidnapping squad just got deleted. Dreiser smirked. This is a blessing. The perfect test subject just walked right into my hands. Later on, Saurus whistled. You absolutely wrecked him. But Kayla's mind drifted back to running from the castle. Those bastards. Those creeps attacked him back then too. Now they're slicing up people for science. This guild is rotten to the core. And they call this garbage the greatest guild in the kingdom, please. He's gonna take this chance. To rip out the weed's root and stem. Dreiser stepped out, amused. You came all this way just for me. How generous. Keela squinted. Who the hell are you? A lackey screamed. Watch your mouth, bug. That's Vice Captain Dreiser. Keela paused. Wait, that name rings a bell. He's been infamous since Duke Alden's era. A total psycho who'd butcher anyone just to get stronger. And he hasn't aged a day. Keela glared. Why are you snatching kids, huh? Dreiser shrugged, casual as ever. I've harvested mana from every race. But demon blood, that's the key to true immortality. That little girl I drained earlier, adorable. Crying for mommy. I'm going to keep harvesting them. I'll absorb it all and become a god. Keela scoffed. You're just spewing garbage. Dreiser's eyes widened. He could taste Keela's mana. Before anyone could blink, he caught a massive fade to the mouth and got plastered against the stone wall. That other loudmouth mage, yeah, he got folded like a lawn chair too. Keela warned him not to check out too fast. Drazen needed to suffer. That's the only way. These kids get their justice. The demon audience was shook. Jason was panicking like, what is this? Is that his actual power level? Then bam, another punch and another and another. A relentless beatdown. Joyce was spiraling, thinking, how is he devouring that much mana? Even the Demon King's mana pool would look like a puddle next to this guy. How did Kayla get this cracked? He just absolutely wrecked them. Woody chimed in, saying, it doesn't look like we need to stress about this fight anymore, right? Rain scoffed that the Celestial Guild's vice captain, the guy who used to make demons tremble, looked absolutely pathetic in front of Keela. Cold as ice, Keela told Dryzen, who was barely hanging on, enjoy your trip to hell, and left him there drowning in his own crimson pool. The mother of that victim cried out, thanking the heavens he was finally punished. The crowd started buzzing. Lord Keela actually came to save them, the true descendant of the great Demon King. Everyone started chanting, all hail, Lord Keela. Then this one kid just sprinted up and hugged him like it was no big deal. The mom panicked. Don't be rude, honey, but Keela just scooped the kid up, whispering that everything's chill now, no need to be scared. The demons looked around, realizing the heavens hadn't ghosted them after all. Long live, Lord Kelisorius immediately shifted priorities. Finally, I can get a drink. Rain agreed, it was party time. Sorius was like, with booze, you know it. But in the shadows, that creepy Tosca squad was watching everything. Seraphine noted that this Kayla guy is interesting, his mana signature is one of a kind. But Cruentus can handle him. Right, she told Kale they'd launch the operation later. Cut to the party, Rain and Sorius were already wasted. Kayla was sober, but even Woody was slurring his words. He kept insisting he'd never get drunk because nature protects him or whatever. But Keela pointed out Sorius definitely spiked his drink. Then a group of kids shyly walked up asking if he really was the great Demon King. They reached out to touch his horn. Keela thought, these kids are so innocent. It kills me that they suffered under that trash. An elder stepped up asking Kayla for orders. Dryzen is dead sure, but once the guild finds out, they're definitely coming back for round 2. Keela knew the old man was right. If he leaves these people here, a situation even worse is bound to happen. A woman asked if they should flee to another region. Maybe the adults could make it, but the kids, Keela shut that down. No running, there's a better way. Everyone roll with me. From now on we build a new dungeon, the ultimate stronghold, a place no human would dare set foot in. One of them asked if that was even possible. Keela looked dead serious. I'm making it happen. I will not let these kids live in terror ever again. They asked if he'd really protect them. Keela nodded. That's a Demon King's promise. As long as I'm breathing, nobody touches you. The elder asked if he was really taking them in. Keela admitted it wouldn't be a walk in the park. When they build this dungeon, everyone needs to pull their weight. And obviously the crowd was hyped to help. I mean, it beats dying, right? Keela told everyone to pack their bags before they move out. They're creating a legacy. Sorius mentioned that now that they've leveled up, leading this, many people should be a breeze. They need the manpower. It's a win-win. She added that, if this works, they might actually become the hope of all demonkind. Keela thought honestly he wasn't trying to be a legend. He just wants to keep these kids and his squad safe. Everyone was laughing drunk on victory and cheap booze. Woody claimed he wasn't tipsy, so he'd keep watch over the girls. Kayla was like, yeah, sure Woody, you do that. A woman came over saying they prepped a room for his team. Keela accepted, saying he needed to crash. If it's cool, lead the way. Later, tucked in bed, he thought about how badly he wanted this piece to last. If he can pull off this dungeon build, they could live like this forever. But meanwhile, deep in the night, while everyone was passed out on the pavement, Seraphine asked if the setup was clean. Kale confirmed everyone is out cold. Rain and Sorius drank themselves into a coma. They won't wake up for at least 2 days. Luna added that the kid, Woody, was also put to sleep. Seraphine said it's time to take out the trash, Keela. Once he's dead, they'll capture the rest and use them for lab experiments. Kale smirked, saying he wanted to dissect Kayla first. Seraphine warned him to be careful. Keela is strong enough to delete vengeful spirits. They crept into his room. He was fast asleep. Seraphine prepped her dark magic to reap his soul, saying his body would make the perfect guinea pig. She struck his chest, but her hand went right through. It was just an illusion. Seraphine gasped. Since when? Sorius's voice cut through the dark. Since the beginning. The second we hit this village, I smelled your nasty energy. They're projecting way too hard. Knew it the second the party kicked off. The illusions were already primed. Seraphine bragged her illusion arts were top-tier polished to perfection. Impressive, sure. But Sirius called, it looks like these guys are holding an ace up their sleeve. Seraphine scoffed, claiming the illusion was just possibility number 16, but the end game, exactly the same. Luna chimed in, cold as ice, nothing has changed. KL squared up, knuckles cracking. He'd take a straight-up brawl over a stealth kill any day. Sirius realized the vibe was off. These guys were seriously overpowered. Their mana felt wrong, twisted. She had to admit she underestimated the Tarsica. She didn't think they packed this kind of heat. So she popped the question, why the obsession? Why are they hunting? Kale Seraphine just smirked, saying she had zero obligation to explain herself to Trash. Called the Cruentus, nothing but cowards. Kale clapped back, if you're shaking in your boots, go ahead and cry, little demon girl. Her retort, she's gonna have to start by handing them a massive beatdown. Right, boom. She unleashed Abyss Room, warping reality and twisting the entire battlefield. Seraphine tilted her head, asking if she was worried about the other demons locking down the area. Nah, not really, she shrugged. I just hate seeing kids get caught in the crossfire. You know, Kale grinned, treating the chaos like a game. This place looked like a straight-up gladiator arena now. Luna analyzed the spell for a 6th circle mage. That is some seriously high-tier sorcery. Sirius narrowed her eyes. These Tarsica mages are shrouded in too many mysteries. She needed to gauge their power levels first, so she melted into the shadows. Kale blinked. Did she just ghost us? And cloak her mana completely. Sick. Luna admitted she'd love to learn that trick. But Seraphine was unimpressed. Didn't matter how much magic she pumped out. The outcome is set in stone. You can't scrub away the stench of demon blood. Activating Bestial Blood spell, she locked onto Sirius instantly and launched a volley of dark magic spears. Sirius managed to sidestep, but she panicked. Could she pinpoint her exact location? Kale yelled, "My turn," and unleashed hell with his venom-soaked claws. Sirius took a direct hit and felt it immediately. The toxin was shutting down her demonic regeneration. Not just that, but reality started warping hallucinations. She realized this was a lethal neurotoxin designed to rot the mind. She tried to cast Darkness Purification, but Luna shut that down instantly. Sirius gritted her teeth. These guys play dirty. A nasty combo, weak the mind with venom, then blast them with magic. They were moving in perfect lethal sync. Time for Plan B. She executed Abyss Division, spawning multiple clones of herself. Kale paused, totally confused on which one was the real deal. Seraphine growled. She replicated the scent of blood too. She ordered Luna to track the original. Luna fired up her psychic scan, but shook her head. Every clone had the exact same mental signature. The Sirius army smirked in unison, surprised. These aren't cheap parlor tricks. They're avatars forged by the Abyss itself. Don't you Tarsica elites have a spell like this? Luna just sighed, calling her a lab rat. Seraphine snapped, warning Luna not to take the bait. Who cares about the avatars? Just kill them all. She unleashed blood rifts, shredding through the clones and declaring that at the end of the day, there's only one original. Just as predicted. Sirius thought to herself, okay, Four Eyes is way stronger than she looks. KL launched his poison webs to trap her. Sirius decided the data collection phase was over, canceled all her spells, and summoned the squad. Kale nodded, good work. Seraphine's eyes widened. She was just stalling for time. Sirius smirked. Didn't calculate this variable, did you? Four Eyes, Seraphine scoffed. Don't be ridiculous, little girl. Of course I did. In this world, nothing escapes her predictions. Suddenly, Kale felt a crushing wave of mana radiating from her. She declared that since all the targets were grouped up, the capture alive order was rescinded. Cruentus collect their corpses. Kale realized Cruentus wasn't just talk. They were the elite of the elite, even for Tarsica. The assault began. The hunt just got kicked into overdrive. He shouted that he'd handle the girl with the glasses. They're dangerous. Stay sharp, Sirius. Called dibs on the cute mage. Rain stepped up, saying she'd handle that brat. Kale thought, I'll wrap this up quick and help the team. But the moment he closed the distance, Seraphine shielded herself with blood magic. So, close quarters combat is your thing, she asked, even though his raw mana seemed to outclass hers. She was about to prove that meant nothing. She summoned Rubius Maledictum blood serpents. They struck, biting Kale all over his body. He slashed the creatures apart, but they regenerated in a blink. He realized they were shapeshifting, constantly. Seraphine lectured. With your mana levels, you'd normally tank most magic spells. But blood magic, that's new to you, isn't it? The serpents kept striking. Kale realized she is analyzing the fight in real time and adjusting her casts on the fly. Meanwhile, Sirius was spamming her Abyss spears, but Luna blocked every single shot effortlessly with a barrier of light. Sirius sensed a massive unknown power coming from that staff. The Tarsica mage shouted Memory Dragon and summoned a colossal dragon made of pure light. Suriel managed to throw up a shield, but the impact was insane. That staff is pulsing with raw dragon energy. She just realized it, but it was too late. Looney ordered the dragon to chomp down hard, shattering Suriel's barrier like glass. She was totally blindsided. Meanwhile, Kale was rushing Rin, warning her to watch her back. One hit, and it's game over. Sparks flew as she clashed her dagger against him, but Kale's poison armor tanked the blow. He laughed, telling her to hit harder, and his next punch launched her across the battlefield. Woody realized the crazy truth Rin blocked with her body, just to keep her daggers from melting in the venom. But Rin was already hurting bad. Kale grinned, I'm just warming up, and summoned a literal storm of acid rain. Woody slammed down a giant log to cover her, gritting his teeth. My guard is melting. I can't hold this forever. Rin analyzed the situation. He's way too fast, and that mist is lethal. Kale scoffed. This is so fun. Don't die too quick. That'd be boring. Just as he lunged with his claws, that was the moment she finally broke the seal on the seraphim blood. She smirked. Did you really trigger a massive mana burst just for that? It's powerful, sure, but the mana cost is insane. At best, he can only pull that off a few times. She's sticking to the plan. Kale thought, damn, this Four Eyes actually has a point. Blocking with raw mana explosions isn't efficient. He needs to snatch one of her grimoires fast. He won't last more than 3 minutes with his current juice. No choice. He triggered Torque Release, blurring straight toward Seraphine. But she just nodded. So you were hiding your true strength. Exactly as I calculated. Instantly, she conjured a blood cage to trap him, a magical prison fusing physical durability with dense mana. He slammed against the bars, indestructible, Seraphine explained. It's a fusion spell that uses my own blood as the catalyst. High risk, high reward, right? Suddenly, jagged spikes erupted inside the cage to skewer him. Since you have regeneration skills, I'll just have to shred you into confetti so you can't heal back. Meanwhile, Kale was inches from breaking through Woody's shield, yelling that he can't wait to watch them melt into puddles. Rin clenched her teeth. She couldn't help. Woody was barely dodging the toxin. She wouldn't last much longer at this pace. His shield was dissolving fast. Woody, she screamed. Do that thing. Like when you shielded me before. I can, but it won't last long, he yelled back. Do it. Now Woody realized he had no choice, but to trust her completely. He wrapped a dense wooden armor around Rin's body. Kale scoffed. Impressive trick, but I don't care. He soaked his claws in venom. I'll just smash you to bits. Rin braced herself. His attacks were savage. Whatever, she thought. Ignore the poison. She needed to channel absolutely every drop of mana she had left. Whoosh, she moved so fast she vanished from Kale's sight. Before he could blink, a fist buried itself in his gut. Howda bam. He was cut off. She was everywhere at once, circling him like a predator landing hit after hit. That poison rain was sus from the start, she said between strikes. No way a mage like you has the mana pool for that. She kept pummeling his body. Desperate Kale recalled the poison into his own skin to heal. Finally wiped that ugly smirk off your face, she taunted. Your poison drains mana from the earth itself. To drain mana from us. You masked it as a rain attack to hide the drain. She was surgically striking his body parts too fast to block. He couldn't even react. Snap. She shattered both his legs, dropping him to his knees. Got him, she thought. She severed the legs that were siphoning the mana. She noticed the symbols on his feet. That's how he was leeching the earth's magic. Now, ignoring the acid burning her own skin, she swung. Swing. She took Kale's head clean off. Running on fumes, she still secured the kill. The wooden armor disintegrated, revealing Woody collapsed on the floor. Did he use all his energy just to keep me safe? She crumpled to the ground. You trusted me too much, idiot. Everything went black. Woody groaned, hurts like hell. But the defense held. Looney wondered if Kale really lost. Pathetic, she muttered. Draco, kill them all. The dragon slammed, with terrifying force against Suriel's shield. She realized with horror, this isn't elemental magic. It's pure draconic energy, unstoppable. But after enduring so much pain, she refused to die here like a chump. She remembered the abyss, the infinite agony, where every second was a dance on the edge of oblivion. She had stood before death's door 1,000 times. Pharrell's voice echoed. What are you staring at, Suriel? She whispered back. I don't know, but there's a massive gate in front of me. The Stargate, Pharrell replied. So you found it. Too bad you're too weak to even touch it right now. Suriel recalled that moment. Even Pharrell looked at the gate with pure awe. It felt like she stared at it for an eternity. Suriel clocked the vibe switch immediately. Even Farrell was gazing at that gate with straight-up reverence. The tension hung heavy in the air, dragging that single heartbeat out into what felt like a literal eternity. When she finally hit the 6th circle, she watched the gate of darkness sink into the abyss and vanish. Surus replayed Pharrell's words in her head, trying to look away, but the curiosity was eating her alive. She knows 0 spells in her arsenal can tank that draconic magic, but she's out of options. She has to trigger that gate. Who cares if she isn't qualified yet? If it nukes that magic, open the damn door. Back in front of the dark gate, she leaned her power into it, cracking it open. Staring back was death itself. Luna felt that pressure but couldn't clap back. That was the Reaper's energy slicing right through the dragon magic. Luna was shook. How did she even do that? She was staring death in the face. Never seen anything like it. Is that even magic? Reminded her of a chat with Seraphine. You know, the ultimate terror. Facing the unknown. Stuff logic can't explain. That's the real nightmare fuel. That's why they need intel. Trying to unmask the hidden draconic arts behind the veil was just prep work. That's how the Tarkus rolled. Now, Luna was mainlining that primal fear of the unknown. She was crying, terrified, staring at death. Then lights out. She passed out, Surus totally drained. Wheezed, did I do it? But death just whispered, you absolute fool. Summoning without even getting the basics of darkness. 5 seconds is your cap. Come back when you actually understand the dark kid. Open the gate then, and I'll show you the real deal. He vanished back into the gates. Then Kale hit the deck too, thinking a 5-second summon just zeroed his mana bar. He wanted to help, but bro was completely gassed. Meanwhile, the poor guy was getting turned into a pincushion by blood spikes. Seraphine thought, Kale's toast. Luna's out cold. Pathetic. But she had a plan. Kale's handled. Time to sweep the rest of the trash. While torturing KL, she scoffed, the blood pressure is gonna pop you. Bye-bye. KL was still, struggling against that trash prison. The third daughter laughed, useless. Your mana's strong, but you ain't doing jack. KL grinned. I'll show you useless. From the jump, it was destiny that he'd crush. This witch? She asked. Don't get it yet. My magic is built different from your standard stuff. KL just sighed. You're too loud. Even his mana arrow failed to scratch her. But then he dropped the line, go time Rocky. And boom, the slime swallowed Seraphine's grimoire whole. Is that a slime? She lost her spellbook. KL smirked. Useless. Nah, I was waiting for you to slip. Seraphine stammered. You planned this. KL nodded. Yup. Hid Rocky in the shadows, before we even started, through hands. Why have 2 books right, mage girl? The blood prison crumbled. He shook off the spikes. Seraphine panicked. Is he absorbing my magic? KL asked Torque. Good to do this. Torque laughed. Hell yeah, kid. You're killing it. Torque said he was unleashing reverse power. Kyle asked, is it cool? To drink a stranger's blood, Torque snapped. Don't be dumb. The power in her veins is top tier. Perfect chance to break your limits and sync with the Demon King's crystal. Drain her dry. KL thought. Cool, her blood is mine now. Since she used her own blood, to make the cage, he just started slurping it all back. She thought impossible. But KL was thirsty for blood. She felt his intent as her mana vanished into him. She wondered, is that a dragon horn? His bone structure screamed, dragon. Is he a half-breed? That insane healing factor. It's dragon blood, mixed with demon. Is this guy a hybrid? Suddenly Torque yelled, whoa, chill, stop eating. We need her breathing. Kale blinked. Didn't you say absorb everything? Torque clarified. She's better than I thought. Useful, alive. Kale thought, fine, I guess. Waste of good juice. But he cut the link. Seraphine collapsed on her knees. She realized KL had jacked half her blood supply. She was tapped out. No energy for spells. Totally off script. Kale walked up to Four Eyes. Know why you're still breathing. You better explain that stuff you said earlier. Clear. Meanwhile, Haydn got a ping from his main body. The Cruentos lost, already. The other Tarkos were confused. What the hell? Their trump card just got wrecked. We need to save them right now. But Haydn shut that down fast. Useless. He knows they're toast crushed like bugs if they go back. But if Seraphine and Luna are somehow still breathing, a covert op this big is basically a neon sign. Should they run home and cry for backup? Nah. He decides to track the girls and watch from the shadows. The Tarsica mages admit defeat, they're pulling out. Hayden's left wondering, just how OP did Kayla get this? Is getting risky. Trying to snag Keela before Killian shows up, that's just getting greedy. Honestly, even Killian might catch an L against this version of Keela. Meanwhile, Stalkan and White are heading back to the grind. Audrey's swearing on her life to cave Kayla's skull in with her axe. Kalka tells her to take a chill pill. Even the captain who's tapping into freaking dragon power is playing along. Then there's Killian perched on his dragon, looking dead serious. Dee Dee bets the guy is fuming after losing an arm to some weakling. But now that he's rocking Rudwalk's arm, doesn't that make him half man, half monster? Kalka warns him to watch his mouth. Dee Dee just smirks, time to finally stop holding back. He's determined to end Saurus personally this time. Killian's internal monologue. This has to work. Failure isn't an option. Back to Keela. He's staring at Seraphine, biting his lip. Okay, this is weird. Their blood is literally linked, meaning they can read each other's stats. Seraphine admits, first time for me too, buddy. Kayla didn't see this coming, but the connection holds. He drops the big question. So, if I'm a dragon hybrid, that explains why that dragon backed me up before. It saw me as kin. Wait, does that mean his mom Chariste was a dragon? He asks Four Eyes if dragons can polymorph into humans using magic. She explains their magic is top tier, way above other races, but rewriting their biological existence, no go. A temporary disguise maybe. But holding that form long term, impossible. Keela's stumped. Then how did Chariste pull it off? Legend says demons and dragons are mortal enemies. Yet Hel and Chariste fell in love. Keela flashes back, remembering how the Demon King's court spat on the very idea of dragons. They wanted them wiped out just like humans. It must have been hell. For her to hide who she really was. She truly loved Hel. Suddenly, Seraphine drops a bombshell. This matters, she starts. She confesses it's the first time in her life she's been completely blindsided. This battle exposed the truth. He's a demon with dragon blood coursing through his veins. So, Seraphine decides she wants to be his wife. Keela freezes. Excuse me, what are you even saying, lady? She misinterprets his reaction. I didn't expect you to like me this much. His blood boils, literally. Kayla snaps. Stop. Cut it out. Sever the link. He only kept the connection active as a glorified lie detector. He spared her to make her a vassal, nothing else. Strictly business. Seraphine shrugs. If you want to frame our relationship around obedience, fine. I can work with that. As your wife, it's the least I can do. Keela's brain short-circuits. What is her game? This Four Eyes is way more dangerous than he realized. Flashback time. Since she was a kid, Seraphine was hailed as the greatest prodigy in the Tarsica Magic Society's history. Not just peers. Even veterans bowed to her. She felt the weight of leadership, the duty to protect. She was fearless. She thought her magic would rule the world. Until that day. The day she faced true terror, a dragon. Humans, riding beasts from hell, descended slaughtering everyone she loved. Friends, students, mentors, all reduced to ash. They screamed for help. And the genius everyone worshipped, she stood there useless. She couldn't save a single soul. All that research into draconic magic, meaningless. Seraphine finally grasped reality. The absolute crushing terror of dragons. From that moment, she swore an oath she would uncover every secret of their species. She would never feel that helpless again. Tarsica's goal was to master all magic, but mixed with her trauma, decoding dragons became her only obsession, her only way to prove she mattered. Then, she struck gold, a demon with dragon blood. Seraphine knew this was it, a once-in-a-lifetime shot. Keela is the key to unlocking every answer she's been hunting for. Luna snaps awake, confused. Where am I? Saurus smirks. Look who's up. And speaking. Luna blinks. Who's the pretty lady? Saurus relaxes her memory. Wipe spell worked like a charm. Luna is a blank slate. She has no clue who she used to be. I'm your partner, Saurus lies. Luna frowns. I don't remember that. Seraphine steps in. From now on we follow him. Luna's eyes light up. Wait, I remember you. Seraphine. Keela ignores them, turning to Seraphine. You serious with this wife nonsense? She looks him dead in the eye. I haven't told a single lie. The blood pact was sealed. He felt the jolt. No way he's handing a dragon hybrid like himself over to some rando. She's the missing piece of her life's research, the holy grail she's been hunting forever. And then she dropped the question. Marriage seriously, talk about a clout chaser. She denied it, claiming it's strictly for science, but when things went better than planned, her heart pounded like a war drum. First time feeling a rush like that. Wait, this woman isn't just smart, she's lethal. Guys got 0 dating XP, and she's skipping straight to I do. Then the mood shifted. So what's the play? We taking them out? Just Four Eyes, are you out of your mind? These creeps just tried to end us. Waste 'em. But then Seraphina stepped up. She's off the kill list. From this second on, she's Kale's wife. Rain snapped. Excuse me, who authorized that? She warned KL. She's playing you. Seraphina smirked. Aw, you jealous. It's a done deal. Suriel intervened. We need a team huddle. So the core 4 locked themselves in a room. Suriel played the voice of reason. Chill and think. Those Tarsica mages are absolute freaks of nature. We were all seconds away from a wipeout. What was her point? They're casting spells that shouldn't even exist. If Kale didn't have that stone, even he would have been cooked. Suriel laid it out. Recruiting those two creates a massive power spike for our squad. But there's a bonus. If Kale puts a ring on it, the Tarsica faction backs off. Why? It's simple politics, and she's right. We need to evacuate the villagers and construct a dungeon. Having those two on our side makes that grind way easier. Plus, the Tarsica have 0 chill. Suriel added, they despise humans, especially dragon tamers. Rain wasn't buying it. Okay, but marriage, is that really necessary? He's destined to be the Demon King. He can't just get hitched like it's nothing. Suriel winked. Who said it's real? Think political stunt. We use Four Eyes to build the dungeon, secure the base, and then he ascends as the Demon King. Woody nodded. I'm down with Suriel's plan. If it's fake, who cares? Suriel turned to Rain. You good with this? Hate. Hate. I loathe her enough to kill. She's just a subordinate, but deep down she wants Kyle. All to herself one day. But right now, insubordination isn't an option. She gritted her teeth. I can't handle the thought of Four Eyes and Lord Kale actually catching feelings. Or God forbid having a kid Kale cut in. Nope. Never happening. Saurus asked. So we agree, it's the boss's call. Kale confirmed. It's strictly business, he thought. With the threats out there right now, I can't shield everyone alone. It's a jungle out there. If this saves my crew, I'll bite the bullet. He turned to Seraphine. We'll do a low-key engagement ritual. Once we secure a base, we'll do the real wedding. Deal, Seraphine. Beamed. Excellent choice. She wasn't expecting him to fold so fast. She teased. Did you fall for me at first sight? Because I definitely didn't fall for you. She laughed. Don't be shy. I get the vibe. Inside, she marveled. Never even dated, and now I'm hitching my wagon to a demon. Just like that, mere moments later, the engagement was on. A makeshift wedding right there in the village. An elder officiated. Kale thought, thank God nobody here saw me trying to kill her 5 minutes ago. Seraphine transformed. She looked stunning, totally different. So she twirled, how's the fit? He had to admit it worked. Damn, she's gorgeous. She smirked. Is your blood boiling again? Amazing what a little skin does to you. She leaned in. Do you have a thing for me already? Not quite. She tapped her chest. My blood is inside you. I can literally feel your heartbeat. Kale panicked. Crap. Didn't account for that. As the elder droned on, Rain spiraled. I'm gonna end her. I swear she's dead. I'm the only one who truly loves him. This rando just showed up today, Saurus whispered. Rain, stop. There's nothing we can do. You have to accept the play. Rain thought, I get the logic, but I will never accept her. The ritual concluded. Seraphine declared, we are one entity now. Don't you dare. Leave my side. Kale wondered, did I just make a massive mistake? Meanwhile, Seraphine plotted, finally, I can siphon the dragon's power and erase my fear forever. 4 days after that whirlwind engagement, they mobilized a massive caravan, 200 people hitting the road. It was a logistical nightmare. The roster, 150 adults and 50 kids. When rations hit critical low, the adults fasted so the little ones could eat. Not a single grown-up complained. Protecting the next generation. That's instinct. Human or demon, it doesn't matter. 2 more days flew by and Woody was basically becoming a living radar. His clairvoyance was leveling up fast. Now he wasn't just sensing terrain, he was pinging life forms too. Luckily, finding the perfect spot for the dungeon was a total speed run. All thanks to the dragon, who handed over the clairvoyant stone without hesitation. She was 100% sure the dragon shared a deep blood bond with him. Suddenly, Woody froze. I'm picking up a massive mana signature, about 20 kilometers west. Dormant earth spirits. Jackpot. If they built there, the dungeon would vibe perfectly with nature. Suriel chimed in immediately. With spirits like that on our side, detection and defense are going to be a total cakewalk. Seraphine's eyes lit up. Interesting. She was already geeking out, imagining the raw power that would come from mixing earth spirit energy with a dragon. Kayla watched her and thought, man, she is way too obsessed with studying my DNA. And that was the problem. Every single night. Back at camp, she dropped the bomb. I am ready. Keela blinked. Ready for what? What are you talking about? What? She stood there in nothing but a flimsy nightgown. The timing is perfect. We should secure a child immediately for the future, obviously. Keela's jaw hit the floor. You say that like we're discussing dinner. We literally just met. Seraphine shrugged, inching closer. We can just speed up the process, right? She literally launched herself at him. Keela panicked. This girl is Wilden. He bailed. I gotta use the bathroom, he yelled, scrambling away. But he ran straight into Rin. Her eyes were sharp. Don't forget, this is a fake marriage. He sighed. I know I haven't forgotten. Rin crossed her arms, dead serious. Good. No kissing that four-eyed witch. And no holding hands either. He told her to chill out. But seriously, why aren't you sleeping? Rin straightened up. I am your servant. Your safety is my job. But man, she looked wrecked. Massive dark circles under her eyes. It was the same routine every night. Rin on patrol, Seraphine on the prowl. And on one of those chaotic nights, Keela tried to hide inside a wooden crate. Didn't matter. Seraphine sniffed him out, climbed in, and wrapped him in a snuggle attack. Don't be shy, she purred, getting cozy. We're fiancés after all. As she clung to him, Keela froze. She smells like cotton candy. He actually didn't hate it. In fact, he was terrified he'd catch feelings if he kept inhaling that scent. So he kept his guard up. But eventually, exhaustion won. With her glued to his side, he finally drifted off. Inside his mind, Turk was fuming. You absolute moron. How are you sleeping right now, Keela grumbled. I finally got some shut-eye, and now you're haunting me. Turk looked manic. He hadn't slept in 4 days watching this drama. Turk got in his face. Why are you dodging such a top-tier wife? You need to reproduce, bro. Secure the legacy. You are the king. It's your destiny. Make some babies, you idiot, Keila snapped back. What do you mean, we're produce? It's a fake marriage. I don't even know if she's permanent, let alone the mother of my kids. Did you forget she planned to murder me? Seraphine Turk waved it off. That's ancient history. Look at the stats right now. She is the best partner you've got, fake ring or not. Just lock it down, have a kid, whatever. Keela narrowed his eyes. Is that why you fought to keep her alive? Turk rolled his eyes. You think I'm playing 4D chess? Please, I act on impulse. But listen to me. She has insane potential dormant just like yours. And Seraphine takes you. Seriously. A demon king needs a queen who can handle the heat. Finding someone like that isn't easy. Her coming to you, that's fate, kid. Stop doubting and open your heart. Keila sighed. I know she's sincere. My blood tells me that much. Turk smirked. So what's the holdup? I know she's a good partner. Turk leaned in. Don't tell me you're hesitating because of that little brat. Keila looked away. Of course that bothers me, Turk. Oh, quit the drama, Turk barked. Man up and take Seraphine as your real wife. It's your destiny. Continue the great demon king's bloodline. Do it. Keila jolted awake in the middle of the night, sweat on his brow. Do I really have to go that far with her? By morning, the travel plans were scrapped. They had to pause. The kids were totally wiped out. But Kayla looked like a zombie. He hadn't slept properly in ages. One of the kids tugged his sleeve. Are we gonna walk forever? Keela forced a smile. Just a little longer, kiddo. We're gonna find the perfect spot to build our home. The girl looked up with big eyes. If we go there, the bad guys won't find us, right? Keela hesitated for a split second, then nodded firmly. It's going to be safe, I promise. The kids trusted him, and he wasn't about to let them down. Later that afternoon, they turned downtime into grind time. Asuria started drilling the demons on basic combat techniques. Those with big mana pools took Magic 101 with Suriel. The tanky ones trained physical combat with Rin and Woody. Woody kept it real. If you can't cast spells, you better learn to swing a weapon. The gear he handed out, straight up infused with Guardy's energy, making regular timber look like cardboard. Rin laid it out, aim for the crits, and hit those weak points, but no button mashing allowed. She needed them to read the enemy, predicting attacks before they even land. Every step was calculated. The demons were grinding hard, leveling up both their physical and magic combat. She watched them work, realizing the momentum was finally shifting. Hope was respawning. He was proving to everyone that a future isn't just a dream, it's something they can actually unlock. It's all for the next generation. Meanwhile, back at the Celestial Guild HQ, the tension was thick enough to cut. Hermeson was in a heavy meeting with the Oath Guild master. He dropped the bombshell. Commander Drexel got absolutely wrecked. The room was shook. The master of the Guardians of Light didn't hesitate. That loss was the ultimate red flag time to ping every ally they had. Artemis, head of the Wind Trackers, stepped up with that main character energy, swearing he'd handle his part of the mission flawlessly. Then the alchemist from the Sage Tower chimed in. They couldn't just let Keela Calton, the Demon King's heir, run wild on the map. Hermeson had to admit it, that scumbag leveled up way past their projections. If a powerhouse like Drexel could get folded, any guild could be next on the chopping block. This wasn't a simple raid anymore. It was a battle for survival. Keela Calton is currently moving his squad toward this zone on the map. He's got an army of about 200 demons, and it looks like they're trying to spawn a dungeon. Baroque cut to the chase. So they're trying to set up a base, huh? Hermeson wasn't having it. The Alliance can't let that slide, period. It's an extermination mission. Artemis nodded in agreement. They needed to move like yesterday. Hermeson gave them a final reality check. Get complacent and you'll end up deleted like Drexel. The decree was official. A full-scale crusade to take down Keela Calton for the glory of humanity. Fast forward 4 days. Keela and his crew were closing in on the target. Their combat stats had skyrocketed, and even Luna was finally vibing with the group naturally. But even with everything looking smooth, Keela had a massive bad feeling in his gut. And he wasn't wrong, someone was lurking, watching Kayla's every move from the shadow.